Chapter 1501, Quasi-Great Grandmaster Western Desert, Thieving Heavens Dream Realm. Young Thieving Heaven stepped on the stage once more. His appearance startled the surrounding clansmen. What is the meaning of this? Why is this despicable kid covered in bandages? It seems like he suffered a heavy injury. Nothing could be done about it. Although young Thieving Heaven refined sneak attack Gu with Fang Yuan's help, his injuries from the Gu refinement process had not been healed. So even if young Thieving Heaven continued to participate in the competition, he was heavily injured. Young Thieving Heaven bitterly laughed inwardly. In fact, he did not want to continue to take part in the competition, but Sha Xiao forced him to continue. With no other way, young Thieving Heaven could only enter the battle. And his opponent, this time, was a clan elder's grandson. When he saw young Thieving Heaven's heavily injured appearance, he instead retreated several steps, looking at young Thieving Heaven with extreme cautiousness. "What scheme are you plotting?" the elder's grandson shouted. "You think by disguising as heavily injured, I will be tricked by you? You are underestimating me too much." "That's right. You need to be careful when dealing with him. Don't be deceived. This method of appearing weak is too childish. But looking at his age, it can be understood. This kid is ignorant. He doesn't have much strength at all, completely relying on tricks to enter the top 8. The surrounding crowd erupted in discussion. Young Thieving Heaven rolled his eyes, speechless. The Gu master presiding over this match was also speechless. He had investigated Gu and had already ascertained that the heavy injuries on young Thieving Heaven were real. But Fang Yuan's fraudulent performances before had left such a deep impression on others that even though young Thieving Heaven was injured currently, they did not dare to believe it. Young Thieving Heaven's opponent even retreated several steps, appearing extremely cautious. Since it is so, young Thieving Heaven smiled bitterly. The corners of his lips suddenly rose as his gaze and expression changed a little. Fang Yuan had once again gained control over young Thieving Heaven's body. "Come, let me test sneak attack Gu in a real fight." Fang Yuan willed and activated this rank 2 Gu worm. A blue baby phantom jumped out of young Thieving Heaven's aperture. "What the?" The elder's grandson gave a startled cry. He was not able to react in time, and the blue baby phantom pounced at his body. Thankfully, I played safe and had immediately activated my defensive Gu worm earlier, not giving any chance to my opponent. The blue baby phantom's speed was extremely fast. The elder's grandson could only squeeze out 2 words while his mind was filled with thoughts. But this thought was the final thought before he fainted. "Guh." At the next moment, the elder's grandson coughed out blood, and his eyes opened wide with an incredulous look. Then, he fell down to the ground, immediately losing his consciousness. Fang Yuan won. Silence fell among the crowd. Almost everyone's eyes were opened wide as they saw a blue baby figure drill in and out of the elder's grandson's body, which then jumped up and down before entering back into young Thieving Heaven's aperture. Despicable. He used a dirty trick again. What did he use? The speed was too fast. I actually could not see it clearly. It seems to be a rank 2 Gu worm. What exactly was that? I only saw a blue baby phantom. My intuition tells me this blue baby phantom is not simple. This time, not only the observing mortals, even those rank 2 Gu masters were visibly moved. Sneak attack Gu's first appearance had shocked everyone. In the following matches, young Thieving Heaven repeatedly used sneak attack Gu. His battles were clean and quick. They could be summarized in a few steps. Step on the stage, activate sneak attack Gu, opponent faints, and victory comes. Young Thieving Heaven's dominance was so big that he suppressed all the competitors instantly. The crowd was overwhelmed. There was no unexpected mishap. Young Thieving Heaven smoothly grasped first place. This result raised many eyebrows. He was actually concealing this trump card. This kid was actually pretending to be weak. He is too crafty and sinister. Yes, he clearly has such strength, but actually resorted to such tricks. But this also shows his true nature. Young Thieving Heaven was first place in the competition, but the clansmen were dissatisfied. With Fang Yuan causing disaster from the start, young Thieving Heaven had lost everyone's favor. Ordinary people pointed at young Thieving Heaven and whispered to each other, but the clan's higher-ups had their attention on sneak attack Gu. This Gu is so powerful. What is its origin? That kid is a commoner, a penniless brat. How could he get such a top-tier Gu worm? I have investigated it. He has been living in the clan since his birth. But earlier this year, he was exiled, and this Gu worm was very likely obtained by him during the exile. You are saying this kid has inherited some senior's inheritance? Yes, that is very likely to be true. This brat doesn't matter. The crucial thing is that this rank 2 Gu worm is really powerful. You have already seen its remarkable offensive power. It can be activated by a rank 1 Gu master, which means its primeval essence consumption is small. This is a top-tier Gu worm. As long as our clan can arm ourselves with this Gu worm on a large scale, our strength will definitely soar. At that time, We can definitely expand our operations and seize larger oases. The clan leader excitedly spoke, a fire of ambition flickering in his eyes. Sneak Attack Gu was a rank 2 Gu. After its might was displayed, it immediately attracted the covetous gaze of the clan's higher-ups. This was already expected by Fang Yuan. With him controlling young Thieving Heaven, he could naturally avoid using Sneak Attack Gu in the competition, but he took the initiative to use it, and openly at that. He had his own plan for this. I want to see what this dream realm will look like because of my decisions. Sneak Attack Gu has been exposed and attracted the clan's covetous gaze. The higher-ups will definitely want to mass-produce this Gu and arm the clan's Gu masters. Sneak Attack Gu was a rank 2 Gu. This rank was just perfect. A rank 1 Gu was too low. It had weak strength, and there was no meaning in using them on a large scale. Rank 3 was too high. They were too valuable and were difficult to mass-produce. Also, there were few rank 3 Gu masters in the clan. Only rank 2, which was in the middle, was suitable to mass-produce and suitable to equip the clan's Gu masters. The clan's higher-ups could not help being moved. So they want the Gu recipe more than the Gu worm. After all, there is only one Sneak Attack Gu. They can only mass-produce it by obtaining the Gu recipe. The clan's higher-ups want to get the Gu recipe, so they will most likely try to appease young Thieving Heaven and try to recruit him. They will not try to obtain it by force or pressure. This was a simple logic. If pressured, it might instead lead to young Thieving Heaven rebounding and resisting. If he died and did not hand over the recipe, the clan's plans would all be in vain. If he had grievance, he could hand over an incomplete or a tampered Gu recipe. The clan would then suffer huge losses. So the best situation was for young Thieving Heaven to willingly and voluntarily hand over the Gu recipe. Just like Fang Yuan expected, as the dream realm continued, the clan's higher-up forces extended offers to young Thieving Heaven. They were either trying to invite him to visit their homes or offer money and goods to get closer to him. Furthermore, some even wanted to marry their daughter to young Thieving Heaven. Young Thieving Heaven instantly became popular like a hot product. My good grandson, you have made it. You won't be able to hold on to this Sneak Attack Gu recipe, but you can use this to exchange for a large amount of benefits. Use it properly, and you can even squeeze into the clan's higher-up circle. Hee hee. Sha Zhao's voice echoed. Young Thieving Heaven, however, was dead set on not handing over the Gu recipe. If I hand over the Gu recipe, a lot of babies will be implicated. Although young Thieving Heaven was upright and honest, he had his bottom line. He was an otherworldly demon. He had previous life's experiences and knew that behind the strength of an organization, there was often darkness and dirtiness. Then you can delay it for a while. After a few days, you will be going to the pool to select the reward of the competition winner. Don't forget Grandpa's instructions. Sha Xiao contained his laughter, his voice turning cold and detached. Don't worry, I won't forget. Young Thieving Heaven promised. After 3 days in the dream, he along with 7 others were led by clan elders across the blockade and to the pool. This was the most important resource area of the clan. There was also a natural spirit spring in the pool, which produced primeval stones, and was the basis for survival of the clan. Young Thieving Heaven's clan had not only planted a lot of Gu materials around the pool, they had also excavated underground caverns where they stored large amount of Gu worms. Because young Thieving Heaven was the winner, he was brought to an underground cavern to choose a high-quality Gu worm from inside. He had just stepped inside when Sha Zhao's excited voice was heard. It's here, it's here. I sense a dense Immortal Gu aura. What Immortal Gu? Young Thieving Heaven asked. Fang Yuan also had doubts, and was also somewhat shocked that the inheritance here actually involved Gu immortals. But right at this time, Fang Yuan's sight suddenly turned dark. His soul was once again being rapidly corroded by the dream realm. After waiting for a seemingly endless time, Fang Yuan's soul had unknowingly left the dream realm. Why am I out? Fang Yuan felt a trace of surprise. This means I have passed the second stage? Fang Yuan immediately came to a realization when he thought of this. Quasi-Great Grandmaster. My theft path attainment has actually soared to just a step before Great Grandmaster level. Fang Yuan's soul entered his physical body. He opened his eyes, which shined brightly with surprise and joy. Quasi-Great Grandmaster realm. This was a new personal record for Fang Yuan. Among Fang Yuan's various paths, some were at Grandmaster realm. Even in his first life of 500 years, he had not achieved such an accomplishment in a path. Chapter 1502, Lacking Souls Western Desert. Inside Tang Clan's Immortal Formation. Fang Yuan was sitting cross-legged with closed eyes. He was inspecting his soul. His 10 million man soul foundation level had now already fallen to million man soul. Moreover, it was just a little over a million. When I passed the first stage, my soul foundation was over 9 million man soul. But after passing the second stage, I actually only have just over 1 million man soul, almost falling down to 100,000 man soul range. Fang Yuan inwardly compared the differences between the two. The second stage was longer than the first stage, and the soul corrosion rate was also much more severe. An ordinary Gu immortal with even a little less soul foundation would have no way to endure such a corrosion. Not to mention a whole stage. They would not even be able to pass half a stage of the Dream Realm. This made it clear that the difficulty of this Dream Realm of Thieving Heaven was too high. No wonder Tang Clan and Tang Fangming's many years of effort was like a newborn baby trying to gnaw on an iron-hard boulder. Tang Fangming was still able to create so many Dream Path Mortal Gu. This person indeed has quite remarkable talents and aptitude. Fang Yuan thought of his first life of 500 years. Tang Fangming had created a Dream Path Immortal killer move, Steel Dream. Previously, Fang Yuan had thought this was because of Shadow Sect's help, but now that he had explored 2 stages of Thieving Heaven's Dream Realm, he felt Steel Dream was more likely to have been created by Tang Fangming himself. The first stage of Thieving Heaven's Dream Realm had increased Fang Yuan's theft path to Grandmaster level, while the second stage had raised it to Quasi-Great Grandmaster. I am just a step away from genuine Great Grandmaster level. Fang Yuan quietly comprehended and sensed that beautiful prospect that was close at hand. If I successfully pass one more stage of Thieving Heaven's Dream Realm, I definitely can reach Great Grandmaster attainment. Even Fang Yuan, with his extraordinary calmness, felt traces of fiery anticipation. There was a huge difference between Grandmaster and Great Grandmaster. Grandmaster level could understand about yin-yang and heaven and earth. They could learn about the profoundness of the universe, surpassing the mortal realm and become immortals among immortals, sages among sages. At Grandmaster level, a Gu immortal could use their path to imitate the specialties of other paths. For instance, in Hei Fan's True Inheritance, 100 Years Harmony, a time path killer move, had the effect of information path. As for Great Grandmaster attainment, it meant that the Gu immortal's understanding of a path was very close to being complete. Their knowledge of the path had already reached the limits of the world. They could be considered to be approaching on digging out all the profundities of their path. The dead Blazing Heaven Demoness was a fire path Great Grandmaster. The present day's rank 8 Gu immortal old ancestor Shui, who was a snow path Great Grandmaster. At this level, Blazing Heaven Demoness had an extreme sensitivity towards fire path Dao marks. Previously, she had added a trace of fire path Dao mark in every fire path immortal material and plotted against Fang Yuan. Old ancestor Shui, who could casually disassemble all kinds of immortal killer moves. Previously, in the Battle of Reverse Flow River, he had nimbly disassembled his trump card battlefield killer move to deal with Heavenly Court and other enemies, even gaining the upper hand. And a formation path Great Grandmaster could directly use the natural Dao marks in the world to set up formations. They often needed only some mortal Gu to set up immortal Gu formations in some specific areas. As for above Great Grandmaster attainment, there was Supreme Grandmaster. Great Grandmaster was a level where the profundities of the path were being dug out. If Fang Yuan became a theft path Great Grandmaster, he would understand the profundities of theft path that existed in the world, and there would be almost nothing about theft path that he could not comprehend. That was to say, Great Grandmaster was a level where one deciphered just about everything about a certain path. Supreme Grandmaster was to innovate beyond that, to obtain mysteries of the path that did not even exist in the world, to be one step ahead of heaven and earth. Normally, Grandmaster attainment required hundreds of years of accumulation. In Fang Yuan's first life, he had attained Grandmaster in Blood Path. Great Grandmaster often required 1,000 to several thousands of years. A number of rank 8 Gu immortals possessed this level of attainment. As for Supreme Grandmaster, that was not just a matter of simply accumulation, but concerned talents and natural aptitude as well. Without having awe-inspiring talent and natural aptitude, even if the Gu immortal lived for 10,000 years, they would not be able to reach Supreme Grandmaster attainment. Therefore, Supreme Grandmasters were extremely rare since ancient times. The 10 Venerables were all Supreme Grandmasters. There were also some legendary characters, like the 3 Refinement Path Supreme Grandmasters, Long Hair Ancestor, Old Eccentric Tian Nan, and Old Immortal Kong Ju. Grandmaster and Great Grandmaster attainment level can be achieved through Dream Realms. But Supreme Grandmaster cannot be obtained with Dream Realms. Fang Yuan realized this. This was obvious. Supreme Grandmasters needed to pioneer in creating something from nothing, while Dream Realms were legacies left by predecessors. So the highest attainment level that could be reached through Dream Realms was Great Grandmaster. Once I attain Great Grandmaster level in Theft Path, even if there are still more stages in Thieving Heaven's Dream Realm, I won't be able to increase my Theft Path attainment level through them. This was also the foundation for collaboration between Fang Yuan and Tang Clan. Thieving Heaven's Dream Realm was too large. Fang Yuan's stomach had a limit. Once he was full, there would still be a large portion left for Tang Clan. Tang clan had only been willing to collaborate with Fang Yuan after he made this reason clear. If Thieving Heavens' dream realm was small enough for Fang Yuan to devour alone, how could Tang clan collaborate with Fang Yuan? In the coming days, Fang Yuan prepared for his third exploration of Thieving Heavens' dream realm. He was mainly cultivating his soul, but in his spare time, Fang Yuan taught the secrets of Dream Path to Tang Fangming. Tang Fangming benefited a lot. Despite Fang Yuan only imparting some superficial Dream Path knowledge, as far as Tang Fangming was concerned, what he lacked was this lighthouse to guide him. The first step was always the most difficult. The creation of any path was the most difficult at the beginning. Once the first step was taken, the following steps could be taken rapidly. For Fang Yuan, guiding Tang Fangming, besides fulfilling the agreement to make it convenient for him to continue exploring the dream realm, was to make arrangements for the future. He was imitating Spectral Soul's strategy of fostering forces in 4 regions to surround Central Continent and go against Heavenly Court. Time flew by. Over 20 days passed just like this. Fang Yuan's Soul Foundation had once again reached 10 million man soul level. The third stage of Thieving Heaven's dream realm is sure to be even more difficult. 10 million man soul level might not be safe enough. After Fang Yuan pondered, he decided to continue cultivating his soul to break through to 100 million man soul. If his soul foundation was not sufficient and the soul was corroded completely in the dream realm, it would be akin to death. Even if there was still a physical body left, he would be just like a vegetable without a soul. Maybe I can deduce a dream path killer move to reduce the corrosion of the soul in the dream realm. This idea only flashed past Fang Yuan's mind before he quickly denied it. Fang Yuan's dream path attainment level was only ordinary, not even at Quasi-Master. Creating a dream path immortal killer move? Forget about it. As such, there was only one path in front of Fang Yuan currently, to raise his soul foundation to 100 million man soul. But this plan soon met an obstacle. He was lacking Guts Gu. Fang Yuan had put Dang Hun Mountain in Langya Blessed Land. Langya Land Spirit personally took charge of using this secluded domain of heaven and earth to produce Guts Gu. But Guts Gu did not appear out of thin air. It required souls. The higher the quality and the quantity of the souls, the more Guts Gu that Dang Hun Mountain could produce. The problem appeared in this aspect. Fang Yuan required a huge amount of Guts Gu, Langya Land Spirit, however, did not have enough souls to produce them. Previously, Fang Yuan had ordered Shadow Sect members and others to explore Tai Chio and kill desolate beasts and ancient desolate beasts, so Guts Gu could be repeatedly produced on a large scale. But now, Shadow Sect's members were with Fang Yuan, and the souls stored in Langya Sect had been completely used up these last few days. Fang Yuan thought over it. Right now, it was better for him to get materials from nearby than return to kill Tai Chio's desolate beasts. Western Desert was similar to Northern Plains in that it was similarly incomparably vast. Western Desert had a place that was rather special and suited Fang Yuan. Yu Chan is dead. My dragonfish business is already dominating the whole of Treasure Yellow Heavens market. For the next few years, there should be no one that can compete with me. Fang Yuan intended to use these profits to manage his immortal aperture and not to purchase souls. It was a loss to use them to purchase souls. Fang Yuan recalled a famous saying, "One's own hands can produce ample food and clothing." Thereupon, Fang Yuan briefly informed Tang Fangming of the situation. Then, he left the Immortal formation with the Shadow Sect members, towards that special desert. Chapter 1503. Soul Beast Army. Fang Yuan controlled the auspicious cloud to move through the sky. His speed was not fast, but his surroundings were permeating with dense Immortal Gu aura. The auspicious cloud below him was not ordinary. It originated from a luck path true inheritance in Hei Fan Grotto Heaven. After Fang Yuan's modifications, its effect had improved sharply. The auspicious cloud did not follow Fang Yuan's will, but moved according to the profundity of luck path. Even Fang Yuan did not know when this auspicious cloud would change direction or where it was moving to, but Fang Yuan was clear that this spontaneous auspicious cloud killer move flew along the path of highest luck. After leaving Tang Clan, Fang Yuan had spent several days to come here. This was Green Ghost Desert, a famous danger region of Western Desert. For the last 100,000 years, there were many Western Desert Gu immortals who died here. Green Ghost Desert sky was covered with dense dark clouds all year round, with barely any sunlight. It was dark and gloomy. The ground was covered with large amount of vegetation. Ghost-crying trees were the largest in number. This tree was not tall and had twisted branches that looked like they were demons and monsters brandishing their claws. Every time the gloomy wind blew on the tree, it would shake slightly and emit a shrill scream or a terrifying cry. Moan, moan, moan. The ghost-crying tree wailed mournfully. A soul beast quietly moved out and approached Fang Yuan from behind while slowly raising its 2 sickle arms. The front half of this soul beast resembled a cockroach with long sharp pincers, while its back half had a long tail like a python. Fang Yuan seemingly failed to sense it. The soul beast's 2 sickle arms were raised up to its limit. It then rushed out towards Fang Yuan's back and slashed down its sickle arms. Victory or defeat was already determined at that instant. The soul beast's body stiffened in the air and fell down headfirst to the ground. But Fang Yuan acted in time, softly waving his sleeve, which sent out a formless force that wrapped around this desolate beast-level soul beast's corpse and brought it before him. The soul beast's corpse turned into whiffs of dark gray smoke and was constantly dissipating with the wind. Fang Yuan was unable to stop it, and after a while, only a glass-like soul core remained in his hand. The soul core was heavy and was dark blue to the point of appearing black. As Fang Yuan held it, it was like holding a completely filled wine vat. This was a rank 6 immortal material. It was the essence of the soul beast. Just like a mud monster only left behind its mud core after its death, soul beasts also had soul cores. Soul beasts, mud monsters, blood beasts, shadow monsters, and phantom beasts were all path beasts. Their whole bodies contained plentiful and dense amounts of Dao marks of their specific paths. Fang Yuan inspected and confirmed that there was nothing wrong with the soul core before throwing it inside his sovereign immortal aperture. Inside his immortal aperture, there was already a small basin of soul cores. Most were rank 6 soul cores, and a portion was rank 7. But there were no rank 8 soul cores which came from immemorial soul beasts. With Fang Yuan's battle strength, it was easy for him to kill these desolate-level soul beasts and ancient soul beasts. After he arrived in Green Ghost Desert, many desolate beasts and ancient desolate beasts came to find trouble with him. Fang Yuan was charging through their territories, so he would naturally be attacked by them. Most of these beasts were soul beasts. Fang Yuan had ghostly concealment. Auspicious Cloud, however, was not concealed. The target of these soul beasts was the auspicious cloud, while neglecting Fang Yuan. Unfortunately, they all fell to Fang Yuan's sinister scheme. The emergence of soul beasts was related to 2 demon venerables. One was Red Lotus Demon Venerable. He damaged Fate Gu, creating a loophole in the great Tao of the world which allowed many beings to escape from the restrictions of fate. After dying, not all souls were sucked into Door of Life and Death. Many souls stayed behind in the world. The second was Spectral Soul Demon Venerable. He created Soul Path, causing souls to manifest and transform into soul beasts. But at present, a portion of soul beasts were naturally formed in some places with dense soul path Dao marks. Times were constantly changing. From immemorial antiquity to remote antiquity, olden antiquity to the present age, the world of 5 regions had already changed many times. So these soul cores could completely substitute for souls to be fed to Dang Hun Mountain and produce large amounts of guts Gu. But the quality of these soul cores could not be compared to Gu immortal souls. At most, they could only match the souls of other beasts and plants. It hasn't even been long since I entered Green Ghost Desert, and I have already obtained so many soul cores. How I wish I could have complete control over this place. Fang Yuan thought to himself. If he could control this place, it was akin to having an endless supply of guts Gu. It could completely push his soul foundation to the peak level, and even be used to help others. Whoosh! Just as Fang Yuan was immersed in thinking, a sharp ear-piercing sound came from behind him towards the left. A giant scorpion was flying towards Fang Yuan. Fang Yuan's pupils immediately shrunk when he took a glance. This scorpion was completely black and had a peculiar shape. Its whole body resembled a huge round disc. Its long tail was behind the disc, and its 2 huge pincers flickered with eerie light. It was charging straight at Fang Yuan with terrifying momentum. This is an immemorial desolate beast disc scorpion. It is a wisdom path beast, and its favorite food is soul beasts. A line of information instantly appeared in Fang Yuan's mind. Fang Yuan's ghostly concealment could conceal him from the senses of soul beasts, but it had no effect on other beasts. Fang Yuan jumped out of the auspicious cloud and escaped. Fang Yuan had rank 8 battle strength. He was not helpless against this immemorial desolate beast. However, his goal in this trip was not to fight a drawn-out battle with the disc scorpion, but to gather as many soul cores as possible. Fang Yuan retreated, but the disc scorpion did not let go. However, after a while of being chased, Fang Yuan was able to successfully throw off the disc scorpion by using his ample methods. Danger lurked everywhere in Green Ghost Desert. Even Fang Yuan was not safe here. Over the next few days, Fang Yuan hunted soul beasts while cultivating soul path, increasing his soul foundation. If he ran into any existences like the disc scorpion, Fang Yuan would prioritize escaping as much as possible. Fang Yuan was not the only one hunting. The Shadow Sect members were also doing the same. The soul cores obtained by the Immortals were given to Lang Yalan's spirit to produce large amounts of guts Gu. In less than half a month, Fang Yuan Soul Foundation had reached the range of 10 million man soul again. My soul foundation is enough. It is time to change battle tactics. Fang Yuan instructed the Shadow Sect Immortals to stop killing soul beasts. Instead, they would start capturing, subduing, or enslaving them. Fang Yuan had spectral soul's true inheritance. He possessed large amounts of methods to enslave soul beasts. The only thing limiting him was that he lacked soul path and enslavement path Immortal Gu. Under everyone's efforts, they soon controlled a large group of soul beasts. There were roughly over 60 desolate-level soul beasts and around 20 ancient soul beasts. Soul beasts of all kinds of grotesque shapes formed a majestic army that rampaged around in Green Ghost Desert. When they encountered lone soul beasts or small groups of soul beasts, Fang Yuan would command the enslaved soul beasts to charge at them. Those that could not be controlled were killed for their soul cores, and those soul beasts that were on their last breaths would be enslaved by Fang Yuan and the rest. A dozen or so days passed. The enslaved soul beast army expanded by 3 times the original size. Chapter 1504. Meeting a benefactor in Green Ghost Desert. The sky was always covered with dark clouds, and there was barely any sunlight. A small group of soul beasts were moving in the desert. Different from the rest, there were 3 Gu immortals in this soul beast group. 2 were captives, and 1 was the master of these soul beasts. You 2 lads from Fang clan, have you thought it through? The Gu immortal in charge was dressed in a gray robe. He had a sharp nose, thin eyes, and had a goatee. He was sitting on the back of a bull-shaped ancient soul beast and was looking at the 2 Gu immortal captives beside him with a dark and pleased expression. Fang Lung and Fang Yuan had rank 6 cultivation. They looked clean and tidy, but in fact, their souls were completely bound by dark gray soul chains and could not even budge. Fang Lung, who was slightly older, had a square face. He kept quiet and did not reply. The slightly younger Fang Yuan had a handsome appearance. He had a rather lively nature as he replied. Old Ghost by June. It is not that we cannot write a letter to the clan for you, but you have bound our souls. We cannot even activate our communication means. How about loosening the chains a little so I can message the clan? Old Ghost by June snorted. You are so sneaky, wanting to deceive this old ghost? You only need an instant to escape with your body cloud killer move. It was not easy for me to capture you. You think I can be so easily fooled? Fang Yuan quickly said. How could I dare to fool Senior? It is just that what I said is the truth. You see, it is like this, Before he finished speaking, Fang Yuan's whole body started shaking as he let out a terrifyingly miserable scream. Old Ghost by June snickered, while Fang Lung called out furiously. Stop, don't hurt my junior brother. Old Ghost by June was annoyed. Looks like you guys are accustomed to acting without consequences. You still don't recognize your situation? Humph, then let me teach you. He then activated his method, tormenting Fang Lung as well. Fang Lung grunted, his brows tightly furrowed, but he did not utter a sound, except his trembling was growing increasingly intense. Old Ghost by June tortured them for a while, and only stopped when he saw Fang clan's 2 immortals turning pale as paper, their bodies shaking and covered in sweat. He inwardly frowned. If it were ordinary lone cultivators, I could have killed them without consequences. But these 2 have quite the background. Fang clan is a super force of Western Desert. If I rashly kill them, Fang clan will definitely be able to find that I am the culprit. Fang clan's second supreme elder Fang Di Chang is a famous wisdom path expert of Western Desert. Also, if Fang clan comes to search Green Ghost Desert, it will hinder Master's plan. But if I just let them go and Master asks me later, he might blame me for being cowardly. The only thing I can do now is capture these 2 to demand ransom from Fang clan, and then set an agreement. With this, I can satisfy both sides. Old Ghost by June thought things through and looked at these 2 captives again. Fang Lung and Fang Yuan were gasping and sweating, collapsed on the ground because of the torture. Old Ghost by June sneered. Even an iron-forged man won't be able to endure my methods. To tell you the truth, I am not afraid of you not giving in. What do you think? Want to try it again? Fang Lung said through clenched teeth. Old Ghost, just kill us. Fang Yuan, however, shouted. Don't. I will contact the clan, okay? Old Ghost by June looked at Fang Yuan's terror-stricken look and laughed. You should have said so before. Then you wouldn't have to suffer so much pain. Do it quickly. Fang Yuan gave a miserable cry. Senior Old Ghost, I am telling the truth. If you don't loosen your chains a little, Junior truly is unable to message the clan. Old Ghost by June was furious, still making excuses. He once again activated his methods, tormenting the 2 Fang clan Gu immortals. After another while of torture, Fang Lung and Fang Yuan could not endure it any longer. Their bodies collapsed on the soul beast's back like a pile of mud. Have you thought it through? Old Ghost by June sneered. Fang Lung did not utter a sound, while Fang Yuan said, Yes, but I wonder if Senior Old Ghost has thought it through. Me? What do I have to think about? Old Ghost by June asked in surprise. Senior, we are Fang Clan's Gu Immortals. Senior is a lone cultivator. If you provoke Fang Clan, your life will probably become turbulent, right? How about letting us go and getting on good terms with our Fang Clan? Wouldn't that be better? Fang Yuan smiled. Old Ghost by June was immediately filled with anger. Kid, you think I am afraid of your Fang Clan? Humph. If I were afraid of your Fang Clan, would I have captured you for ransom? Senior is thinking of making a non-aggression pact with our Fang Clan by doing this. Junior admits today's matter is our fault, and we have offended Senior. We have committed much offense, but please forgive us, Senior. Fang Yuan spoke weakly. Humph. Now you admit defeat. Why did you find trouble with me repeatedly earlier? It is too late for that now. Old Ghost by June's voice was firm, but was inwardly shaken. His intention was already guessed by the two Fang Clan Gu Immortals, so it was going to be difficult to force them to give in. Fang Yuan continued to persuade. Senior can punish me, and I will accept the punishment. Actually, I have a lot of assets in the clan. So long as Senior lets us go, we can immediately set a non-aggression agreement. We will take it as this matter did not happen, and we will even heavily compensate Senior. With this, we also don't need to let the clan know of this scandalous matter, as that would truly decrease our prestige in the clan. Old Ghost by June scoffed. You think I was born yesterday? What prestige do you, Fang Yuan, have in Fang Clan? It is your senior brother Fang Lung who is a talent among rank 6s, and is a possible successor of Fang Clan. Fang Yuan's heart sank. He had not expected Old Ghost by June to have such detailed information on them. But he still continued. Wouldn't resolving this privately be better? If we escalate this, it might not have a good ending. Old Ghost by June shook his head. No, what status do you two have? I will discuss with your Fang Clan's first Supreme Elder, and besides getting my compensation, you will not be allowed to take a single step in Green Ghost Desert for the next few hundred years. Fang Lung and Fang Yuan's expressions immediately changed. Fang Lung said, Old Ghost by June, you are still after this Green Ghost Desert? Your appetite is too big. Be careful or your stomach might burst. Old Ghost by June laughed in a strange tone. Although I have rank 7 cultivation, I am close to rank 8. Fang Lung shook his head. So what? Do you dare to undergo the tribulation? Old Ghost by June stroked his goatee. Of course, I don't. But, not daring now doesn't mean I won't dare in the future. He hesitated before making up his mind. All right, let me destroy all your hopes. Take a look at what Gu this is. Fang Yuan and Fang Lung immediately raised their heads to look at a ladybird like Gu in Old Ghost by June's hand. This Gu was like sapphire. It was the size of small bowl, and its thick carapace was dotted with countless golden star specks. These golden star specks constantly twinkled with various lights, giving a dazzling sense to others. Fang Yuan's and Fang Lung's minds shook fiercely. Their eyes could not conceal their panic. Fang Lung's eyes widened, and he was speechless momentarily. This is a rank 8 Immortal Gu. Fang Yuan cried out in shock. Old Ghost by June said, Please, let me teach you. This rank 8 Immortal Gu's name is Soul Beast Token. It can directly allow me to enslave soul beasts. Rank 8 Soul Beast Token can enslave immemorial soul beasts, and what it requires is not rank 8 Immortal Essence. I can use it now. Do you understand what this means? Fang Lung and Fang Yuan looked at each other in shock. The meaning behind this was too big. With this rank 8 Immortal Gu, Old Ghost by June could go about his plan slowly. He could control an immemorial soul beast, then use it to control a huge soul beast army, and even control this whole Green Ghost Desert. Green Ghost Desert had an inestimable number of soul beasts. This was a dangerous land to others, but it was a paradise to Old Ghost by June. No wonder you have such an ambition. You want to grasp this place, then use an immemorial soul beast to help you smoothly pass your tribulation and become a rank 8 great expert. Fang Lung's voice turned hoarse. Fang Yuan quickly spoke, but our Fang clan is the nearest super clan to Green Ghost Desert. As long as Senior reaches an agreement with our Fang clan, you will have gained the safest cultivation environment. Indeed, it is good you know. Old Ghost by June's eyes flickered sharply. Actually, I need to thank you too. You came at such a time. One is a direct great-grandson of Fang Clan's first Supreme Elder, while the other is the second Supreme Elder's adopted son. Although both of you are only rank 6, you two have sufficient weight to be put into a negotiation. Fang Lung and Fang Yuan were silent. Fang Lung inwardly thought, this Old Ghost by June is indeed a schemer. Everything is different now with this Soul Beast Token Immortal Gu. With an immemorial soul beast beside him, Old Ghost by June will need to be treated as a quasi-rank 8 existence. The clan needs to be very careful when dealing with him. More importantly, with us as captives, Old Ghost by June indeed has the best chips to talk terms. Sigh. If I knew this, I would not have listened to Junior Brother's instigation to adventure here. Just as he was thinking, Fang Lung suddenly heard Fang Yuan shout, "Senior brother, look over there." Fang Yuan's voice was filled with pleasant surprise. Fang Lung curiously looked over, seeing the dark clouds above Green Ghost Desert covering the sunlight. But right now, a white cloud was slowly flying under the dense dark clouds and was gradually nearing them. Fang Lung was slightly stumped as he suddenly recalled the conversation he had with Fang Yuan before leaving. "Fang Lung, you have such big guts, you actually want to adventure in Green Ghost Desert." Fang Yuan laughed. "Be at ease, senior brother. I had requested father to make deductions on this adventure. He had deduced that this trip will be threatening but not dangerous. We will meet a benefactor along the way and reap huge harvests." Fang Lung frowned. "Not to mention that few people tread in Green Ghost Desert. Even if we meet someone else, how would you know if this person is the benefactor?" Fang Yuan patted Fang Lung's shoulder. "I had asked father. He said that the benefactor will come on a white cloud." Fang Lung was dazed, before scoffing. "White cloud? Everyone knows, Green Ghost Desert is shrouded by layers of dark clouds. How can there be white cloud?" Thinking of this conversation, Fang Lung looked at the white cloud and thought, could it be the benefactor as told by Second Supreme Elder? Old Ghost by June also stared at the white cloud with a gloomy expression. This white cloud emits luck path aura, but it is not only luck path. Clearly someone has used an immortal killer move. Who is it? Who owns such rare luck path methods? Chapter 1505, Directly Attacking Rumble. A vast soul beast army was moving in Green Ghost Desert, raising dust clouds in their way. And ahead of the soul beast army was a white auspicious cloud flying gently. The white cloud was Fang Yuan's immortal killer move, Spontaneous Auspicious Cloud. Fang Yuan had come to Green Ghost Desert to only search for soul cores, and did not have any precise goals. So over these days, he let Spontaneous Auspicious Cloud lead the way. The effect was pretty good, as he added some small-scale soul beast groups. As a result, this soul beast army scale had enlarged further. The numbers were astonishing. But this amount is already my limit. Fang Yuan was riding a soul beast, his body moving slightly along with the soul beast's movements. He felt some regret. All beings had big or small capabilities. There was some form of limit in terms of capabilities. Controlling so many soul beasts was Fang Yuan's current upper limit. He could not control any more. On one hand, controlling these soul beasts depended on his soul foundation, which was at 90 million man soul. On the other hand, Fang Yuan had too few soul path Immortal Gu. They were rank 7 Change Soul and rank 6 Cleanse Soul. Change Soul Immortal Gu had to be left as a trump card, because it was the core Immortal Gu of Switch Soul in Dream Killer move, and could not be used casually. While rank 6 Cleanse Soul Immortal Gu was very useful, it was used by Fang Yuan in Myriad self, as well as his own soul path cultivation. He was using it as a replacement now, and was just barely able to control these soul beasts. It was being used in many things simultaneously. In the case of Cleanse Soul Immortal Gu, it had a lot of different uses. Fang Yuan was able to do different things by raising just this one Gu. It was much better than raising Change Soul Immortal Gu. But like this, Cleanse Soul Immortal Gu could not handle many situations at the same time as a single Gu. I need more Soul Path Immortal Gu. Best would be rank 7 once. Gu refinement was out of the question. Refining rank 7 Soul Path Immortal Gu was indeed a tempting thought, but Fang Yuan was lacking resources and would not be able to bear the cost of large-scale Gu refinement. After all, he had invested in many things in this recent period, and had also refined many Immortal Gu. And in terms of his earnings, there were few. Only the dragonfish business was worth anticipating. I have a lot of Wisdom Path Immortal Gu. I can use them as replacements. It is just that the killer moves would have to be modified. After returning to Langya Blessed Land, I will use the Light of Wisdom to modify suitable killer moves. Fang Yuan's expression was calm as he continued to plan. The Shadow Sect Immortals were at the four corners of the beast group, commanding the Soul Beast army for Fang Yuan, while also scouting their surroundings. Green Ghost Desert had countless soul beasts. These soul beasts were an extremely desired resource for Fang Yuan. My soul is at 90 million man soul currently. The soul cores harvested in this trip will be enough to advance me to 100 million man soul level. But even if I attain 100 million man soul, it is only midway in the soul cultivation records in Spectral Soul True Inheritance. It is far from the peak. 100 million man soul was the limit of a human soul. After reaching this point, they had reached the peak and could not progress further. But this situation was before Red Lotus Demon Venerable's period. When Red Lotus Demon Venerable broke Fate Gu, this limit was also destroyed. The human soul could continue to advance, but no one found the way to advance. In fact, it was already amazing for someone to have a million-man soul back then. When Spectral Soul Demon Venerable created Soul Path, he innovated new ideas with his Soul Path Supreme Grandmaster attainment level, and found the way to continue advancing beyond 100 million man soul. As stated by Spectral Soul's true inheritance, above. 100 million man soul was desolate soul. 100 million man soul could solidify the human soul, and the soul could directly interfere with the real world and would not simply be an illusory body like before. But even so, 100 million man soul was still fragile. This was an inherent deficiency of humans. Man was the spirit of all living beings and had extremely high comprehension, but their physical bodies and souls were far inferior to other beings. However, once they cross 100 million man soul and step into desolate soul, just their soul alone would have the strength of a desolate level soul beast. Cultivating the desolate soul further until the limit, that would be 100 million desolate soul. This level was the peak of soul cultivation and also the limit that the world could contain. Fang Yuan had personally witnessed this level before. It was that terrifying giant form of Spectral Soul's main body. As recorded in Spectral Soul True Inheritance, it was three-headed thousand-arms demon soul. Reaching this level meant possessing quasi-rank 9 battle strength. The soul could directly resist calamities and tribulations, defying the heavens and stamping the earth, slaughtering deities and ghosts, shocking the world. So Fang Yuan had an extremely huge demand for Guts Gu. The soul cores he obtained in this trip to Green Ghost Desert could push him to 100 million man soul level. But what about later? If Fang Yuan wanted to cultivate his soul to the peak, he definitely required much more and an unceasing supply of soul cores. The best scenario is to get control of this desert and become its owner. Like many Gu Immortals did, controlling an area was to make the natural resources in the area into one's own assets. Battle strength was required to accomplish this. With Fang Yuan's current strength, he had the qualifications to occupy this region, especially since this Green Ghost Desert was an unowned land. But there was a problem in this. Once I expose my identity and govern this area, it will be the same as asking Heavenly Court to attack me. Reverse Flow Protection Seal cannot be disguised, and Myriad Dragon is also the same. Then I can only disguise my identity and use rank 7 battle strength to fight for this place. After I get this place, I could arrange Wu Xie to station here and let him command the Soul Beast Army, supplying me with soul cores. Among the people he had, Wu Xie was the most suitable choice. To do this, I need more Soul Path Immortal Gu and to also raise Wu Xie's Soul Foundation. The important point is Fang Clan. This Western Desert Superforce is the nearest to Green Ghost Desert. If I control this place, Fang Clan would be my neighbor and is a barrier that I can't get around. Getting rid of Fang Clan was not realistic. Fang Yuan's current battle strength could fight rank 8, but winning against a rank 8 Great Expert was difficult. Furthermore, Fang Clan not only had a rank 8 First Supreme Elder, this generation's second Supreme Elder, Fang Chang, was a Wisdom Path Great Expert who had been renowned in Fang Yuan's first life. Fang Chang had an extremely deep Wisdom Path attainment, possessing Wisdom Path Great Grandmaster attainment level, and was also marked in Shadow Sex information. So Fang Yuan only had one path before him. Disguise as a lone cultivator, get close to the righteous path, then build a good relationship with Fang Clan. It was not easy to conspire for a resource area. There were many things to be considered. Fortunately, Green Ghost Desert was rather special as most of the Western Desert Gu Immortals and clans lacked methods to develop it. This gave Fang Yuan the best opportunity possible. However, he did not know that he was not the only one who had an intention to occupy Green Ghost Desert. There are people ahead? Fang Yuan's expression suddenly changed. His current investigative methods were no longer like before. He immediately sensed Old Ghost by June and the rest the moment they entered his investigative range. Is the Benefactor coming? Fang Yuan was inwardly going crazy with excitement. Fang Lung also had a look of anticipation. Old Ghost by June's gaze was frosty. When he made out some details of the white cloud, he restrained himself and waited for the other side. Soon, the 3 Gu Immortals sensed the ground starting to softly tremor. Then they saw dust clouds surging on the horizon, as one soul beast after another appeared in their sight. A large amount of soul beasts appeared, causing the 3 Immortals' expression to change. And when the whole soul beast army was revealed, all 3 were shaken. This, Old Ghost by June lost his voice. He had thought his soul beast group was of a large enough scale, but now he discovered that he did not even hold a candle to Fang Yuan's soul beast army. The Shadow Sect Immortals had already entered Fang Yuan's immortal aperture, while Fang Yuan had changed into another appearance. He looked like a skinny middle-aged man, with long gray hair, a pair of black eyes which seemed to contain vicissitudes of life and ambition. His sight would make anyone feel like this person was absolutely a formidable person. Right now, Fang Yuan was dressed in a black robe, and his hands were clasped behind his back. He was standing proudly on the back of a soul beast while controlling the soul beast army, an awe-inspiring demonic aura lingering around him. Old Ghost by June and the rest were shaken and subconsciously held their breath. Fang Lung turned to look at Fang Yuan, his gaze filled with doubts. Why does your benefactor feel even more demonic than Old Ghost by June? Fang Yuan rolled his eyes. His meaning was, you are asking me, but who should I ask? Perhaps he is the case of men cannot be judged by their looks. He could be of righteous path? Fang Yuan had used familiar face to disguise himself, so there was not even a little flaw. Old Ghost by June was awed by Fang Yuan's aura. He coughed, then clasped his hands in greeting. Greetings, I wonder how I should address you. Fang Yuan's cold gaze swept past the three immortals, chilling their hearts. He did not reply, he only waved his hand. Roar. The Soul Beast army started roaring and howling, their voices reverberating everywhere. Then, the large army, like a surging tide, charged towards Old Ghost by June's group. Their momentum was like countless horses and soldiers running in the battlefield. As the saying went, a slightest disagreement of words could result in a fight. But Fang Yuan did not even speak a word, and instead straightforwardly made a move, his intense killing intent causing the three immortals' hearts to sink. Fang Lung once again looked at Fang Yuan, as if shouting, Are you saying this is not a demon? Now, your benefactor is about to take our lives. Fang Yuan innocently looked at Fang Lung, as if replying, Why blame me? I am innocent too. Old Ghost by June was stunned, before becoming furious. He thought, I am trying peaceful measures so as to not to add troubles to Master's plan. I did not think this maniac would directly make a killing move without even any greeting. When did this maniac appear in Western Desert? He is simply disregarding me. All right, I will let you know that not everyone can be so easily bullied. At this thought, Old Ghost by June shouted and flew to the sky like a flash of lightning. Come, let's battle. He opened his arms wide. His sleeves expanded like two black holes from where countless dark currents surged out. The dark currents moved towards Fang Yuan like black pythons. Fang Yuan pointed his finger. Wisdom Path Immortal Killer Move. Ignited Thought Flying Rock. Rumble. Using offense against offense, the dark currents resisted for a while, but could not endure it any longer as they dispersed. The red meteorite's power was decreased by half, but still continued to smash towards the ground. Old Ghost by June's Soul Beast army cried miserably from the bombardment. Many were killed instantly or heavily injured. Old Ghost by June's pupils shrunk in fright. Such power. He is a Wisdom Path Gu Immortal? Fang Lung was astonished. Don't kill me. We are Fang Clan's Gu Immortals. We are Old Ghost by June's enemies and not friends. Fang Yuan shouted loudly. Chapter 1506, Soul Explosion. Fang Clan's Gu Immortals? Fang Yuan's ears twitched at Fang Yuan's shout. Although he had investigated that the relation between Fang Yuan, Fang Lung, and Old Ghost by June seemed to be rather tense, Fang Yuan had not expected they were hostile towards each other. Moreover, Fang Clan's Gu Immortals seemed to be captives. The reason Fang Yuan immediately made a move was because he recognized Old Ghost by June. This person was a rank 7 Soul Path Gu Immortal. By killing him, Fang Yuan could take the aperture to increase his sovereign immortal aperture's resources and also increase his Soul Path Dao marks. If he could be captured alive, Fang Yuan could give his body to Ing Wuxia. After all, Ing Wuxia was proficient in Soul Path methods, but was using Water Path Gu Immortal Fairy Chui Bo's body, which did not suit him and limited his capabilities. To disguise himself and make it more convenient to fight for Green Ghost Desert, while also hiding from Heavenly Court and other forces, Fang Yuan did not use his true appearance. Instantly, thoughts started moving like lightning in Fang Yuan's mind before getting in order. Looks like this spontaneous auspicious cloud is pretty good. I had just thought of communicating with Fang Clan and building a good relationship. Who could have thought it would send me such a good opportunity at the next moment? Of course, this is also because of my high luck. Fang Yuan had used Burning Soul Bursting Luck before coming to Green Ghost Desert. He did not ask Ing Wuxia to use it, instead personally activating it. Although it expended a lot of his soul foundation, the current Fang Yuan could completely bear it. Save the two Fang Clan Gu Immortals, and take this Old Ghost by June as a captive. Fang Yuan's gaze brightened sharply. He had thought of killing them all, then annexing Old Ghost by June's Soul Beast group. But now he changed his plan. Fang Clan. Although I had never interacted with Fang Clan, it has some credit in regards to my current cultivation level. Oh well, since you encountered me, I shall save you and repay the kindness. Fang Yuan spoke. Although his voice was cold, Fang Lung and Fang Yuan felt joyous. Fang Yuan's eyes opened wide. His lips parted in a grin, as he repeatedly raised his brows at Fang Lung, as if saying, Look, he is indeed the benefactor. Fang Lung ignored him, as he looked at Fang Yuan and Old Ghost by June, frowning. He thought, this Gu Immortal's origin is mysterious. There is no such person in my memories. If he really wanted to save us, He should have hidden his intention and saved us later. But he intentionally mentioned it. Why? Either he does not want to save us and is only intentionally saying it to attract Old Ghost by Jun's attention, or he truly wants to save us. But his nature is aloof and has complete confidence in himself. He has absolute assurance that he can save us even if he informs the enemy of his intention. You want to save them from me? It will not be easy. Old Ghost by Jun was furious at Fang Yuan's words. A powerful aura burst out from his body as it brushed aside the ignited thought-flying rocks and charged towards Fang Yuan. Commendable courage, but poor foresight. Fang Yuan sneered as he flew to the sky and pointed his finger. In an instant, dozens of strange lights shot at Old Ghost by Jun, turning him into a sieve of holes. Old Ghost by Jun did not let out any blood. Instead, his body gradually turned into nothingness. Haha, you fell right into my trap. Old Ghost by Jun's true body appeared at another direction. He had used an illusion to lure Fang Yuan's attention, while his true body was hidden. Old Ghost by Jun did not choose to sneak attack Fang Yuan. Instead, he approached Fang Lung and Fang Yun. Didn't Fang Yuan say he would save these two? Old Ghost by Jun immediately had an idea to use these two as shields. This was the first time Old Ghost by Jun had seen Fang Yuan, but through the exchange. Earlier, as well as the size of Fang Yuan's soul beast army, Old Ghost by Jun knew Fang Yuan was powerful, and he was not Fang Yuan's match in a head-on fight. So he wanted to use Fang Lung and Fang Yun to threaten Fang Yuan, who wanted to save them. Crap. Looking at Old Ghost by Jun approaching them rapidly, Fang Yun shouted in dismay. But right at this moment, a figure appeared before the two immortals from the thin air. It was the transformed Fang Yuan. Old Ghost by Jun, who is the one who has fallen into a trap. The corners of Fang Yuan's lips slightly rose to reveal a demonic smile. Oh no. Old Ghost by Jun's mind jolted fiercely as he realized he had fallen into the enemy's trap and quickly tried to escape. But it was already too late. About 10 soul beasts suddenly appeared in the air, surrounding Old Ghost by Jun. Detonate. Fang Yuan commanded with a thought. Boom, boom, boom. The soul beasts self-detonated, the terrifying power of the detonation shocking Fang Lung and Fang Yun. The air wave that rose from the explosion formed into a shock wave which spread in all directions. Dust clouds rose everywhere in the desert. The dark clouds in the sky billowed outwards. Fang Yuan had intended to use wisdom path methods to capture Old Ghost by Jun. But soon after, he thought about the fact that the wisdom path method originated from Purple Mountain True Monarch. The ignited thought-flying rock he had used earlier could be hidden. After Fang Yuan had modified this move, its effect had changed a lot. But if he used other wisdom path methods, it was very likely to be found out by others. So Fang Yuan gave up wisdom path and used soul path. His soul path methods were slightly inferior to wisdom path. After all, he only had a few soul path Immortal Gu. But among them was a soul explosion method, which was an action of mutual destruction and had terrifying might. Back when Qin Baisheng had first fought Feng Jiugu, Qin Baisheng had yet to recover his original memories and was not Feng Jiuji's match. But Feng Jiugu was wary of his soul explosion method and did not deal any fatal blows, letting Qin Baisheng go. Even Feng Jiugu was wary of soul explosion. Fang Yuan naturally had to grasp this method. But he would not explode his own soul. At most it would only be for burning soul-bursting luck. However, he could use soul beasts. These soul beast soul explosions was a little impure, and even their soul cores would be destroyed. But the resulting power was truly impressive. Cough cough. Dust clouds dissipated. Old Ghost by Jun was floating in the air. The greater part of his body was gone. His limbs were destroyed with only his left arm remaining. And he looked like he was at the end of his life. He is still alive? Fang Lung exclaimed in surprise. Fang Yuan sneered. It was good he was alive. He could be captured and his body could be given to Ying Wuxia. But I can't do that in front of the Fang Clan Gu immortals. All kinds of thoughts jumped around in Fang Yuan's mind. The sovereign immortal body had ample aid to the mind to begin with. Now that Fang Yuan had both wisdom path attainment and methods, any issue was clearly and properly analyzed. Fang Yuan said, "You have some skills in soul cultivation. You are still alive after falling into my trap. Forget it. I, Swan Bujin, have a rule, that is to not take things too far and always leave room for peace. Since you are still alive, then go. I won't make a move today, now scram." Old Ghost by Jun was panting and his face was pale. He fiercely stared at Fang Yuan. He had regretted it the moment the soul beasts appeared and surrounded him. The enemy clearly emitted wisdom path aura. Why did he think of playing tricks with such a person? Even if he wanted to plot, he should have planned carefully. The soul beast's self-detonation was out of his expectations. At that instant, Old Ghost by Jun's mind was completely blank, with just one thought. That was to defend and preserve his life. After the explosion, Old Ghost by Jun did not even think of the intense pain and only felt extreme joy at being alive. But after the joy came fear and anger. He had almost died. His chest was filled with the fire of this anger, as well as fear towards Fang Yuan's schemes and methods. Either you die or I die. With such a thought, Old Ghost by June was just about to use rank 8 Immortal Gu Soul Beast token, but Fang Yuan actually let him go. According to Fang Yuan's nature, he would always wipe out and eradicate the 9 generations of his enemies. But today's situation was somewhat special. Fang Yuan was trying to obtain Old Ghost by June's body and was also mindful of Fang Clan. So he chose to let Old Ghost by June go for the moment. Old Ghost by June had been afraid and furious, feeling that he only had a chance of survival if he fought to the end, but he had never expected Fang Yuan to actually spare him. Old Ghost by June was immediately confused. Is he deceiving me to lower my fighting spirit and make me let go of my vigilance? Old Ghost by June had been tricked by Fang Yuan once, so he doubted everything now. Fang Yuan looked at his expression and knew what he was thinking. You are still here. I already gave you a chance. Are you really looking for your death? Humph. Old Ghost by June forgot his rage. He just stared at Fang Yuan. At the side, Fang Lung and Fang Yun, who were collapsed on the back of the soul beast, were also looking at Fang Yuan. Fang Yuan was standing tall like a spear on the back of the soul beast. His hands were clasped behind his back, and his gaze was like cold lightning that arrogantly looked down on the world. He showed absolute confidence that even if he let his enemy go, he would not be afraid of the troubles the enemy might bring him. Fang Lung lowered his eyes and thought, this person is full of demonic aura. He is confident and arrogant, but has a bottom line and principle. So he is this kind of person. Only such a person could take the initiative to expose his intention of saving us. Fang Yun, however, was watching with a stupefied expression. Old Ghost by June slowly narrowed his eyes, which flickered with a gloomy light. Although his injuries were severe, most of his strength still remained, especially when he still had a huge trump card remaining. Rank 8 Immortal Gu Soul Beast token. But there was a huge price to pay to activate this Gu. Old Ghost by June did not want to use it lightly. Just now, he wanted to activate it disregarding the cost to have a chance at survival, but Fang Yuan instead let him go. No matter if he is truly letting me go, I need to try to escape first and see what he will do. If he is just pretending, I will just turn back and stake my life against him. If he is truly letting me go, then I will just escape. Old Ghost by June was extremely wary towards Fang Yuan. Even if he activated the rank 8 Immortal Gu Soul Beast token, Old Ghost by June did not have confidence to win against Fang Yuan. And it was also because he had another concern. What if he revealed he had a rank 8 Immortal Gu, making Fang Yuan change his mind and attack him to seize the Gu? All kinds of thoughts lingered in Old Ghost by June's mind before he scoffed and left. He was quite fast. His broken body was like a loose arrow that quickly flew into the dark clouds and disappeared from the Immortal's sights. Benefactor, you are truly letting him go? He has a rank 8 Immortal Gu. Fang Yun was dazed for a while before crying out in shock. Chapter 1507. Qing Clan's Inheritance. Oh, there was such a thing. Looks like he had a fortuitous encounter. But since I already said it, I will let him go. Do you want me to go against my own words? Fang Yuan's expression changed slightly as he looked at Fang Yun and Fang Lung with a sharp and cold gaze. Fang Yun and Fang Lung looked at each other, feeling Fang Yuan's sharp gaze piercing into their hearts. He quickly looked away, not daring to meet Fang Yuan's gaze. At the same time, he exclaimed inwardly, this benefactor is so domineering, he is really not easy to interact with. On the contrary, Fang Lung's mind calmed. Good. This person is a man of his word. Even with such a huge temptation like a rank 8 Immortal Gu in front of him, he still stands by his words. He can be said to be extremely conceited. But only like this can the two of us have a chance of survival. Thinking of this, Fang Lung struggled to get up. I am Fang Lung, and this is my junior brother Fang Yuan. We thank Senior for saving us. Fang Yuan lightly nodded, before suddenly stretching out his hands. A formless force burst out, sucking both Fang Lung and Fang Yun to Fang Yuan's hands. Fang Lung's heart jumped, but he restrained himself, while Fang Yun cried out in shock and panic. But shortly, when the two saw that Fang Yuan was getting rid of their shackles, they put their minds at ease. To Fang Yuan, Old Ghost by June's methods were not anything novel. He soon saw through it completely, then started removing it. A move that could bind Fang Yun and Fang Lung was naturally an immortal method, but Fang Yuan had a killer move like Purple Thought Perception Starlight, and was able to easily get rid of it. Fang Lung and Fang Yun soon regained their freedom. The two gave thanks once again, but their minds were fluctuating as they thought. This person is so domineering. Although he saved us, he never asked us our opinions and immediately made a move. They could hardly imagine this was all done intentionally by Fang Yuan. He succeeded in ingraining a self-conceited and domineering image in these two Fang Clan Gu immortals' minds. "You can address me as Xuan Bujin," Fang Yuan said, introducing himself. But with his second sentence, Fang Yuan drove them off. "I mainly cultivate wisdom path, and have inherited Zheng Jingshen's inheritance, which is why I saved you too. You can leave now." "Ah." Fang Yun was dazed. "Junior shall deeply remember Senior's kindness, and will report it to the clan. Senior, will you remain in Green Ghost Desert?" Fang Lung pulled Fang Yun's sleeve, then respectfully inquired. "I have a use for these soul beasts. I saved you two not for any benefits. Go now." Fang Yuan waved his hand coldly, his gaze revealing a trace of impatience. Fang Lung and Fang Yun did not dare to disturb him again. Both bowed in respect before flying away. After a while, the two had disappeared over the horizon. "I did not expect Old Ghost by June to have a rank 8 Immortal Gu. I wonder what Gu it is. How did those two Fang Clan Gu immortals know of it? Did Old Ghost by June use the Gu in front of them?" Fang Yuan pondered. Old Ghost by June only had rank 7 cultivation, but could use rank 8 Immortal Gu. This signified he had some special method, or this rank 8 Immortal Gu was a top-tier Gu like Attitude Gu. Regardless of the reason, Fang Yuan was moved. But there is no hurry to find trouble with Old Ghost by June. Fang Yuan slightly drooped his eyebrows as he had a sensation in his mind, which showed Old Ghost by June's location. With his cautious nature, Fang Yuan had already planted an investigative method on Old Ghost by June the moment he made a move. Although Fang Yuan let Old Ghost by June go, he actually had a firm grasp on the latter's whereabouts. In the past, Fang Yuan did not have such methods. But recently, he had wholeheartedly immersed himself in cultivation. He had a lot more methods than before. "Senior brother, do you think that Benefactor knew Old Ghost by June had a rank 8 Immortal Gu, so he wanted to save us quickly before going after Old Ghost by June?" While flying, Fang Yun suddenly asked. Fang Lung thought for a moment before shaking his head. "With my understanding of Senior Xuan Bujin, that should not be the case." Fang Yun could not hold back his laughter. "From your words, you sound like you are familiar with Senior. Aren't you the same as me, meeting Senior for the first time before being driven away?" Fang Lung glanced at Fang Yun. "The rank 8 Immortal Gu is indeed a huge matter, but this Senior is extremely proud and aloof by nature. I am probably not wrong in this. Furthermore, we did not specifically inform him of what that rank 8 Immortal Gu was. If Senior truly wanted to go capture Old Ghost by June, wouldn't he have asked us about what this rank 8 Immortal Gu is and what its ability is?" Fang Yun smacked his forehead. "Your analysis makes sense. Looks like Senior really is not going to hunt Old Ghost by June Sai. That Old Ghost by June tormented us so badly. I was hoping Senior would put him in his place." Fang Lung shook his head. "That rank 8 Immortal Gu Soul Beast token can command soul beasts. If Senior led his soul beast army to fight, he would probably suffer huge losses. We should first return and inform the clan. Let the other supreme elders decide." Green Ghost Desert was near Fang clan's territory. After flying for a while, Fang Yun and Fang Lung arrived before an immortal formation. Using this immortal formation, they teleported a long distance, arriving directly at the clan's headquarters. Fang Yun and Fang Lung bade farewell. Fang Lung went to report to First Supreme Elder, while Fang Yun went to report this to Second Supreme Elder Fang Dichang. Fang clan's affairs were basically decided by First Supreme Elder and Second Supreme Elder. After hearing of this matter, the two elders first placated Fang Lung and Fang Yun before meeting to discuss this matter. Second Supreme Elder asked, "Does First Supreme Elder know of Zheng Jingshen?" First Supreme Elder slightly nodded. This person was a legendary lone cultivator tens of thousands of years ago, and had quite some relation with our Fang clan. In his earlier years of cultivation, he had received financial support from our clan, and he even had a love affair with a clan ancestor. Unfortunately, the ancestor died in a battle and Zheng Jingshen did not join Fang clan. Second Supreme Elder immediately came to a realization. Although super forces paid heavy importance to familial relations and bloodline, they would often take in new blood. Especially if they discover some Gu immortal seeds. These super forces would often support these seeds with resources. If these people truly became Gu immortals, the super force would then recruit them as their members. Naturally, such situations were rare. On one hand, they were only giving casual support in the first place as the probability of a mortal becoming an immortal was tiny. On the other hand, even if they became a Gu immortal, most of them were geniuses and elites with their own plans. They might not be willing to join a super force. But even if these people did not want to join, the kindness of the past was enough to build a close relationship. Just by being able to draw lone immortals to their side, all the previous investment the superforce made would be worth it. Zheng Jingshen was a remarkable example of this. If not for the accident, he would have joined Fang clan. Naturally, he would have to marry into Fang clan. His children would also be surnamed Fang. Zheng Jingshan's matter is rather concealed. Many are not even aware of him. This Xuan Bujin is probably not lying. First Supreme Elder added. Second Supreme Elder slightly frowned. Nothing can be said before the matter is verified. There is also the possibility of him teaming up with old Ghost by June. First Supreme Elder's gaze turned heavy. If that is truly the case, then Xuan Bujin probably collaborated with old Ghost by June to get close to my Fang clan for Qing clan's legacy. Fang Yuan, of course, had his scheme by intentionally showing goodwill and saving the two Fang clan Gu immortals. But in the discussion between the two Fang clan Supreme Elders, they had instead grouped him together with old Ghost by June and even mentioned Qing clan. This Qing clan was also a super force, but a long-exterminated one. The one who slaughtered the entire Qing clan was none other than the young Spectral Soul Demon Venerable. Before Spectral Soul Demon Venerable became a Venerable, because of a certain irreconcilable conflict, he fought against the entirety of Qing clan alone. If Qing clan had known Spectral Soul would become a Venerable in the future, they would definitely not dare to go against such a person. Unfortunately, Qing clan belittled Spectral Soul because of their superiority in numbers and assets. Spectral Soul Demon Venerable grew up step by step, fighting again and again, getting stronger the more he battled. In the end, he arrived at Qing clan's headquarters and fought an intense battle, slaughtering the entirety of Qing clan. Many Qing clan Gu immortals perished in the battle. The Dao marks of Spectral Soul's killer moves, the Gu immortals' corpses, and the Dao marks from the destruction of immortal apertures were all engraved on the battlefield, which became the current Green Ghost Desert. It was called Green One Ghost because it referenced Qing clan, the former superforce. Although Qing clan was exterminated, it was rumored that Qing clan's first Supreme Elder, before his death, sealed all the clan resources and buried them in a certain location in Green Ghost Desert, leaving behind an inheritance. There was only one condition to inherit this inheritance. It was that the inheritor must take revenge for Qing clan by killing Spectral Soul. If Spectral Soul was already dead, then the target of revenge moved to Spectral Soul's family, friends, and disciples. Regretfully, Spectral Soul became a demon venerable. The whole world was not his opponent, and that era groveled at his feet. Qing clan's inheritance became a joke. Fang clan was the nearest superforce to Green Ghost Desert, and thus was much more informed. When Qing clan was exterminated, Fang clan's ancestors began to actively search for the clues to Qing clan's inheritance. After generations of effort, the fragmented clues were pieced together, becoming increasingly valuable. Now, in this generation, the clues were already completed, and with a vague responsive method, the clan had begun searching Green Ghost Desert. First Supreme Elder sighed. We don't have enough strength to control Green Ghost Desert, not to mention that we have no methods to restrict soul beasts. The number of Gu immortals we can mobilize is also few. If not for this, we would have no need to let Fang Lung and Fang Yuan take the risk. Who could have expected their adventure would involve people like Old Ghost by June and Xuan Bujin? I have heard of Old Ghost by June, and he actually has the rank 8 Immortal Gu Soul Beast token. And that Xuan Bujin's appearance is too sudden, his origin is covered in mystery, and he has powerful methods. Regardless of what the relationship of these two is, they are obstacles that our Fang clan needs to go through to search for Qing clan's inheritance. Second Supreme Elder nodded. Fang clan had many assets and networks. Their Gu immortals needed to defend the territories. But Qing clan's inheritance was tempting, especially when the clues mentioned that Immortal Gu House Divine Being Palace, which was created by Genesis Lotus Immortal Venerable and left in Western Desert. Its value was extremely high and left behind a heavy mark in history. Fang clan was famous for its Gu houses. Divine Being Palace had a high importance to them. Their resolve to explore Qing clan's inheritance and obtain Divine Being Palace was not a matter of a generation or two, but was carried by generations after generations. Chapter 1508, Divine Being Palace Green Ghost Desert. A battered figure was flying past the surface of the desert. Xuan Bujin, you actually did not chase me, such arrogance. Humph, I will settle this debt with you sooner or later. Old Ghost by June's expression was distorted and furious as he thought of Fang Yuan. 3 of his limbs had been destroyed in the soul explosion, but they were already recovered now. It was clear that Old Ghost by June had powerful healing methods. Suddenly, his body shook as he coughed out a mouthful of blood. Old Ghost by June's face was once again filled with hatred, as he said through clenched teeth, "My soul beasts, it was not easy to gather them, but now they have all been killed. Damn it. The loss this time is too huge. More importantly, the timing is delayed now. What will I do if Master blames me?" At the thought of his master, Old Ghost by June's body shook involuntarily as fear and panic surged in his heart. No, I did not handle the matters properly this time. I will definitely be severely punished by Master. What to do? No, I can't let Master know. I better conceal this and report after I accumulate another group of soul beasts. Sigh, although I am tight on time, as long as I disregard the costs and activate soul beast token, what soul beasts can I enslave? Just as he was thinking this, a female figure suddenly appeared in front of Old Ghost by June. It is you, Eagle Concubine. Why are you here? Old Ghost by June immediately panicked when he saw this person. Eagle Concubine was dressed in a tight black clothing, perfectly displaying her seductive figure. Her face was pale white, as if she had never seen sunlight. Not only was there no rosiness, her eyes even shone with a gloomy light. She sneered. Old geezer, you still don't understand why I came? You have spoiled Master's plan, returning in defeat. Master has specially ordered me to bring you back for questioning. What? Old Ghost by June trembled, shock and fear clouding his face. Sweat dripped down his forehead. How did Master know? Eagle Concubine sneered. You think Master handed you a rank 8 Immortal Gu without any monitoring means? You are really underestimating Master. How could I dare to underestimate Master? Humph, Eagle Concubine, don't try to drive a wedge between us. Old Ghost by June shouted furiously. Yes, I admit I didn't handle things properly this time and caused a setback to Master's plan. But I will make up for it. There is still time. I can definitely give Master a satisfying answer. Eagle Concubine shook her head. You still want to make up for your mistake? Humph, you already have no opportunity. You think I am deceiving you? It was truly Master who ordered me to take you back. Master personally gave the command? Old Ghost by June was deathly pale, as he cautiously asked with a trace of hope. Eagle Concubine nodded. You can forget about it. How could I deceive you in this matter? Let's go. Don't make me take action. You know Master's divine might. Just return with me obediently. Okay, I will return with you. Old Ghost by June gave a sad smile as he became dispirited. He did not have any thoughts of rebelling against his master. The two immortals set off, and after traveling an immense distance, they entered a quicksand pit. After entering the sandpit, they continued to move down for close to 1,000 li before they entered a mysterious space filled with green lights. The two immortals used their methods familiarly. The green lights immediately changed, and a golden staircase appeared from the lights. In the green lights, the two could not fly, and had to move up the stairs step by step. After walking 9,999 steps, the two arrived in front of a palace door. This palace was lofty like a mountain, liveliness mixed in its solemnity. Its green bricks and golden tiles emitted dense fragrance of plants and trees. And carved on the plaque on the palace door were 3 large words, Divine Bean Palace. It was the Immortal Gu House of Genesis Lotus Immortal Venerable that Fang clan had been conspiring to obtain for generations after generations. The two immortals did not dare to open the door, instead kneeling on the ground, kowtowing with incomparable respect. The palace door slowly started opening, revealing an extremely spacious hall. There were dozens of large pillars in the hall. They were thick and sturdy, glittering with bronze radiance. An enormous soul beast was lying inside the hall. It had a tortoise shell for tiger paws, dragon tail, snake neck, and a human head. Seeing this monster, the two Gu immortals hurriedly bowed and paid respects. By June, Eagle Concubine greets Master. Eagle Concubine was very respectful, while Old Ghost by June's face was dripping with sweat as his body shook in fear. That soul beast with disheveled hair had a ferocious expression as it let out an angry howl, while staring at Old Ghost by June. Old Ghost by June had never seen his master so furious. He plopped down to the ground and shouted, Master, please spare me, please spare me. But the soul beast paid no heed to his plea. It raised its huge right paw and suddenly grabbed Old Ghost by June. Old Ghost by June's expression distorted from fright. Master, Master, please listen to me. Soul beast token Immortal Gu is still with me. I did not lose it. This failure was my mistake, but please give this servant a chance to redeem himself. This smell, it is him. Right, it is him. The soul beast sensed with closed eyes, before suddenly opening its bloodshot eyes. That long snake neck was stretched out like a pillar due to anger. The scales on it were emitting cold, eerie light. The hall rang with the soul beast's shout. Eagle Concubine's face turned pale as she keenly sensed the anger and hatred contained within this shout. Spectral soul demon venerable, the enemy who eliminated my clan. I finally have caught you. Although you are dead, there is no mistake with this scent. It is your inheritor or descendant. Hee-haw! The soul beast began to laugh madly. The crazed laughter shook the air, forming airwaves that struck the hall repeatedly. Eagle Concubine had to retreat repeatedly. This laughter shook her very soul. Old Ghost by June, who was held by the tiger claws, was even more shocked, his eyes rolling up. But he could already sense that his master did not bring him back to punish him. It was because of that Swanbu gene, who seemed to have a connection to spectral soul demon Venerable. Suddenly, the whole of Divine Being Palace erupted with glaring rays of green light. The green rays pierced through the soul beast's body like countless sharp arrows. The soul beast's crazed laughter stopped abruptly as it gave a muffled groan. This damn Divine Being Palace. It roared in agitation and was about to go berserk. Old Ghost by June was afraid he would be crushed to death in a moment of carelessness. He quickly shouted, "Master, please calm your raging anger. Please take good care of yourself. Taking care of your body is most important." The soul beast was persuaded, gradually calming down, and mumbled, "Your words are correct. I need to take care of my body. I am going to kill all the inheritors and descendants of spectral soul to take revenge for the hatred from back then." At the same time, Heavenly Court. Countless halls shone with dazzling white light. Suddenly, green aurora lights shone in the pure white sky. The aurora lights lasted for a moment before gradually dissipating. Heavenly Court's atmospheric changes are never a small matter. This seems to involve Genesis Lotus Immortal Venerable. Fairy Ziwei was in Heavenly Court. She quickly made deductions when she saw this unusual phenomenon. After a while, she opened her eyes, which had a trace of joy. So it was Divine Being Palace, which was put in Western Desert by Genesis Lotus Immortal Venerable. This Divine Being Palace is a rank 8 Immortal Gu house and has outstanding might. It is about to appear in the world. We can't let it fall into Western Desert's hands. Fairy Ziwei slowly closed her eyelids and continued to deduce. After obtaining the results, she called a Gu Immortal of Central Continent. This rank 8 Gu Immortal was dressed in a green robe, emitting an aura of a scholar. From his appearance, he looked young, but his eyes were deep and wise. He was already some thousands of years old. "Chun-Yi, you are the first Supreme Elder of Heavenly Lotus Sect. Divine Being Palace is making an appearance in Western Desert. Follow my plan and go subdue it." Fairy Ziwei instructed. "Okay." Chun-Yi bowed slightly with no changes in his expression. Fairy Ziwei nodded. "Do this, and you can resign from your position to enter Heavenly Court." Chun-Yi was slightly moved, revealing a trace of joy. He once again bowed and said in a clear voice, "Then, I shall thank Lady Ziwei." Several days later, Western Desert. Fang Yuan's soul left his body. He moved the soul and grasped a handful of sand. From phantom to solid, interfering with the material world. Haha, I have finally reached 100 million man soul. Fang Yuan was inwardly jubilant. Chapter 1509. Third entry to Thieving Heavens Dream Realm. Fang Yuan sighed. He had finally reached 100 million man soul after several setbacks. Dang Hun Mountain and Luo Po Valley are indeed the sacred lands of soul cultivation, and adding in the world's top soul cultivation techniques written in spectral soul true inheritance. My soul foundation has soared rapidly. But I am only at 100 million man soul. I will need to continue to accumulate further, 200 million, 300 million, 400 million, until 900 million. After 900 million was not 1 billion, but was a breakthrough to Desolate Soul. After attaining Desolate Soul, Fang Yuan's soul would have the strength of a Desolate level soul beast. Although Fang Yuan's current strength could easily play around with Desolate beasts, being able to fight them with just his soul would be a qualitative transformation. After all, a human soul was inherently weaker than other life forms. Being able to make up for this weakness afterwards and even surpass them, that showed the power of spectral soul's true inheritance. Fang Yuan did not return after getting 100 million man soul, but continued to stay to capture soul beasts. After knowing Old Ghost by June and Fang Clan, Fang Yuan no longer intended to find an immemorial soul beast. He was not afraid of such an existence, but if it really came to a fight, not only would his soul beast army suffer huge losses, his main methods would also emerge. Once his trump card killer moves like Reverse Flow Protection Seal and Myriad Dragon were exposed, it would mean Fang Yuan's identity would also be revealed. There were many immemorial soul beasts in Green Ghost Desert, but under the lead of Spontaneous Auspicious Cloud, Fang Yuan did not encounter any of them. Of course, it is not only because of Spontaneous Auspicious Cloud, but also because my own luck is being maintained in a powerful state. So my recent endeavors have all been smooth sailing, somewhat like getting everything I want. Fang Yuan was aware of the reason. Fang Yuan continued to stay in Green Ghost Desert. He did not even have to make a move and could just make his soul beast army fight. If he encountered soul beasts, he would command his soul beast army to charge at them. He would take out the soul cores of the dead ones, while adding in the remaining captives to replenish any losses. Besides, Fang Yuan did not have to spend anything to control the soul beasts other than mental energy and immortal essence. And it also had an extremely high return. When Gu Immortals did things, they would consider investment and returns. Fang Yuan was deeply aware of this, and would always take advantage of it. This method of hunting soul beasts could exert his abilities to the limit. He could optimize his gains. Like this, dozens of days passed. Fang Yuan's soul foundation had increased to 200 million. His soul was even more solid and lifelike. His 4 limbs became even tougher, much superior to the previous 100 million man soul. In this period, whether it be Fang clan, Old Ghost by June, or immemorial soul beasts, none appeared. Fang Yuan went through this period peacefully. Speaking of Old Ghost by June, Fang Yuan wanted to seize his rank 8 Immortal Gu. But when he used his wisdom path methods to deduce, he found that it still was not the time for it, and there were even a lot of risks in trying to do so now. Furthermore, with Fang clan staying at the side, Fang Yuan did not make a move, even though he knew Old Ghost by June's location. 200 million man soul should be enough to explore the 3rd stage of Thieving Heavens' dream realm, right? Fang Yuan was impatient to return. He stored the soul beast army in his sovereign immortal aperture and concealed his tracks before quietly leaving Green Ghost Desert. After spending some time hurrying back, he arrived in front of Thieving Heavens' dream realm once again. Tang Fangming quickly came to welcome him. His gaze towards Fang Yuan was filled with respect. Over the period when Fang Yuan left, he had made great progress in exploring the dream realm because of Fang Yuan's guidance, gaining huge harvests. After greeting Tang Fangming, Fang Yuan followed the previous arrangements. He let out the Shadow Sect Immortals to control the Immortal formation before entering Thieving Heavens' dream realm. The surroundings suddenly changed. An oasis in the desert. Fang Yuan was once again an observer. It is this place, it is this place. Sha Zhao's voice was trembling from excitement. In the previous 2 stages, Thieving Heaven was banished by the clan, encountered Sha Zhao, refined rank 2 sneak attack Gu, became the champion of the small competition, and came to the clan's important area, which was the pool in the center of the oasis to choose Gu worms as the reward for winning the competition. Sha Zhao naturally had arranged investigative methods on young Thieving Heaven's body. Right now, he sensed an inexplicable aura from near the pool and knew he had found the place. However, young Thieving Heaven's heart sank. Sha Zhao getting his wish was not something he wanted to see. Quick, throw that sheepskin map into the pool. Sha Zhao commanded young Thieving Heaven with a clear impatience. Young Thieving Heaven was extremely doubtful. Didn't you take my sheepskin map? How would I have it? Sha Zhao laughed darkly. I have already made all the preparations. I have stitched that sheepskin map in your clothes. My good grandson, you only need to take off that piece of clothing and throw it to the pool. Young Thieving Heaven's heart sank further as he thought inwardly. This Sha Zhao is a scheming demon. He definitely has a huge plot in throwing that mysterious sheepskin map to the pool. How can I do a thing like helping him commit a crime? Although the clan banished me before, they have after all shown me kindness by raising me for many years. I cannot repay this kindness with ill intent. Quick, grandson, throw that clothing into the pool. Sha Zhao shouted. Don't forget that my method is still marked in your body. If you don't do it, I will make sure you die a painful death. Young Thieving Heaven's pupils immediately shrunk at the threat of death. He thought of his family and returning home, falling into deep hesitation. If he did not follow Sha Zhao's words now, he probably was going to truly die. His wish of returning home and reuniting with his family would just become wild wishes. Do I give up my moral conduct to return home? No, I can't do this. Sha Zhao might be incomparably strong, but I still have hope. I will fight to the end and will never lower my head to evil. I won't let down my Ben Jie-sun's name. Young Thieving Heaven's eyes shined brightly. Grandpa, this timing might not be suitable. I have yet to choose the Gu. The clan's Gu masters are observing me from the side. If I rashly throw my clothes into the pool, it will be intercepted by the guards before it can even land in the pool. This pool is our clan's most important water source after all. Young Thieving Heaven inwardly said to Sha Zhao. Sha Zhao was stunned for a moment, before slowly speaking. I was impatient, grandson. You are right. But you must find an opportunity when others are unaware and finish this task. If you cannot accomplish it, you can go die. If you can complete it, Grandpa will give you unimaginable benefits. Sha Zhao threatened as well as enticed. Young Thieving Heaven quickly agreed, but was not even a little moved inwardly. The clan's Gu masters led young Thieving Heaven to the underground cavern. You are the winner of the competition. Go choose your Gu. Remember, you only have 15 minutes. Young Thieving Heaven thanked them and walked into the cavern. There were countless square holes in the walls. The square holes were of all sizes, most of them containing Gu worms. These rank 1 Gu worms were of all kinds and shapes, dazzling young Thieving Heaven, he inwardly exclaimed. Although I heard there were countless Gu worms in the world, now that I am personally seeing the storage of the clan, I am truly sensing how magical this world is. There's a door there. Young Thieving Heaven pushed open the small door and entered another underground cavern. This small cavern size was only about 1/3 of the previous cavern. There were similar square holes carved in the walls, but the goo worms in the holes were rank 2. Young Thieving Heavens sighed in his mind as he looked at the goo worms. Oh, I have no one to guide me. I simply don't know what goo worm is better and suits me. Also, that demon Sha Xiao is plotting a huge scheme. What should I do? Ask for help from the clan. Young Thieving Heaven shook his head repeatedly in worry. Sha Xiao had investigative methods which could sense matters around Young Thieving Heaven. The moment Young Thieving Heaven revealed the secret, he would immediately be killed by Sha Xiao. Young Thieving Heaven's expression suddenly changed into that of surprise. Then, like the person had changed, he began to move around his arms and legs, adapting to the body. I am once again in control of Young Thieving Heaven's body, but I have some leisure time now, unlike the previous urgent situations. Fang Yuan was once again in charge of Young Thieving Heaven's actions. So I have to resolve Young Thieving Heaven's issue again. Fang Yuan mumbled. How to deal with Sha Xiao? From my conjecture, this demon's cultivation is at least rank 4. Rank 5 is also very likely. Fang Yuan scanned his surroundings, looking at the large numbers of goo worms. It seems the breakthrough for this difficulty lies in the goo worms here. Young Thieving Heaven did not recognize these goo worms, but Fang Yuan had broad experience and vast knowledge. He knew almost all of these goo worms. Even if there were some which he did not recognize, he could roughly guess them through various checks. Also, even though Sha Xiao has investigative methods, they clearly stopped working when Young Thieving Heaven entered the underground cavern. Looks like Sha Xiao's methods can't breach the defense of this underground cavern. This underground cavern was heavily protected. This was the clan's important area where goo worms were stored. If it could be easily inspected, it would definitely attract enemies, and the clan would suffer disastrous losses. Sha Xiao does not know what I am doing now, so he wanted Young Thieving Heaven to take the risk and finish his matter earlier. Also, even in the outside world, his investigative methods are probably relying on Young Thieving Heaven's senses. As long as I can glean the mysteries of his method, I can deal with it. Fang Yuan analyzed in his mind. This third stage had just begun. He was given a test, but it was not actually too difficult. Even if he failed, he could try it again. At most, his soul would be injured. Were it before when his soul foundation only was 10 million man soul level, he might be worried this injury would be beyond the limit he could endure. But now that he had 200 million man soul, he was confident that no matter how much injury he suffered, his soul could not be directly destroyed. But if I follow the Dream Realm's route, it might be safe, but it would be just that. Instead, how about, Fang Yuan had a flash of inspiration. He wanted to test his plan and see how much change this dream realm of Thieving Heaven could support. Chapter 15:10. Fang Yuan gets captured. Thieving Heaven's dream realm. The goo worm has been selected. Now let me take a look. Fang Yuan took a deep breath and controlled Young Thieving Heaven's body. He first activated Sneak Attack Gu. Immediately at the activation, a blue baby figure jumped out and pounced towards the front. In the blink of an eye, the blue baby phantom entered the cavern wall. The whole process was silent as if nothing had happened. Fang Yuan mentally sighed. This Sneak Attack Gu is indeed a top-tier Gu. Not only is its power outstanding among rank 2, it is silent as well. According to the Dream Realm, this cavern definitely has defensive methods arranged in it. But Sneak Attack Gu simply did not touch the defenses. I might as well refine some Sneak Attack Gu in the future. Fang Yuan had relied on the Dream Realm to create Sneak Attack Gu. In the outside world, Fang Yuan could create the Gu recipe for every mortal rank after some modifications. Fang Yuan could use the rank 2 Sneak Attack Gu recipe to deduce its rank 1 to rank 5 recipes. He could even use the Light of Wisdom to deduce rank 6 and rank 7 Sneak Attack Immortal Gu recipes. Because Fang Yuan's current theft path attainment level was already as high as Quasi-Great Grandmaster. After using the Sneak Attack Gu, Fang Yuan sped up the process, activating the Gu worms which he had chosen in the cavern. According to the rewards of the competition, the champion could select 3 rank 1 Gu or 1 rank 2 Gu. Fang Yuan had checked all the rank 2 Gu in the small cavern. Although they were quite good, they were not suitable for his use. Fang Yuan then chose 3 rank 1 Gu from the large cavern, immediately refining them and combining them into a killer move. This killer move was activated, immediately forming a giant Rhino Strength Path Phantom. The Rhino Strength Path Phantom moved its limbs and directly charged towards the cavern wall. This part of the cavern walls had already been internally destroyed by Sneak Attack Gu's power. Now, as the Rhino Phantom smashed into it, it immediately collapsed loudly. Following, large amount of water surged out of the hole. Although Fang Yuan had been a bystander, he had already observed clearly and found this area of the underground cavern was right next to the oasis pool. This arrangement made sense. The pool had a spirit spring. The nearer the storage was to the pool, the denser the primeval energy that could seep into the mud and spread. And to this underground cavern where the clan stored Gu worms, it was greatly beneficial. There were some disadvantages, but the clan had already arranged defensive methods here, and those that could normally enter here were their own people. Even young Thieving Heaven was only trusted by the clan because he had lived and grown in the clan for over 10 years. But right now, under Fang Yuan's control, young Thieving Heaven acted opposite and went mad, directly opening a hole in the wall to finish Xia Zhao's task. Water surged in large amounts. A layer of light membrane suddenly shone on the wall, blocking most of the water. What happened? Move quickly, something happened. Shocked voices came from outside the cavern. The guards immediately rushed in after sensing something wrong. What use is it in discovering now? Fang Yuan sneered, activating sneak attack Gu along with other 2 Gu to form a killer move. The rank 2 killer move covered him with a layer of blue light, increasing his speed sharply. Fang Yuan moved quickly towards that membrane of light blocking the water, directly passing through it and entering the pool. This membrane of light had also been in Fang Yuan's consideration. The clan's defensive methods were only mortal level in the end, and to a Gu immortal like Fang Yuan, they were filled with flaws. As for the incoming fierce current, even though it had huge force, Fang Yuan's killer move easily opened a way through it. By the time the 2 guards entered, they only saw Fang Yuan's receding figure entering the pool. This is a traitor, one guard shouted furiously with bloodshot eyes. The clan nurtured and raised you. How could you dare to do this? Was your conscience eaten by the dogs? He immediately attacked, but the other guard quickly stopped him. Are you crazy? What would we do if your move kills the Gu worms in the cavern? The important thing is to repair the defense as quickly as possible to reduce the losses. The smaller the losses, the lighter our punishment would be. That guard did not want to continue listening to the advice. He shook off his companion's arm. You repair the defenses, I will capture this thief. He threw behind these words, before passing through the light membrane, to chase Fang Yuan. An enemy? Fang Yuan's heart tensed. He was extremely vigilant, immediately sensing the guard entering the water. But even if he sensed the guard, it was of no use. Young Thieving Heaven was only rank 1 with a poor aptitude, having limited primeval essence that was almost finished after Fang Yuan repeatedly activated Gu worms. Thus, even though Fang Yuan was a Gu immortal, he had nothing to work with against the rank 3 guard. Thief, how dare you do this? Did you do this because you hated the clan for banishing you? Or were you ordered by someone? The chasing guard could speak even in water. Fang Yuan held his breath and used all his strength to fight. But in just 2-3 moves, he was captured by the guard. The guard was full of hatred towards Fang Yuan, and seeing him still daring to retaliate, he immediately struck Fang Yuan's chest with his palm. Fang Yuan's 7 orifices started bleeding, the blood spreading in the pool. How could your filthy blood pollute my clan's spirit spring? The rank 3 guard revealed hatred as he activated a Gu worm to collect all the blood. Damn it, I just had to run into a water path rank 3 Gu master. Fang Yuan revealed a bitter smile. After being captured, he could not even budge and had to take the palm strike head-on, his soul suffering an unprecedented level of damage. Fang Yuan endured the pain. After his soul stopped shaking, he carefully inspected it and was astonished. So powerful. This one strike cut down my soul foundation by 50 million. He thought rapidly, guessing. There are few waterpath Gu masters in Western Desert. Was this person specially sent by the Dream Realm to target me? 50 million man soul was immediately cut away. If it were anyone else, this one strike might have killed them. Even if it were me previously, with 90 million man soul foundation, over half of my soul would have been destroyed instantly in this situation. And this 3rd stage has just started. The later events definitely look like they will be more problematic. Thinking of this, Fang Yuan could not help but rejoice that he had stably accumulated until 200 million man soul before entering Thieving Heavens' dream realm. He then continued to speculate. If I had not rashly charged in and followed the dream realm development, there probably would not have been this kind of attack. But by doing this, I likely spared myself of many steps in between. This dream realm change is worth studying. Fang Yuan explored the dream realm not only for theft path attainment, but also to accumulate experience and make exploring other dream realms more convenient. Although the action this time was slightly risky, Fang Yuan had gained a lot. He might be captured, but a flash of inspiration appeared in his mind, giving him new thoughts. Wait a moment. This 50 million man soul foundation was not random. Other than soul path Gu immortals, most other Gu immortals don't even have such level of soul foundation. If other paths Gu immortals were to explore this dream realm of Thieving Heaven, what would happen? Fang Yuan thought of Tang Fong Ming. More accurately, he thought of the Steel Dream Killer move that Tang Fong Ming created in his first life. In my first life, as Dream, realms continued to be explored, Endless numbers of Dream Path Gu worms, as well as Dream Path killer moves were created to provide targeted help against different dream realms. Thieving Heavens Dream Realm has a huge demand on Soul Foundation, which absolutely could not be explored before the chaotic era. If an ordinary person were to explore it, they would need to have enough Dream Path accumulation. The best case would be to create a killer move related to Dream and Soul, which can neutralize the corrosion of the soul in Dream Realm, or greatly reduce the corrosion. This Dream Realm of Thieving Heaven came from a Gu Immortal Venerable and was so huge, the difficulty of exploring it was extremely high. During the early and middle periods of the Five Regions Chaotic War, it was simply a graveyard for Gu Immortals. Fang Yuan was able to explore it by forcibly facing it with his Soul Foundation. The most terrifying thing about this Dream Realm was the intense corrosion of the soul, but Fang Yuan directly crossed this hurdle with his robust Soul Foundation. The spirit spring started burbling in the pool like it was boiling. What's going on? The rank 3 guard was moving to the surface while holding Fang Yuan in one hand when he saw this situation. Sure enough, my action greatly reduced the steps. I have already reached the most crucial juncture of the 3rd stage. Fang Yuan, however, was jubilant. His gaze shined brightly as he looked at the changes in the pool. Chapter 15:11 Theft Path Great Grandmaster. The water in the pool burbled. The water temperature also rose rapidly. Traitor, what the hell did you do? The rank 3 guard glared and grabbed Fang Yuan's neck. Despite feeling an intense pain, it was nothing to Fang Yuan. He did not even glance at the guard and just concentrated on the water that was going through the change. Just like I guessed before, that sheepskin map is definitely an immortal material. It could not be detected as it was processed. But now, it immediately reacted after soaking in this pool water. I had been curious as to why this oasis was so small, but it seems now that it was tampered by someone to form a Gu refinement area. In Western Desert, a normal oasis would not be small. All the oases which could last for long were of large sizes, having at least a lake size. A small oasis with a pool like this was like a meteor in the sky. They would disappear after a short moment, buried under the desert sand. Young Thieving Heavens clan was able to prosper by relying on this oasis. It was clear this oasis had already existed for many years. Even though it had the protection of Gu masters, mortals could not defend against nature's power for long. So it was strange for this small oasis to have survived for such a long time. Are you going to talk or not? I will kill you if you don't speak. The rank 3 Gu master was almost spewing fire from his eyes because of anger. The water temperature continued to rise, already at a level which an ordinary person could barely endure. The rank 3 Gu master held Fang Yuan's neck and floated to the water surface. Then he exerted strength and directly jumped ashore. They're back. This is the traitor? A backstabbing traitor. Speak, who ordered you? The clan's higher-ups were already gathered on the shore. The elders, the clan leader with rank 4 cultivation, and even the old and retired clan leader was present. Fang Yuan was completely soaked. He was immediately restrained as soon as he got ashore. He was then repeatedly interrogated, with no strength to resist or struggle. Fang Yuan only coughed, remaining silent. The pool is already boiling. There is red light coming from inside. At this time, someone cried out in surprise. The clan's higher-ups were all nervous, some were even sweating. This pond contained a spirit spring which produced primeval stones. It was the basis for the clan to survive in the desert. If this was destroyed, it was akin to the destruction of the clan. Several breaths later, the red light passed through the pool's surface and soared to the sky, dyeing the sky above the oasis red. The light could be seen from the surrounding 100 li. The clan's higher-ups appeared to be caught by surprise. How could they stop this without even knowing the reason? The clan leader had a malevolent expression on his face as he was about to interrogate Fang Yuan again, but was suddenly stopped by someone. It was the old clan leader. The old clan leader's legs were gone due to injuries from battles. His upper body floated before Fang Yuan. He gave a deep sigh and persuaded kindly. Child, you were likely enticed by someone. If the clan has wronged you before, I will apologize to you. I will agree to whatever compensation you want. This matter before us is not a small thing. It concerns the lives of all our clansmen. Tell us everything you know. If there is an accident, many families will die. Hee. Fang Yuan snickered. He was now outside of the cavern and was no longer hidden. Sha Xiao was definitely aware of this situation. If he did not speak, the clan's higher-ups will interrogate him by torture, but there would be some delay. If he spoke, Sha Xiao would probably immediately kill him on the spot. If young Thieving Heaven died, Fang Yuan's exploration would be a failure. Taking the lesser of the two evils, Fang Yuan remained silent. Damn bastard. How could the clan have produced such a vile spawn like you? The clan leader was furious at Fang Yuan's attitude. He immediately kicked him down. Fang Yuan chuckled coldly. Yes, kill me. Kill me, and you won't know anything. You. The clan leader immediately stiffened. Kakik. My good grandson, Grandpa likes this inner nature of yours. Sha Zhao's mad laughter rang in Fang Yuan's ears. It can't be helped. At this moment, the old clan leader stopped the current clan leader. He looked at Fang Yuan, his affable look from earlier replaced by a cold and cruel expression. This kid is unrepentant. Use soul search methods on him. Even if his soul gets destroyed, no one will be blamed. The old man had revealed his true nature. Yes. Immediately, a rank 3 elder went forward and grabbed Fang Yuan's head, soul searching him with no hesitation. Intense pain spread. Fang Yuan's pupils shrunk, and his whole body started shaking from the pain. The dream realm started wearing down his soul at an intense rate. Fang Yuan's soul foundation was directly falling by 10 million each time. He still had 150 million man soul left, but it was rapidly decreasing now, 140 million, 130 million, 120 million. In just a few breaths of time, Fang Yuan's soul foundation had actually fallen to 90 million, falling below 100 million man soul level. Even Fang Yuan involuntarily took in a sharp breath at this. This dream realm's might was too savage. It was fortunate he had a robust foundation. Were it others, including ordinary rank 8 existences, they would probably be in danger of dying by now. After falling to 90 million man soul, the dream realm's corrosion stopped abruptly. This was because there was another change in the pool. The glaring red light shot out, completely evaporating the water in the pool. The enormous red light turned into a pillar of light that charged towards the skies. The skies suddenly turned dark as dark clouds appeared above. The earth shook like a behemoth that had woken up underground. Heaven Qi is surging. Earth Qi is rising. This is the phenomenon of an Immortal Gu's creation. I wonder who arranged this. This is definitely not a small matter. Fang Yuan was also surprised. Other Mortal Gu masters were even more shocked and terrified, even forgetting about young Thieving Heaven. The old were still the most experienced. The old clan leader immediately said in a decisive voice, "Retreat. Don't bring anything. Just save your lives." Before even finishing his words, he flew away. Even without legs, he escaped quicker than others. The other Gu masters gave cries of alarm before quickly running away as well. Only Fang Yuan remained behind in the pool. Soon, Fang Yuan lost his control and turned into an observer once again. Young Thieving Heavens slumped down on the ground in fright, crying tears of regret. What did I do? What in the world did I do? How could I do such a thing? I am worse than a beast. Slap, slap, slap. Young Thieving Heavens slapped himself. How could I be this kind of person? Sob, sob. His cheeks were red and swollen. Looking at his similarly red hands, he began to cry. Rumble. Thunder crackled. The red light suddenly flashed intensely in an instant. The enchanting red light covered several thousands of li, shining upon the stupefied clansmen as well as the quickly escaping ones. Then, the red light suddenly retracted, as if thousands of arrows were shot out before flying back to the bows like time was reversed. Such a bizarre scene caused young Thieving Heaven to stare, dumbfounded. How could this be? In the blink of an eye, the red light's changes finished. However, the people who the light had contacted, be it mortals or Gu masters, found to their horror that they had turned extremely old. Then they took one last breath before all of them fell to the ground, dead. Young Thieving Heaven was no exception. He had turned from a young boy to an old man with wrinkled face and grizzled hair. I should die. All my troubles will end once I am dead. Young Thieving Heaven closed his eyes and waited for death, but Sha Zhao's voice resounded in his ears. Ha ha ha, you want to die? You are the owner of Steel Life Immortal Gu. How could you die? Demon, what do you mean? Young Thieving Heaven shouted in his mind. Just at this time, the red light concentrated into a lump of essence, turning into a scarlet bee that flew before him. Young Thieving Heaven immediately sensed a close feeling. He and this bee had the most intimate connection. He involuntarily extended his palm, and when the bee entered his hand, his extracted lifespan returned to his body. Young Thieving Heaven turned young once again. Sha Zhao laughed sinisterly. My good grandson, this rank 6 Immortal Gu is Grandpa's gift to you. Take it and roam the world. This world is big while you are too insignificant. If you truly want to return home, make use of this opportunity well. Immortal Gu, who are you? What are you trying to do? Young Thieving Heaven did not feel any joy of obtaining an Immortal Gu. Instead, cold sweat soaked his body. Sha Zhao's voice, however, gradually turned faint. When the time is ripe, you will know. At this point, the third stage of the dream realm concluded. Fang Yuan returned to reality, his soul returning to his body. He carefully inspected, and as expected, he became a Theft Path Great Grandmaster. Chapter 1512, Fallen Flower Hall, Theft Path Great Grandmaster Attainment Level. Fang Yuan breathed in deeply, having a complex expression. The day had finally arrived. His attainment level finally reached Great Grandmaster. To think that it was neither Blood Path, Strength Path, Wisdom Path, nor time path, but theft path instead. Fang Yuan's theft path attainment level was originally empty, like a piece of blank paper. But because of Thieving Heavens' dream realm, it rose all the way to become his #1 path in attainment level. Evidently, dream realms were able to make Gu Masters and Gu Immortals gain foundation rapidly. This was also the cause of the 5 regions' chaotic war. Because too many people explored dream realms and gained attainment levels, they had a much greater urge for cultivation resources and status. Their desires rose dramatically. Of course, dream realms were not so easy to explore. Even though Fang Yuan had great gains, he paid a huge price to get here. Even some rank 8 Gu Immortals could not bear such a cost. Great Grandmaster attainment level. This was the limit that Fang Yuan could reach, and it was also the limit of the 5 regions. Fang Yuan, who has such an attainment level, would be extremely familiar with all of the theft path profundities in the world. Even if he was misled by external influences, he could easily understand tough questions with some thinking. But beyond theft path, Great Grandmaster was Supreme Grandmaster. This was difficult. It meant that Fang Yuan would need to surpass Thieving Heaven Demon Venerable's achievements. Thinking of Thieving Heaven Demon Venerable, Fang Yuan sighed deeply. Even though the dream realm was illusory, this realistic dream realm showed what had happened in history. Fang Yuan helped Thieving Heaven many times to allow the dream realm to continue. But Thieving Heaven's personality was quite a shock to Fang Yuan, way out of his expectations. What truly happened in history? What was the reason that made young Thieving Heaven a demon venerable? Fang Yuan felt that Sha Xiao was the crucial factor. After reaching Theft Path Great Grandmaster attainment level, the rest of Thieving Heaven's dream realm was useless to Fang Yuan. But Fang Yuan did not need to mention this. It is a pity. Fang Yuan said his goodbyes to Tang Fangming, having a regretful tone. Something urgent happened. I need to go and settle it. I will explore Thieving Heaven's dream realm next time. Tang Fangming asked earnestly. I wonder what is the matter. Can my Tang clan assist you? Tang Fangming was not being kind-hearted. He was following the agreement between Tang clan and Fang Yuan. If he provided Fang Yuan assistance, he would gain an appropriate reward in return. Tang Fangming had gained a lot from Fang Yuan's guidance. As a result, he was deeply attracted to it now. Fang Yuan saw Tang Fangming's attitude. He nodded in his heart. This was what he wanted to see. As long as Fang Yuan continued to help Tang clan during the 5 regions' chaotic war, it would grow tremendously and become a huge obstacle that hinders Heavenly Court's advancements. It is fine. I can settle this myself. Fang Yuan nodded. His reply made Tang Fangming very disappointed. His gaze turned downcast. But soon, Fang Yuan took out an information path Mortal Gu and handed it to Tang Fangming. This is this. Tang Fangming had a feeling. He excitedly received this information path Mortal Gu with both hands. Within this Gu worm, there are some shallow insights that I learned in exploring dream realms. I hope it can help you. Fang Yuan smiled. He started to leave, while Tang Fangming sighed in admiration behind him. Giving is the prerequisite of receiving. This saying would not go wrong. Plotting against the world, Fang Yuan could only compete with Heavenly Court if he had such magnanimity. But my tactics still cannot match Heavenly Court after all. After leaving, Fang Yuan looked towards Central Continent's direction as he sighed. Heavenly Court was strong not just in strength, but also foresight and strategy. Having Fate Gu, Heavenly Court possessed an immense advantage. Fang Yuan was currently making use of Spectral Soul Demon Venerable's plans. It was already very effective, but compared to Heavenly Court, he was at a disadvantage. As long as Fate Gu was repaired, Heavenly Court would be unstoppable in the 5 regions' chaotic war. If Duke Long actually succeeds in nurturing Great Dream Immortal Venerable, they would be the victors of this era, the rulers of all 5 regions. This tactic was reliable and consistent. It had almost no flaws. The only weakness was otherworldly demons, because they were not bound by fate. The only complete otherworldly demon was Fang Yuan. Zhao Lianyun was half an otherworldly demon, but she was already a dog of Heavenly Court, going up against Fang Yuan. Therefore, Fang Yuan was the greatest hope against Heavenly Court, but even Fang Yuan himself did not know how he could win. If I act alone, even with Shadow Sect, Langya Sect, Tang Clan, and others, we are not Heavenly Court's match. The only hope is Red Lotus True Inheritance. But now is not the time to get Red Lotus True Inheritance yet. Earlier, Fang Yuan headed to the River of Time. It was because he knew of Shadow Sect's plans. He was confident. But going now would be a blind exploration. He did not know what could happen. Without the help of the Stone Lotus Island, Fang Yuan could likely lose his life to Heavenly Court's ambush. In this situation, Fang Yuan could only play safe and not act rashly. I need to try and raise my strength until I am able to travel the River of Time alone to see if I can obtain Red Lotus True Inheritance. This was Fang Yuan's current plan. To gain strength, Fang Yuan first thought of the blessed lands and city well. But these immortal apertures were hard to enter now. Even though Fang Yuan had methods, the price of using them was too high. It was far easier to retrieve the upper extreme Heavenly Eagle instead. Fang Yuan's upper extreme Heavenly Eagle was in southern border. That was not a problem. Because before this, Fang Yuan had planned ahead and used Connect Luck on the upper extreme Heavenly Eagle. They were connected by luck. Right now, Fang Yuan only needed to use Qi Luck Sensation to locate the upper extreme Heavenly Eagle. He would find it if he spent time on it. But now, I should not rush to southern border. The immortal apertures are inside city well. They cannot run away from me. Fang Yuan's plan was to cultivate in Green Ghost Desert for the time being. Earlier, I saved Fang Yuan and Fang Long. I have already interacted with Fang Clan. As they are a super force, they will definitely investigate and test me. Unfortunately, during this period, I hid my traces and secretly came back to explore Thieving Heavens' dream realm. Most likely, Fang Clan could not find anything. The time is about ripe now. Fang Clan is going to send an envoy to meet me. Fang Yuan was very clear of the actions that righteous path forces took. Because Fang Yuan saved Fang Clan's Gu Immortals, if they did not thank him, they would be ungrateful. This would ruin their reputation in the righteous path. And more personally, if Fang Clan was so ungrateful, if their Gu Immortals get into danger, who would save them? Thus, even if they do not give much of a reward, they needed to put on a show. This was the game of the righteous path. Other than this, there was something else. Fang Yuan's strength was quite threatening. He could control so many soul beasts, and was a wisdom path Gu Immortal trying to develop in Green Ghost Desert. Even Fang Clan did not dare to underestimate him. Fang Clan's territory bordered Green Ghost Desert. Fang Yuan was their neighbor. How could Fang Clan not pay attention to him? How could they not approach him? If the interaction went well and they communicated smoothly, Fang Clan might even spend a lot of effort to recruit Fang Yuan. Of course, all this was built upon the fact that Fang Yuan's true identity was not exposed. If Fang Clan knew that this was Fang Yuan, they would not approach him, and definitely not recruit him. Fang Yuan's plan was to disguise himself and become acquainted with Fang Clan. It would help him in managing Green Ghost Desert, and make this place his soul core farming ground. This had a huge impact on Fang Yuan's soul path cultivation. Several days later, in Green Ghost Desert, the soul beast army rampaged. Fang Yuan was sitting at the center of an ancient soul beast's back, free and relaxed. He was experimenting with all sorts of theft path Gu worms now. For example, rank 5 sneak attack Gu. Fang Yuan wailed as he activated it. Several hundred blue baby phantoms jumped out and surrounded him. These baby phantoms were not only fast, they were very concealed. If he lost track of one, he would not be able to find them anymore. At once, hundreds of blue baby phantoms flew around Fang Yuan, moving rapidly between the soul beasts. They were very agile. Some were playing and jumping around on the soul beasts' backs. They moved without a sound. In this gloomy desert, it was quite a scary scene. Fang Yuan was a theft path great grandmaster. Deducing rank 5 sneak attack Gu was basically instantaneous. Fang Yuan even had the recipe of rank 6 sneak attack Gu now. He did not need the light of wisdom. It was too simple. Other than sneak attack Gu, Fang Yuan also conceptualized many theft path Gu recipes. Fang Yuan was already at the peak of this world in theft path. The feeling was quite amazing. It was not the use of inspiration. He had the ability inside him to begin with. Every time Fang Yuan thought of new theft path Gu recipes, he was excavating this ability and materializing it. After several days, all of the theft path Gu recipes that Fang Yuan thought of were all handed to Langya's sect for refinement. Langya Land's spirit expressed deep interest in this matter. Fang Yuan obtained a huge number of rank 5 theft path Mortal Gu. For Gu Immortals, Mortal Gu were all expendable, even rank 5 ones. Other than getting these theft path Mortal Gu, Fang Yuan also killed soul beasts and raised his soul foundation back to 100 million man soul. Not only that, he even placed these theft path Mortal Gu into the killer moves that he used, making huge progress. Just when Fang Yuan was about to shut his eyes and modify his killer moves further, an Immortal Gu house descended from the clouds, flying towards him. Fang Yuan looked at it. This Immortal Gu house was not big. It was quite small, resembling a log cabin. But this cabin was not simple. It had the mixed aura of rank 7 Immortal Gu. It was a rank 7 Immortal Gu house. It seemed to be made of wood. On the surface, there were countless beautiful flowers of varying colors. This is Fang Clan's Immortal Gu house, Fallen Flower Hall. Fang Yuan smiled lightly. As he had expected, Fang Clan had approached him. Chapter 1513. Immortal Gu reward. As Fallen Flower Hall descended, flower petals rained down in the air. They were of different colors. The fragrance of flowers permeated the air. And most importantly, when these petals fell onto the sand, they vanished like water droplets entering a lake. Next, The sand turned into mud in almost a few breaths of time. Seedlings began to grow, emerging from the soil and forming flower buds, before blooming. When Fallen Flower Hall landed on the desert, it was no longer a green ghost desert. It was a sea of multicolored flowers. Fang Yuan restrained his soul beast army as he watched without moving. The door of Fallen Flower Hall opened, as 3 Gu immortals came out. The first one was Fang Clan's rank 7 Fang Yuan. She had an ordinary appearance. She was a bit fat, but her smile was amiable. She gave off a warm feeling. Fang Yuan had investigated long ago. He knew that this person often handled external affairs in the clan. She had a lot of experience in interacting with forces and experts. Beside Fang Yuan, there were 2 rank 6 Gu immortals. They were familiar faces. The left one was handsome with eyes resembling stars. He was chirpy and lively, called Fang Yuan. The right one was stable and mature, having an air of nonchalance. It was a rising star in Fang clan, Fang Long. I am Fang Yuan, greetings. Fang Yuan, Fang Long. Thanks, senior, for saving our lives. 3 Gu immortals walked out and spoke politely to Fang Yuan as they greeted. Fang Yuan was seated within his soul beast army. He had a solemn attitude and was expressionless. His fierce soul beasts were terrifying. Even though they did not move, killing intent permeated. Over at Fang clan, they were warm like flowers, sincere and extremely polite. These 2 sides were polar opposites. Fang Yuan nodded lightly, saying coldly, I said before, I saved you because I wanted to. I am not after any reward. But I know how you righteous path people think. You indeed understand us. I am representing Fang clan, not only to thank you, but also to initiate cooperation. Fang Yuan smiled. Oh, cooperation? Fang Yuan acted slightly surprised. Fang Yuan took a step back and invited. We have already prepared tea in the hall. Would you like to discuss this with us inside? Immortal Gu houses were strong outside and weak internally. Very few were strong inside, while weak outside. One example was He Tribe's Immortal Gu House Dark Prison. Fallen Flower Hall was obviously the former. Fang Yuan's invitation to Fang Yuan expressed good faith sincerity. But even if this Fallen Flower Hall had any traps in it, with Fang Yuan's current cultivation level, there was nothing to fear. All right. Fang Yuan nodded, opening his Immortal Aperture's entrance as the Soul Beast army was kept inside. He strolled into Fallen Flower Hall with his arms behind his back. Fallen Flower Hall had many decorations. All sorts of things could be seen. There was a huge circular table at the center of the hall. Tea was already prepared. After asking Fang Yuan to take his seat, Fang Yuan sat down. Please evaluate this, our clan's 7-leaf fragrant tea. Fang Yuan smiled as she said. Fang Yuan looked at it and nodded. This tea was like clear water, but when drank, it was hot. And the taste was exactly like warm water. This 7-leaf fragrant tea was the signature tea of Fang clan. It was naturally not so simple. The true essence of the tea was that after drinking it, for some time, their mouth and entire body would emit the fragrance of tea. If they drink 7 cups, they would emit tea fragrance for 7 days and night. The smell would spread 7 li. But if they drink more, there would be no further effect. This was the reason for its name as 7-leaf fragrant tea. Fang Yuan had heard of it in his previous life, but this was the first time he enjoyed it. He only took a sip before asking directly, what does your clan want to do? Please tell me. Fang Yuan heard Fang Yuan's icy tone and thought, this person is exactly as Fang Yuan and Fang Long said. He is aloof and arrogant. He speaks on equal status even against super forces. Fang Yuan was not upset. She had seen many experts. Some were even weirder, some were bloodthirsty. Fang Yuan was quite normal compared to them. She smiled even more deeply as she spoke in a clear tone, describing the contents of the cooperation Fang clan wanted to have. You want me to collect impermanence rocks? Fang Yuan tapped his finger on the table as he thought about this cooperation project. Impermanence rocks were a rank 6 immortal material. It existed in Green Ghost Desert and had quite the quantity. This rock was half black and half white. It only formed in places that constantly had battles. Therefore, impermanence rocks only grew at places where life forms died. Evidently, those were dangerous places. But dangerous places were nothing much for the current Fang Yuan. I have the Soul Beast army. I am displaying peak rank 7 battle strength. Collecting the impermanence rocks is an easy matter. The only problem is that they are scattered and I will need to expend a lot of time collecting them and moving around. Fang Yuan thought in his mind. This project was really a matter of convenience for Fang Yuan. He needed to hunt for soul cores while traveling around. It was normal to see impermanence rocks. In fact, he had a batch of them now. He had gathered them casually while moving about in Green Ghost Desert. What Fang Yuan needed to consider was, why did Fang clan want this cooperation? What was their true motive? Is it like what Fang and Lei had said? Impermanence rocks are rarely seen in Treasure Yellow Heaven. They are hard to buy, so they want me to handle this. Or are they trying to use this to recruit me? or to spread news of Fang clan being grateful to their benefactors. The content was that once Fang Yuan hands over the impermanence rocks, he would gain a rank 6 Immortal Gu as the reward. The reward was huge. Immortal Gu were unique, and Fang clan were giving him one. As long as he collected the impermanence rocks, if anyone heard about it, they would think that Fang clan was trying to repay Fang Yuan's kindness of saving their members' lives. Fang Yuan was somewhat moved. Not only the reward of a rank 6 Immortal Gu, but also because he wanted to cooperate with them. As long as he cooperated with Fang clan and established an agreement, his arrangements in Green Ghost Desert would be recognized by Fang clan. But I feel that Fang clan is plotting something. The matter is not so simple. Fang Yuan was quite suspicious. Fang and Lei looked at Fang Yuan. Seeing that he was deep in consideration, she felt increasingly confident. The clan is putting in a huge investment by giving him an Immortal Gu. He will definitely be enticed. As long as we set an alliance agreement, Swan Bujin will take the place of the clan and explore Green Ghost Desert. He will be harvesting impermanence rock on the surface, but if he finds the inheritance of Qing clan, our trailing Fang clan Gu immortals will also find it. Even if he encounters enemies like Old Ghost by June, Swan Bujin would have to fight against them. If he finds out about Qing clan's inheritance, because of the alliance agreement, he cannot fight with our clan over it. Second Supreme Elder's plan is truly detailed. Thinking of this, Fang and Lei felt an increased sense of admiration towards Fang Dichang. All right, I agree to it. Fang Yuan thought about it and agreed. Even though he had wisdom path attainment, there was too little information. He could not deduce Fang clan's objective. Furthermore, he also wanted to work with them. All right, friend, you are very decisive. You will not regret cooperating with our Fang clan. Fang and Lei laughed loudly. Next, let us discuss the content of our cooperation. But right at this time, Fang and Lei paused. Surprise was expressed on her face. Soon, thunderous sounds could be heard outside. 2. Make sure Fang Yuan could feel assured. The door of Fallen Flower Hall was not closed. This sound was quite clear to him. Fang Yun and Fang Lung also had a change of expressions. Countless soul beasts are attacking from all directions. We are encircled. Fang and Lei said. Old Ghost by June has attacked. He actually subdued multiple immemorial soul beasts. Immemorial soul beasts. Fang Yuan was slightly surprised. He did not know that the rank 8 Immortal Gu was soul beast token yet. Fang and Lei's eyes shined with a dim light. After thinking about it, she told Fang Yuan about this information. Fang Yuan was greatly moved. This soul beast token is a rank 8 enslavement path Immortal Gu. This is great. It is extremely useful for my soul core harvesting plan. Once he thought of this, Fang Yuan felt a strong urge to design a theft path killer move to steal this rank 8 Immortal Gu. He controlled himself as he said to Fang and Lei. Old Ghost by June dared to come here, even though we are in an Immortal Gu house. He is truly confident. Next, it is time for your clan's Immortal Gu house to shine. Fang and Lei was dazed. She wanted to see Fang Yuan fight, but he spoke before her and sealed the possibility. Earlier, friend offended this person to save our juniors. He is here for revenge. We will definitely punish this evildoer. But if the battle goes wrong later, friend, we hope you can help us out. After all, those soul beasts are immemorial level. Fang and Lei said with deep meaning, without losing any politeness in her words. Fang Yuan laughed. Of course. Chapter 15-14 Simultaneous Ambush Roar. While Fang Yuan and Fang and Lei were speaking, an immemorial soul beast with a bull body and leopard tail extended its limbs and sprinted, like a mountain charging over. Almost at the same time, there was a shrill noise in the sky. An immemorial soul beast resembling a black python with 2 wings also descended with a strong burst of air. 2 immemorial soul beasts. Fang Yuan was shaken. This intense attack made his heart waver. He was almost unable to control himself. No, there's 3. Fang and Lei was calm and even smiled. As expected, at the next moment, the ground shook as 3 huge monstrous fingers emerged from the ground, grabbing towards Fallen Flower Hall. This was the 3rd immemorial soul beast. Rise! At the crucial moment, Fang and Lei shouted as the Immortal Gu house flew into the sky like a rainbow. The monstrous hand grabbed thin air, colliding into the bull-body leopard tail immemorial soul beast. But even though it evaded 2 immemorial soul beasts, there was still a winged black python in the air. The black python hissed and pounced at the Fallen Flower Hall. Fang and Lei's eyes shined brightly. She moved the Immortal Gu house Fallen Flower Hall, directly slamming into it instead of dodging. Boom! With a loud bang, both sides suffered injuries. Immortal Gu house Fallen Flower Hall had cracks all over. The flowers growing on the exterior were falling off. Meanwhile, that winged black python immemorial soul beast fell and crashed onto the ground, creating a huge crater upon impact. Fang and Lei had a pale expression. She quickly stabilized Fallen Flower Hall, making it stay still in the air as she used a method to create a shining light around Fallen Flower Hall. The light shined for a few breaths of time. When it faded, Fallen Flower Hall was completely restored. The cracks had vanished. The flowers were reborn. Oh, she can rapidly fix the Immortal Gu house. This method is quite impressive. I wonder how they did it. Did they replace the Gu worms with spares? Or did they refine Gu worms on the spot? Fang Yuan was intrigued, as he deduced with countless thoughts in his mind. Fallen Flower Hall was an Immortal Gu house. It was constructed using countless Gu worms. It was able to repair itself rapidly. Most Immortal Gu houses did not have such an ability. If they rapidly replaced Gu worms, it was Formation Path. If they refined Mortal Gu, it was Refinement Path. Fallen Flower Hall was likely to possess an Immortal Killer move from either of these two paths. Unfortunately, Fang Yuan had too little information now. His deduction was met with an obstacle very quickly. He gave up on it. Old Ghost by Jun's laughter filled the battlefield. So what if you have an Immortal Gu house? Obediently surrender. I might spare your lives. Saying so, the winged black python Immemorial Soul Beast shook its head and flew up again. Immemorial Soul Beasts had rank 8 battle strength. They had strong bodies. The attack earlier did not have much effect. Fang Yuan was not surprised. She expected this. Her collision earlier was just a probe. After all, Immemorial Soul Beasts varied in strength too. Fallen Flower Hall was controlled by her. She dodged in the sky as she fought against the winged black python Immemorial Soul Beast. As for the other two Immemorial Soul Beasts, the bull-body leopard tail and the one-eyed giant with 2 hands, they could only growl on the ground. They could not fly. Old Ghost by Jun made a sharp noise as the two Immemorial Soul Beasts started to walk towards him. A chance. Fang Yuan's eyes flashed with sharp light. She was about to use Fallen Flower Hall to charge at Old Ghost by Jun by getting past the winged black python. These 3 Immemorial Soul Beasts had deep battle strength and stamina. She could not sustain a long fight. The best way was to capture the enemy leader and kill the crucial Old Ghost by Jun who was controlling these beasts. But at this moment, Fang Yuan sneered, "Don't be hasty. I have deduced that this is a trap." Oh, a flash of surprise appeared in Fang Yuan's eyes. But because of the hesitation, she lost her opportunity. The winged black python challenged Fallen Flower Hall again, preventing it from flying away. Meanwhile, the 2 Immemorial Soul Beasts arrived at Old Ghost by Jun's side, putting up a strong defense for him. Old Ghost by Jun had no smugness. His expression was grim. I purposely left an opening for the enemy to attack, to think that Fang Yuan could resist the urge to use this battle opportunity. Forget it. Activating Soul Beast token expends my soul foundation rapidly. I cannot sustain it. I need to settle the battle fast. Thinking of this, Old Ghost by Jun had a ruthless expression as he growled. The 4th Immemorial Soul Beast attacked Fallen Flower Hall. This 4th Immemorial Soul Beast was like a spider with spikes all over. It could also fly, and was the smallest among them, only at the side of a normal tiger. But it was extremely fast. It shot out like an arrow in the sky. Fang Yuan exclaimed. So close. This is Old Ghost by Jun's scheme to lure the enemy. Fang Yuan gave Fang Yuan a look of gratitude, before her expression turned solemn as she faced the enemy with Fallen Flower Hall. The flying spider Immemorial Soul Beast created huge pressure in the Fang clan immortals. The winged black python Immemorial Soul Beast was powerful and heavy, but the flying spider Immemorial Soul Beast was fast as lightning. The two worked together, one slow and one fast, one big and one small, pressuring Fallen Flower Hall and keeping it suppressed. To think that Old Ghost by Jun could really control Immemorial Soul Beasts. How did he do it? Is Immortal Gu Soul Beast token really that impressive? He could actually gain control of 4 Immemorial Soul Beasts in such a short period of time. Fang Yuan and Fang Lung were uncertain. They wanted to retreat. Fang Yuan laughed. I have already deduced that he is at his limits. Using rank 7 cultivation level to control 4 Immemorial Soul Beasts, it is far beyond his abilities. In just a while longer, the situation will turn around. Oh, Fang Yuan's gaze shined. She had another thought. She decided to trust Fang Yuan again. As expected, as the battle progressed, Fallen Flower Hall's pressure fell. The flying spider and winged black python Immemorial Soul Beasts were cooperating much more poorly now. They were interfering with each other now. And on the ground of the desert, Old Ghost by Jun had a pale expression. His body was shaking as his aura weakened greatly. But he stared with wide eyes, forcefully holding on. As time passed, Old Ghost by Jun's condition got worse. I will spare your lives today. The next time we meet, I will tear you to pieces. He threatened as he started to leave with his Soul Beast army. Where are you going? After taking a beating for so long, Fang Yuan was unwilling to let Old Ghost by Jun off. Both sides fled and chased. Fallen Flower Hall attacked, as countless Soul Beasts died. However, the flying spider and winged black python immemorial soul beasts were still trying hard to stall Fallen Flower Hall. Old Ghost by June defended himself tightly. Although his condition was worsening, he did not reveal any fatal flaws. Fang Yuan shouted with great smugness, "Old Ghost by June, where has your arrogance gone?" Old Ghost by June shouted, "If not for the fact that I am still unfamiliar with Soul Beast Token, how could you people survive?" "Wait, something is wrong." Fang Yuan frowned lightly. At this time, the sound of an eagle tore the sky. Even though the four immortals were in the Immortal Gu house, they felt a piercing sound. This figure was like phantom, emerging from dark clouds. It was a female immortal. She wore tight black clothing. Her face was pale and white. Her hands had turned into eagle claws. Her body was emitting black smoke. As she charged, a trail of smoke appeared behind her. Rank 7 Demonic. Path Gu Immortal, Eagle Concubine. Boom. Eagle Concubine slashed as she passed Fallen Flower Hall without slowing down. Fallen Flower Hall was heavily damaged. 3 claw marks appeared on the roof, almost piercing the interior. "So he has help, humph." Seeing Eagle Concubine, Fang and Lei frowned tightly. She spoke to Fang Yuan. "I would like your assistance, friend. I cannot deal with this situation alone." Fang Yuan knew that she still had not gone all out, but he wanted to work with Fang Clan. He could not continue watching on the sidelines. Immediately, he nodded. "I will deal with Old Ghost by June. I hope you can stall this Eagle Claw female immortal." Fang and Lei agreed. "Go ahead. I will do my best." At the next moment, the Immortal Gu house's door opened as Fang Yuan stepped into the battlefield. Immortal Killer Move, Ignited Thought Flying Rock. Fang Yuan had prepared it long ago. He stretched his finger as meteors rained down from the sky. The attack was incredible. An Old Ghost by June squinted his eyes. His aura was extremely weak. He used the 2 immemorial soul beasts as a shield to block Fang Yuan's killer move. Bam bam bam. Ignited Thought flying rocks crashed into the desert, creating a sea of fire for several li of radius, but without any heat. This was a unique thought fire. It spread and burned on Old Ghost by June. Old Ghost by June smiled bitterly. He wanted to dodge, but he could not spare the effort. Oh, seeing this, Fang Yuan's heart jumped. Boom. At the next moment, the ground cracked open. Monsters were growling, resounding in one's ears like rumbling thunder. Next, a huge palace shining in green radiance flew out and crashed towards Fang Yuan fiercely. Rank 8 Immortal Gu House, Divine Bean Palace. Chapter 15:15 Exposing His True Body. Rank 8 Immortal Gu House. Facing Divine Bean Palace's assault, Fang Yuan expressed shock on his face. This is Divine Bean Palace. Seriously? Within Fallen Flower Hall, the 3 Fang Clan immortals were immensely shocked. Generations of Fang Clan descendants had searched for it endlessly, but now, they finally had enough clues that pointed them to it. They were about to search Green Ghost Desert when suddenly, Divine Bean Palace appeared in front of them like this. The Qing clan inheritance that Fang Clan had coveted for generations appeared right in front of them. The 3 immortals' eyes were about to pop out. They could not believe this. How could this happen? Descendant of Spectral Soul die. Within Divine Bean Palace, the immemorial soul beast roared. Its anger reverberated in the palace. Dozens of sturdy pillars were shaking. Its killing intent filled the surroundings. This immemorial soul beast was the master of Old Ghost by June and Eagle Concubine. The body was large and mountain-like. It had a weird appearance, having a tortoise shell, tiger claws, dragon tail, neck like a snake, and a human head. Its hair was messy. Its human face could not be seen clearly, but Fang Yuan could feel deep hatred that was converted into killing intent that burst out endlessly. It controlled Divine Bean Palace, but the palace shined with a green light that suppressed it instead. No matter how it roared, its voice was contained within the palace, unable to leave. Divine Bean Palace crashed towards Fang Yuan, while the rank 7 demonic path female, Immortal Eagle Concubine, also charged at Fang Yuan from behind him. Old Ghost by June screeched as he went all out, calling on the 2 immemorial soul beasts. The flying spider immemorial soul beast shot out like lightning, while the winged black python immemorial soul beast crashed down from above like a mountain. At once, a rank 8 Immortal Gu house, 2 immemorial soul beasts, and 2 rank 7 demonic path Gu immortals attacked Fang Yuan. Fatal danger. Fang Yuan's heart was pounding. His eyes were flickering with uncertainty. His mind was filled with surging thoughts, resembling a tsunami. He did not expect that the moment he left the Immortal Gu house, he would face such a terrifying assault. "Senior, be careful." "Oh no." Fang Clan's 3 immortals screamed. The situation was dire. They were very worried for Fang Yuan. The soul beast attackers had been preparing for a long time. Their real target was Fang Yuan. They attacked all of a sudden. Fang Clan's 3 immortals could not help Fang Yuan in time. At the crucial moment, Fang Yuan could only rely on himself. Of course, Fang Yuan had never thought of relying on others. He had a vigilant nature. He had already prepared myriad self-clones within the sovereign immortal aperture. And not long ago, reverse flow protection seal was modified by him. The activation time was greatly shortened. But even so, it is too late now for me to activate reverse flow protection seal. Fang Yuan was after Green Ghost Desert. He was with the 3 Fang clan immortals now. He could not display reverse flow protection seal so easily. Once he uses it, even if Divine Being Palace crashes into him, he would be intact. If he did not use it, forget about Divine Being Palace. Even the immemorial soul beasts could turn Fang Yuan into pulp. Reverse flow protection seal was a qualitative change in terms of battle strength for him. At the moment of life and death, Fang Yuan's alertness was maximized, but having lived for hundreds of years, he did not panic. Determination and fighting spirits soared within him. Ha ha ha. At the crucial moment, Fang Yuan laughed loudly. Fang clan's immortals heard this and felt Fang Yuan's arrogance and self-confidence. Immortal killer move, single thought, endless clones. Fang Yuan activated the killer move successfully in one try. Swish, swish, swish. Dozens of blue light silhouettes emerged from his body, scattering to the surroundings. This was the method gained from Purple Mountain True Monarch, but the original version created purple light silhouettes. Fang Yuan had changed it. The underlying reason was the countless sneak attack Gu he had added in, causing the silhouettes to turn blue, and also gain some sneakiness in movement. At the same time, the blue light phantoms were still splitting continuously. 1 turned into 4 while 4 turned into 10. They formed into a huge blue silhouette army. Fang Yuan's true body was hidden among the silhouettes. He could not be discovered. Great countermeasure. Fang Yuan praised, while Fang Enlei and Fang Lung stayed silent. Divine Being Palace crashed towards him like a meteor. Crack, crack, crack. Wherever it went, the blue shadows were shattered like bursting bubbles, without any resistance. Eagle Concubine and the Flying Spider Immemorial Soul Beast dodged it quickly, not wanting to face a rank 8 Immortal Gu House's charge. That winged black python Immemorial Soul Beast was the slowest. It was still on the way there. Be it Eagle Concubine or Old Ghost by June, they had lost their attack target because of Fang Yuan's clones. Oh, surprise flashed across Fang Yuan's eyes. He was scheming and did not go far away. He was hiding nearby, but Divine Being Palace did not stop to use any immortal killer moves. It went directly for him. Coincidence. Fang Yuan manipulated the shadows as he flew away while hidden among them. But Divine Being Palace turned around and went for him again. Fang Yuan's eyes shined brightly. He spat out a huge amount of fog, covering the area. Immortal killer move, directional confusion fog. The Gu immortals within the battlefield were enveloped by it. Eagle Concubine screeched as she stopped her movement. Old Ghost by June made his immemorial soul beast get close to him. He was extremely nervous. This fog can interfere with your sense of direction. We were affected by it even though we have the Immortal Gu House's protection. This is really impressive. Fang Lung exclaimed. Divine Being Palace entered the fog, but it still managed to chase down Fang Yuan. The directional confusion fog had no effect. Fang Yuan's move had been modified. Originally, the fog was purple and was not big, although it could confuse even rank 8 Gu immortals. After modification, this move had no effect on rank 8 Gu immortals, but it had an amplified effect on rank 7 and below Gu immortals. Not only did the color change, the range was greatly expanded, but the duration shortened drastically. Because of this ineffectiveness, Divine Being Palace came very close to Fang Yuan. It almost hit him. Originally, due to the attack from underground, it was far from Fang Yuan. Fang Yuan used 2 killer moves, but could not deceive the mysterious soul beast in Divine Being Palace. It moved very quickly and finally caught up to him. Fang Yuan tried to dodge. He was fast as lightning, but could not compare to Divine Being Palace. He could only watch as this Immortal Gu House filled his vision and was about to crash into him. They were about to collide. At this time, Reverse Flow Protection Seal was not ready yet. Fang Yuan's lips curled up. Boom. With a loud sound, an intense collision occurred. But it did not involve Fang Yuan. Divine Being Palace and the immemorial soul beast winged black python crashed. Even though I cannot confuse you, I can confuse others. Eerie light shined in Fang Yuan's eyes. He used this chance to activate Reverse Flow Protection Seal. In a flash, he used single thought endless clones again, while activating Familiar Face, turning into a blue shadow and mixing in among them. Incredible. When the fog faded, Fang Enlei looked at the scene and praised involuntarily. There were many enemies, but Fang Yuan made use of the numbers to resist them. He was truly displaying the might of a wisdom path Gu Immortal. Damn it. Inside Divine Being Palace, the mysterious soul beast roared. Its voice was like a tsunami that shook the entire palace. The winged black python immemorial soul beast was sent flying by Divine Bean Palace. Because it had hit the sharp edge of Divine Bean Palace, its body was also snapped into two. The power of the rank 8 Immortal Gu house, Divine Bean Palace, was evident. Divine Bean Palace was chipped because of this impact. It became much slower, but due to the mysterious soul beast control, it still pursued Fang Yuan's true body. What is going on? I used familiar face, but the enemy can still sense me? Fang Yuan was deeply shocked. Ever since Fang Yuan obtained rank 8 attitude Immortal Gu, and after modifying familiar face, he had relied on it mostly without ever failing. But currently, the enemy ignored it and pursued Fang Yuan's true body. It was a first for him. Even during the tribulation, I deceived heaven's will. What method is the enemy using to find me? Fang Yuan could not understand. No, it is not wisdom path. I have ghost official garment to protect against deductions. If anyone wants to deduce matters about me, they would need to get past ghost official garment. But now, there are no signs of deductions. How in the world is the enemy doing this? Chapter 15:16. Karma Divine Tree. Just as Divine Bean Palace chased after Fang Yuan, far away on a small mound, a young-looking Gu Immortal was sitting with his legs crossed. He wore a green robe. He had the aura of a scholar. He looked young, but his eyes were deep and wise. It was the person sent by Heavenly Court's Wisdom Path Great Expert Fairy Ziwei, the first Supreme Elder of Heavenly Lotus Sect, one of the 10 great ancient sects, Qing. At this moment, his eyes were shut. His aura was almost entirely concealed. He seemed to have fused with heaven and earth. As he continued to use his immortal killer move, green smoke rose from his shoulders and head. The smoke gathered 6 feet above his head, gradually slowing down and circulating within itself, forming into the shape of a tree. This tree had a thick trunk and lush green leaves. There were dozens of fruits hanging on it. But these fruits were very weird. They were in all kinds of shapes, colors, and sizes. Some were like black peaches, some were pink but large like a basin, some had spikes on them, some had transparent skin, the flesh and core could be seen from the outside. A moment later, Chun-Yi stopped using his killer move as the green smoke divine tree faded away. He opened his eyes slowly and thought with certainty. So that's it. He had already understood the entire flow of events. Genesis Lotus Immortal Venerable came after Red Lotus Demon Venerable and was before Thieving Heaven Demon Venerable. He was one of the leaders of Heavenly Court. 300,000 years ago, during the medieval antiquity era, Genesis Lotus was journeying in the West. At that time, he had already become an immortal venerable. He was invincible in the world, but he hid his name and disguised himself as a mortal Gu master, traveling the world. One day, he came to an oasis in the desert and was welcomed warmly by the young and old in the village. He met a child. Upon seeing that he was a Gu master, the child begged him to revive his deceased mother. People cannot be resurrected after they die. Genesis Lotus Immortal Venerable rejected. He was about to console the kid. Forget it if you won't help. The child turned around and left with hatred. Genesis Lotus Immortal Venerable did not mind it. But suddenly, green smoke emerged above his head, almost about to burst out. He was shocked as he thought, I created this rank 9 Immortal Killer move Karma 1 Divine Tree after gaining inspiration from Limitless Demon Venerable's true inheritance. I can use fate as the soil to take root and use luck as the water to nourish the leaves. I can ignore all disturbances and confusion in this world to find the root cause and effect of matters. I rejected the child earlier. It was a small cause. On the surface, it is a small matter. But Karma Divine Tree reacted to it. This shows that the small cause will turn into a great and disastrous effect. Even though Genesis Lotus Immortal Venerable knew this, he did not go to kill the child immediately. Everything in this world is like a seed planted into the soil. It will eventually grow into a huge tree. With myriad life forms, there will be countless trees, creating a dense forest of destiny. Letting the tree grow naturally without interfering, that is the most natural way. It will allow the world to prosper and stay good. If I interfere forcefully, it is the same as humanity disrupting the order of heaven. We would be creating trouble for ourselves. Genesis Lotus Immortal Venerable was the leader of Heavenly Court. He followed the decree of fate. Humans could not be resurrected. This was the rule set by fate. Therefore, even if Genesis Lotus Immortal Venerable could do it, he would not revive dead people. Similarly, his encounter with this child was the arrangement of fate. There was no need to resist it. However, once the tree matures and develops the bad fruit, we will have to pluck it and stop evil from spreading. We immortals are merely the pesticide of this world. Thinking of this, Genesis Lotus Immortal Venerable sighed and left behind his immortal Gu house, Divine Bean Palace. He did not hand Divine Bean Palace to the child. Genesis Lotus Immortal Venerable tossed it into the well in the village. But in later developments, The village was buried by a sandstorm. Divine Being Palace happened to fall into the hand of mortals, and after countless transfers within the mortal world, it ended up in the hands of Qing clan. Qing clan obtained it and recognized this to be Genesis Lotus Immortal Venerable's possession. They were extremely happy and arrogant. This angered Spectral Soul, who had yet to become venerable. He engaged in a huge battle with them and slaughtered the entirety of Qing clan, shocking the world. Qing clan's first supreme elder sent the inheritance of Qing clan into Divine Being Palace at the brink of destruction, concealing it. He also set up a revival method in the hopes of attempting to find a chance of survival. Qing clan was wiped out, but the grudge and hatred in them, the countless Gu immortal fragment souls were drawn and stored into Divine Being Palace. As time passed, green ghost deserts slowly formed. In this environment, the soul fragments could not revive, but they slowly gathered and fused into an unprecedented legendary immemorial soul beast. The soul beast had a human nature and deep wisdom. It wanted to take revenge on Spectral Soul. Thus, it kept its Qing surname and called itself Cho One. Its name was Qing Cho. It was a pity that when Qing Cho was formed, not only had Spectral Soul become venerable, he also disappeared. Qing Cho wanted to take revenge on Spectral Soul Demon Venerable's friends and family, but it was imprisoned within Divine Being Palace. Initially, Qing clan's first supreme elder wanted to find a chance of survival. He made an arrangement within Divine Being Palace, but had not understood the profundities of Divine Being Palace. 300,000 years ago, the owner of Divine Being Palace, Genesis Lotus Immortal Venerable, had made his arrangements to use this to eliminate a bad effect for the world. The cause of this bad effect was the rejection by Genesis Lotus Immortal Venerable, when he was traveling, to a child who wanted to revive his mother. As times changed, the small cause grew larger and larger, eventually nurturing the legendary immemorial soul beast Qing Cho. Qing Cho was born from Divine Being Palace, but it was also imprisoned within it. Qing Cho was unwilling to stay imprisoned. For countless eons, it tried to unravel the profundities of Divine Being Palace and control this rank 8 Immortal Gu house. As time passed, Qing Cho spent all its effort on it and eventually gained some results. It could forcefully manipulate Divine Being Palace for some time and open an entrance for outsiders to enter. Old Ghost by June and Eagle Concubine were unlucky people who had ventured into Divine Being Palace and were suppressed by Qing Cho, turning into its slaves. This Qing Cho is truly lucky. Not only is it a legendary immemorial soul beast, it can cultivate and nurture many wild immortal Gu on its body naturally. Among them is rank 8 Immortal Gu Soul Beast token. It refined this Gu and gave it to Old Ghost by June, wanting to use the Soul Beast army to help suppress Divine Being Palace. It is a pity that the moment Old Ghost by June moved, he met with Fang clan's immortals, as well as Swanbu Jin. Not only did he fail, the matter was exposed. That Fang clan also wants to get Qing clan's inheritance. Qing Cho might have noticed it and set up this ambush. Chun Yi's gaze flickered uncertainly. He thought in his mind. This situation was much more complex than he had imagined. Originally, he wanted to take over Divine Being Palace using his predecessor's inheritance, but now, a superforce and a legendary immemorial soul beast were involved. It is a pity. My Wood Path Killer Move Karma Divine Tree is still at rank 8 level. If it is rank 9, the Divine Tree would create karma fruits. According to my wishes. By then, I will pluck some good fruits and reverse deduce the cause. I will be able to resolve this problematic matter by targeting its root cause easily. Chun Yi sighed before he concealed his figure, vanishing on the spot. He could only watch this situation now and wait for a chance to strike. In the battlefield, one chased while the other ran. How is the enemy finding out my true body? Fang Yuan was filled with questions. He did not know that Divine Being Palace belonged to Genesis Lotus Immortal Venerable, and was placed here due to the Killer Move Karma Divine Tree. It seemed to be a random action, but there was profound reasoning behind it. Legendary immemorial soul beast Qing Cho was birthed in Divine Being Palace. It gained some of Karma Divine Tree's power, turning into obsession that was deep-rooted in Qing Cho's thirst for revenge. Thus, Qing Cho could easily discern anyone who was closely related to Spectral Soul. In essence, this was not a wisdom path method but wood path instead. Forget about ordinary wood path methods, but this was a wood path killer move from Genesis Lotus Immortal Venerable. He had created this incredible move after becoming a venerable. On the other hand, Fang Yuan inherited Spectral Soul True Inheritance. It was a burden here. Spectral Soul Demon Venerable slaughtered the whole of Qing clan in the past. That cause was now becoming a bad effect that had been passed on to Fang Yuan. However, even though Fang Yuan's disguise did not deceive Qing Cho, he managed to hide from Chun Yi, who was outside the battlefield. Fang Yuan did not materialize Reverse Flow Protection Seal. He had modified most of his Wisdom Path methods too. They changed greatly after the addition of Theft Path Mortal Gu, with the protection of Ghost Official Garment, and the fact that Chun Yi was focused on Divine Being Palace. It was normal for Fang Yuan to remain concealed. But the problem now was, Divine Being Palace still chased after Fang Yuan. Isn't this enemy too obsessed? The encirclement was broken by me, but they still want to kill me? Fang Yuan flew rapidly. Earlier, Divine Being Palace had crashed into the winged black python Immemorial Soul Beast. It became much slower. Fang Yuan pulled apart by a huge distance as a result. It had regained its speed now, but it was still far from catching up to Fang Yuan. Even though I have reverse flow protection seal, there is no need to continue fighting this enemy. The enemy is after Fang Clan. I almost died when I came out to fight. This is sincere enough. And now, this is Fang Clan's problem. Fang Yuan's eyes shined brightly. He flew towards Fang Clan's rank 7 Immortal Gu house, Fallen Flower Hall. Within Fallen Flower Hall, Fang Yuan breathed in deeply. She felt great pressure against Divine Being Palace. But her expression was determined. She instructed the two beside her, Fang Yun and Fang Long, assist me in controlling Fallen Flower Hall. We will save Swan Bujin first, before fighting with this Divine Being Palace. The situation was quite amusing. Qing Chou wanted to kill Fang Yuan, but he did not know that. Fang Yuan thought that Qing Chou was after Fang Clan. Fang Clan also thought that Qing Chou was after them. Swan Bujin was already sincere enough in his actions. In all fairness, they had to fight against Divine Being Palace now. Even the Heavenly Court rank 8 Gu Immortal Chun Yi had the same thought. In his perception, this Swan Bujin was quite unlucky. He actually got implicated in this matter. Chapter 15-17, Fallen Flower Hall vs. Divine Being Palace. 1/2. Seeing that Fang Yuan had escaped the ambush and entered Fallen Flower Hall, legendary Immemorial Soul Beast Qing Chou roared furiously. Its eyes were bloodshot. Its killing intent was surging. It wanted to devour its enemies. Its hatred towards Fang Yuan had existed since it was created. It was originally made from Qing Clan's Gu Immortal's soul fragments. It had an immense hatred towards Spectral Soul, overwhelmingly so. Thus, even though it had human-like intelligence, when it met Fang Yuan and could not kill him, the hatred within took over. Within Divine Being Palace, green light flickered, suppressing Qing Chou, but it ignored the light and used Divine Being Palace to charge at Fallen Flower Hall. Master, I can't continue anymore. Old Ghost by June screamed in agony. Kill him, otherwise, you can all die. Qing Chou roared. Old Ghost by June's and Eagle Concubine's expressions changed. They had never seen their master so angry, and so filled with hatred against one person. This overwhelming hatred assaulted them and made them shudder. They subconsciously wanted to escape. But they were enslaved by Qing Chou. They could not resist. They had no choice but to grit their teeth. The former mobilized his immemorial soul beasts, while the latter prepared immortal killer moves against Fallen Flower Hall. Once Fang Yuan entered Fallen Flower Hall, Qing Chou was left with only one target. It naturally attacked them. The enemy came imposingly. Fang Yuan steered Fallen Flower Hall as they escaped. This rank 7 Immortal Gu house was even faster than Fang Yuan, even though it could not match the upper extreme Heavenly Eagle. The winged black python Immemorial Soul Beast was gradually left behind, but the flying spider Immemorial Soul Beast was too fast. It tried to enter from Fallen Flower Hall's roof. At the same time, Eagle Concubine screeched as her eagle claws waved, slashing and creating countless marks on Fallen Flower Hall like a rain was pouring down. Fallen Flower Hall could not dodge it now, but Fang Yuan was not anxious. She was patiently waiting. She said to Fang Yun and Fang Long, manipulate Fallen Flower Hall and fly. I will use a killer move against the enemy. Saying this, Fallen Flower Hall burst out with snow-white light under her manipulation. On the surface of Fallen Flower Hall, the countless blooming flowers wilted and died. The snow-white light faded slowly, turning into a huge flower on the roof of Fallen Flower Hall. This flower was even bigger than the roof. The petals were like mirrors, reflecting the light. With a crisp sound, the flower bloomed entirely. It was a beautiful sight. Immortal Killer Move, Mirror Flower 1. The frenzied claw that attacked was about to land on Fallen Flower Hall, when the mirror flower on the roof burst out with a strong attractive force. Ding ding dong dong. With a chain of crisp sounds, the dark claw marks were absorbed into the mirror flower. After absorbing the claw marks, several petals on the mirror flower shattered, but the remaining dozen petals closed up. At this moment, Divine Being Palace got close. The remaining mirror flower bloomed again, shooting out all of the claw marks. The claw marks landed on Divine Being Palace and created intense metallic sparks. Divine Being Palace's advancement was halted. Using the propulsion force of shooting the claw marks, Fallen Flower Hall increased its speed and got away from Divine Being Palace. Oh no, that immemorial soul beast flying spider is about to get in. At this time, Fang Yuan shouted. Even though Fallen Flower Hall forced Eagle Concubine and Divine Bean Palace back, that flying spider had the advantage of a small body. It was attached to a corner of Fallen Flower Hall and tried to squeeze in. Fallen Flower Hall was an Immortal Gu house after all. As a complete structure, the flying spider could not get in even after so long. It was far from reaching the crucial area. But the situation was very dangerous. Once it broke through the surface, the flying spider could get inside. Immortal Gu houses were made of countless Gu worms. If the immemorial soul beast got in, it would cause great destruction. Gu worms were extremely fragile. The consequences would be severe then. Even though Fallen Flower Hall could self-regenerate, the speed of regeneration could not match the destructive power of an immemorial soul beast. At the crucial moment, Fang Yuan made her move. Immortal killer move, Fleeting Bloom. The mirror flower on the roof had already wilted, but in its spot, another flower grew. The flower was not big, it was quite delicate. Once it appeared, it turned into light shadows as it dissipated with the wind. But this mysterious power was locked onto the flying spider. Its speed drastically fell. This would path Immortal Gu House Fallen Flower Hall is amazing. No wonder it had such an incredible effect during the 5 regions chaotic war in the 500 years of my previous life. The mirror flower earlier was a wood path killer move, but it had the power of rule path, able to reflect attacks. The fleeting flower now is also a wood path killer move, but it has the power of time path. Fang Yuan was watching inside the hall. His gaze was flickering. Fang Yuan first used mirror flower to force back Divine Bean Palace and Eagle Concubine, before using Fleeting Bloom to alleviate the flying spider crisis. Her expression was pale and her eyes were seeing stars now. Using 2 consecutive killer moves expended more than just immortal essence. These 2 killer moves had incredible power, even though they were rank 7. When used by Fallen Flower Hall, they had a trace of rank 8 power, especially against that flying spider which was an immemorial soul beast. But the stronger the move, the greater the cost of using it. Fang Yuan's gaze flickered. He could tell that Fang Yuan had expended her own lifespan. My Fallen Flower Hall is among the top of rank 7 Immortal Gu houses, but against 2 immemorial soul beasts, Divine Bean Palace, and 2 rank 7 Demonic Path Gu Immortals, they are too much to handle. Even after going all out, I could only temporarily defend us. Fang Yuan's heart jumped. She turned to look at Fang Yuan, thinking, this person has incredible methods. His pressure was even greater than mine earlier, but he could think calmly during the moment of crisis and find a way out of that desperate situation. Right now, we need his help, otherwise, I would not last long. Thinking of this, Fang Yuan activated her method and transmitted to Fang Yuan. She was too busy dealing with the enemies. She could not speak to Fang Yuan normally. She had to communicate like this. Fang Yuan received this information and saw that Fang Yuan wanted to formally ally with him to resist this powerful enemy. Fang Yuan talked about the benefits and costs. The 2 parties had to work together sincerely now to delay the enemies until Fang Clan's reinforcements could arrive. Fang Yuan felt that Fang Yuan could not escape, but the truth was, not only could he run, he had reverse flow protection seal to fight the enemies if he wanted to. But now, Fang Yuan chose to stay for the sake of getting closer to Fang Clan and establishing a relationship, so that he could plan for the future. I can escape, but Fang Yuan cannot. Thus, this alliance agreement is quite good for me. I need to thank this powerful enemy who ambushed us. If not for them, Fang Clan would not ally with me so easily, and with such loose conditions too. Originally, Fang Clan had suggested the project of Impermanence Rock. This was still written inside the alliance agreement. Even though they already found Divine Bean Palace, and the Impermanence Rock was just an excuse, Fang Yuan was quite astute. She retained that original project. Other than the rank 6 Immortal Gu, Fang Yuan also promised Fang Yuan quite a lot of immortal materials as compensation. The rank 6 Immortal Gu is not very useful for me, but if I suggest a rank 7 Immortal Gu, it would seem like I am extorting them. Immortal Gu are unique. Fang Yuan also is not necessarily qualified to promise it on behalf of Fang Clan. Forget it. This is a prime opportunity. I do not need to be greedy and ruin it. Fang Yuan thought about his plan and made up his mind. He told Fang Yuan, I will join this alliance. He considered questions rapidly as thoughts surged in his mind. He only took a moment. Fang Yuan was extremely joyful. She was afraid that Fang Yuan would be arrogant and suspicious, but seeing that he decided in an instant, she praised. This was truly a wisdom path expert. He is decisive and knows how to judge the situation well. Fang Clan had prepared the Immortal Gu and method for this alliance when they came. The 2 sides made the alliance agreement rapidly. But now, Fallen Flower Hall was encircled heavily. Boom. Divine Bean Palace came crashing. Fallen Flower Hall's path was blocked and could not dodge in time. It fell towards the ground like a shooting star. Kill! 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 Within Divine Bean Palace, Qing Cho roared. The joy of taking revenge filled its heart. The green light around it had taken solid form and was stabbing into its body, but it completely ignored it. Fallen Flower Hall was inferior to Divine Bean Palace. With this impact, a huge hole formed on its west wall. Qing Cho descended with rage as Divine Bean Palace attacked again. At the same time, that flying spider also penetrated the surface of Fallen Flower Hall. Fang clan was in great danger now. At the crucial moment, Fang and Lei screamed shrilly as she used the strongest method. Immortal killer move, Empty Valley Orchid. The entire Immortal Gu house started shrinking. In the blink of an eye, it became as small as a child's toy. The moment it landed on the desert, the hole created in contrast to Fallen Flower Hall's original size was like a tiny fish compared to the lake. At this moment, on the surface of Fallen Flower Hall, countless flower petals appeared, becoming stalks or orchids as fragrance spread out. Divine Bean Palace came crashing, but even though Fallen Flower Hall was right in front of it, it actually had to travel a huge distance to get to Fallen Flower Hall. This rank 8 Immortal Gu house was affected, along with Eagle Concubine and the winged black python Immemorial Soul Beast as well. Space was greatly expanded and stretched by several times. Fang and Lei had her eyes shut as sweat rolled down her forehead. Her expression was pale. She was trying hard to sustain the move. Amazing. I will deal with the flying spider. Fang Yuan praised, coming out of the hole and flying towards the spider by taking a detour. Under the effect of Empty Valley Orchid, Fang Yuan was temporarily safe. He was in no danger of exposing Reverse Flow Protection Seal. Immortal Gu houses were different from ancient battle formations. Within the Immortal Gu house, Fang Yuan could not use his methods. He was an observer. He could only act after he went outside. Let me see if rank 8 Soul Beast token is stronger than my 180 slaves. Immortal Killer Move, 180 slaves. Fang Yuan's Enslavement Path Killer move was very special. It enslaved higher-ranked beasts. Fang Yuan had a Soul Beast army. He could enslave an immemorial Soul Beast. But this flying spider was under the effect of rank 8 Immortal Gu Soul Beast token. Fang Yuan wanted to enslave the flying spider. He was competing 180 slaves killer move against Soul Beast token. Once he used this move, the flying spider Immemorial Soul Beast shook. Its speed of infiltrating the Immortal Gu house became very slow. Impressive. Fang Yuan was joyful. Fang Lung's spirits also lifted. Fang Yuan was surging with immortal aura. He activated the killer move 180 slaves to its limit, instilling the effect into the flying spider. The flying spider struggled intensely. Its control was contested between Fang Yuan and Old Ghost Bai Jun. It could not help itself. 180 slaves was rank 7. It could not match rank 8 Immortal Gu Soul Beast token. But the power of this move did not come entirely from Gu worms. It also depended on the number of soul beasts. Fang Yuan's immortal aperture had a large number of soul beasts. This increased the power of 180 slaves, allowing it to reach rank 8 and rival Soul Beast token. Both sides were in a stalemate. Fallen Flower Hall had landed in a deep pit in the desert. Above it were Divine Bean Palace, an immemorial Soul Beast, and Eagle Concubine. Far away, there was a Soul Beast army with Old Ghost Bai Jun hidden behind 2 immemorial Soul Beasts. Within Fallen Flower Hall, Fang and Lei had her eyes shut. She was frowning deeply. Her body was shaking intensely, about to fall down. She activated Empty Valley Orchid and resisted a band of rank 8 enemies. She was already going all out. Immortal Gu House Fallen Flower Hall was creaking. It could not last against so many enemies. The battle is really disadvantageous to my side. Fang Yuan's eyes flashed with brilliance. He did not display much of his battle strength. Most of his methods were still in use. If he went all out, this battle would change drastically. However, if he was careless and exposed Reverse Flow Protection Seal, Fang Yuan's identity would be found out. That was detrimental to his plans. I need to disguise my identity while resolving this crisis. What should I do? Suddenly, Fang Yuan had a sensation. He saw the flying spider stop shaking. It accepted the enslavement of 180 slaves. The power of Soul Beast token that was fighting with Fang Yuan earlier had already disappeared. What is going on? Fang Yuan turned to look. Over 10 li away, he could see that Old Ghost Bai Jun was coughing out blood. The reason was, Old Ghost Bai Jun had reached his limits. Even though he was trying desperately to continue, he had no energy to spare. Using rank 7 cultivation level to manipulate 4 immemorial soul beasts, even though he was using rank 8 Immortal Gu Soul Beast token, it was still an incredible display. But now, he could not continue anymore. Rank 8 Immortal Gu Soul Beast token was on par with 180 slaves, but Old Ghost Bai Jun was not. He rapidly lost in the contest. Fang Yuan laughed loudly. After a few dozen breaths of time, he completely subdued the flying spider and obtained an immemorial soul beast. Senior, good job. Fang Yuan and Fang Lung felt a surge of morale. Fang Yuan enslaved the flying spider. It was out of their expectations, but they did not feel any suspicions. After all, Fang Yuan had manipulated a soul beast army earlier. It was understandable that he had a method to enslave immemorial soul beasts. After getting the flying spider, Fang Yuan controlled it to attack Divine Bean Palace. This immemorial soul beast was not Divine Bean Palace's match, but it had an advantage in its small build. Under Fang Yuan's control, it was very useful. However, it was difficult for the flying spider to travel as well. It turned out that Empty Valley Orchid did not differentiate enemy and ally. Its effect also affected Fang Yuan's immemorial soul beast. Is it because this move cannot be controlled freely, or has Fang Enlei reached her limits already, like what happened to Old Ghost Bai Jun? Fang Yuan had a sense of worry. At this moment, he felt something and turned around, seeing two Immortal Gu houses flying towards them. Eagle Concubine shouted in shock, "Master, let's retreat." At the crucial moment, Fang Clan's reinforcements arrived. Kill him. Qing Cho was completely shrouded by rage. It could not think logically. It did not care about the situation or what Eagle Concubine was saying. It only wanted to kill Fang Yuan. Eagle Concubine saw that her master refused to retreat. Her expression was pale, thinking that she was going to die here today. Far away, Heavenly Lotus Sect's first Supreme Elder Chun, he had been observing the situation secretly, but he was also worried now. Oh no. Fang Clan's reinforcements have arrived. They are all high-tier rank 7 Immortal Gu houses, Chicken Dog Coop, and Inquiry Dock. If these two join with Fallen Flower Hall, they would create the battlefield killer move Peach Blossom Maze. If I am trapped inside, I would not be able to escape. I would die. Not to mention Qing Cho, who is trapped inside Divine Bean Palace. It is unable to use the full power of Divine Bean Palace. Thinking of this, Chun Yi sighed. He showed a helpless expression. To think that my first action in this trip is not to deal with Qing Cho, but to help it instead. Saying so, green smoke appeared above his head, forming into the Divine Tree rapidly. Immortal Killer Move, Karma Divine Tree. The fruits on the Karma Divine Tree shook. Divine Bean Palace shone with green light, turning the sky jade green. Within the palace, countless green lights expanded, turning from twigs to spears, stabbing Qing Cho from all directions. Qing Cho roared in anger. Its hoarse voice carried a feeling of sadness, hatred, anger, and bitterness. I feel anger. I feel hatred. I am unwilling to give up. I want him dead. It was in a state of madness, an aura of power burst out within it. Countless auras of Immortal Gu surged from its body, mixing together into an immortal killer move. Boom. This killer move was terrifyingly powerful. It shot out and destroyed several huge pillars of Divine Bean Palace. Next, the strong impact forced the door of Divine Bean Palace open. Qing Cho roared. It finally saw the outside world through this door. It mustered its strength and tried to get up. Its snake neck was outstretched. It opened its mouth and almost extended all the way to its head. It was quite scary. Swoosh. With a soft sound, its purple tongue extended like a sharp blade, stabbing at Fang Yuan with a rapid speed. The surroundings of Fallen Flower Hall were guarded by the killer move Empty Valley Orchid, but this peculiar purple tongue sword was unrestricted. It pierced many layers of space, arriving at Fang Yuan's forehead in an instant. Intense killing intent assaulted him. I'll dodge it. A sinister light flashed in Fang Yuan's eyes. He followed the hole that was created and went inside Fallen Flower Hall. Puff! The purple tongue sword chased him, crashing into Fallen Flower Hall and creating a hole. But it did not slow down at all. It continued to extend until it stabbed into Fang Enlei's chest. Fang Yuan and Fang Lung were shocked. Fang Enlei stared with her eyes wide open. Her body was stiff. She slowly looked down at her chest. Friend, Fang Yuan cried out in dismay. Chapter 1519. Finding trouble after plotting against them, Fang Enlei was hit by the purple tongue sword. She turned stiff as a rock. Her face was started to turn purple as well. That purple tongue sword pierced her body, but it was incredibly agile. It turned around and pierced towards Fang Yuan. But at this point, Fang Yuan and Fang Lung had already reacted. They controlled the Immortal Gu house as profound lights shined, suppressing the purple tongue sword and slowing it down. Vines extended and coiled around Fang Enlei's body. The fragrance of flowers permeated as colorful flowers grew. Flower petals stuck to her flesh as light flowed into Fang Enlei's body through the vines, healing her. Fang Yuan had a grim expression, but coldness was concealed in his eyes. He was thinking rapidly. Fang Clan's reinforcements had arrived. There were 3 Immortal Gu houses now: Fallen Flower Hall, Chicken Dog Coop, and Inquiry Dock. These 3 Immortal Gu houses could form the battlefield killer move Peach Blossom Maze. It was incredibly powerful. In the 500 years of Fang Yuan's previous life, during the 5 Regions Chaotic War, This move was extremely famous and threatening. Shadow Sect's information also emphasized on this point, informing him to be careful. After fighting for some time, Fang Yuan could tell that this divine bean palace was strange. Earlier, Qing opened the palace door and attacked with its full power. Fang Yuan learned about some truths due to that. It seemed to be an immemorial soul beast controlling this rank 8 Immortal Gu house. And it could only fly around. It could not unleash the full power of this rank 8 Immortal Gu house. Immortal Gu houses possessed both offense and defense. A charging attack was the most direct and time-saving method. But Immortal Gu houses had all sorts of abilities, like Fallen Flower Hall's Mirror Flower, Fleeting Bloom, and Empty Valley Orchid. They were all killer moves. Hey Tribe's Dark Prison Immortal Gu house also had a method to enslave and store ancient desolate beasts. Northern Plains Hey Tribe was destroyed. It could not compare to a top super force of Western Desert like Fang Clan. Immortal Gu houses were different in power levels too. If the rank 8 Immortal Gu house could not use its methods and could only move around and charge, it was not the match of Fang Clan's 3 Immortal Gu houses. But if Fang Clan won and suppressed this rank 8 Immortal Gu house, or even obtained it, what could Fang Yuan gain from that? According to their alliance agreement, Fang Yuan would only get a rank 6 Immortal Gu and some immortal materials. And possibly, after Fang Clan obtains the rank 8 Immortal Gu house, all 4 Immortal Gu houses would forcefully make Fang Yuan sign a new alliance agreement. In this current situation, with the Immortal Gu house in front of him, how could Fang Yuan not have any intention to reap profits? But to do that, he needed to balance the strength of both sides. Therefore, Fang Yuan improvised to use the Purple Tongue sword to weaken Fang Clan, getting rid of Fang and Lei. Having set an alliance agreement, how could Fang Clan and Fang Yuan plot against each other like this? But the truth was, the alliance agreement was very lax on this term. They barely covered it. Therefore, Fang Yuan was safe after plotting against Fang and Lei. Did Fang and Lei not know about this loophole? Of course she knew. In fact, this was Fang Clan's ill intention to begin with. Fang and Lei was thinking of making use of Fang Yuan. The collection of the Impermanence Rock was a plan to make use of Fang Yuan. Thus, because she had such plans, if she added that clause into the alliance agreement, she would be harming herself. Therefore, Fang and Lei was intentionally lax on that aspect and did not create much restriction on it. Moreover, the situation was urgent. Even if Fang Yuan found out and raised objections, she could make use of this excuse. Of course Fang Yuan found out. He was so crafty, he had the same plans too, but he pretended to not notice and act dumb. During the intense battle, Fang and Lei did not manage to succeed in her scheme against Fang Yuan. Instead, she became the victim. Such guts. We need to kill this scum. Fang Clan's Gu immortals screamed furiously in the 2 Immortal Gu houses. They had already learned of Fang and Lei's injury. Chicken Dog Coop and Inquiry Doc rushed into the battlefield rapidly like shooting stars. But before they even did anything, Divine Bean Palace shined with dazzling light. Qing tried its best, but could not kill Fang Yuan. It was extremely weakened now. Divine Bean Palace suppressed it forcefully. Divine Bean Palace started to activate on its own. Green lights spread in the battlefield, sending the fainted old ghost by June, the pale eagle concubine, and the remaining soul beasts into the palace and flying into the sky. It retreated. This was out of everyone's expectations. Even Fang Yuan was a little shocked. This was not in line with the enemy's usual actions. Divine Bean Palace flew rapidly. Fang Clan's Gu immortals hesitated for a moment. Chicken Dog Coop stayed behind, while Inquiry Doc flew into the sky, chasing after Divine Bean Palace. This Chicken Dog Coop Immortal Gu house had a strange design. It looked like 2 buildings side by side. The left building was yellow and had a round plaque that had chicken written on it. The right building was red and had the word dog on its plaque. The building's entrance opened as a Fang Clan Gu immortal flew out, entering Fallen Flower Hall and shouting in anxiety, and Lei. But Fang and Lei's face was purple. She was unconscious. Fang Yuan and Fang Long had tired and worried expressions. The latter expressed his guilt. We did not react in time. It was our fault. This Fang Clan Gu immortal stared at them fiercely. Of course it's your fault. Next, his expression changed as he inspected and found that Fang and Lei was about to die. He shouted, and Lei, you need to persevere. He tried using healing methods, but they were ineffective. Right at this time, an orange profound light shot out of Chicken Dog Coop, entering Fang and Lei's forehead. The purple miasma on Fang and Lei's face eased as her life was saved, but she was still unconscious, barely hanging on to life. This killer move is very peculiar. It is a soul path killer move, but has poison path effect. She is poisoned. I can only suppress her injury. I cannot heal it. At this time, an elderly Gu immortal walked in. He had white hair and wore a yellow robe, showing a solemn expression. Greetings, Third Supreme Elder. Fang Yuan and Fang Lung quickly greeted. Fang clan's third supreme elder, Fang Huasheng. Fang Yuan thought about this person's intel. It's you. You were the one who hid inside Fallen Flower Hall and lured the attack here, causing my and Lei to be hit by that attack. You are the culprit behind this. That Fang Clan Gu Immortal who was holding Fang and Lei screamed at Fang Yuan. Fang Yuan looked at him coldly, snorting arrogantly. Who are you? I am Fang Chun. That Gu Immortal spoke. But before he finished, Fang Yuan waved his sleeves. I don't care who you are. If you are unhappy, we can have a fight. Do you want a martial duel or a literature duel? I will accept either. If you want to use Fang Clan's forces to deal with me, Xuanbu Jin, you can go ahead and do that. Saying so, Fang Yuan's eyes shined with cold light. He looked around imposingly. His aura was overpowering. Oh no. Fang Lung and Fang Yun's hearts sank. Fang Yuan refused to back down. He was very overpowering. They were afraid that the two sides might get into a conflict. There was nothing wrong with Fang Yuan hiding inside Fallen Flower Hall in their opinion. After all, making good use of the Immortal Gu house on their side was a normal tactic. Not to mention that he was even a wisdom path Gu Immortal. Fang Yuan had saved their lives. Fang Yuan felt that he was their benefactor. And most importantly, Fang Yuan played a huge role in the earlier combat. If he did not subdue the flying spider immemorial soul beast, Fallen Flower Hall would have broken apart already. As for the luring of the attack, Fang Yuan might not have expected Fang and Lei to get hit. And in truth, even Fang Lung and Fang Yuan did not expect that Fang and Lei could not dodge in time. That was also why they got stunned earlier. Fang Chen, watch your words. Friend Xuanbu Jin is an ally of our Fang clan. We have an alliance agreement, and he even fought hard in the battle earlier. How can you slander him? Fang Huasheng's expression changed. He chided Fang Chen. Next, he turned his gaze to Fang Yuan, saying sincerely, Fang Chen is the husband of Fang and Lei. He is worried about his wife. He did not mean to offend you. Friend, I hope you can forgive him. Fang Chen was the husband of Fang and Lei, but he had the same surname? Fang Yuan instantly understood. This Fang Chen had married into Fang clan. He was a lone immortal that was recruited into their clan. After marrying Fang and Lei, he even changed his own surname. After getting scolded, Fang Chen lowered his head and did not dare to scream at Fang Yuan anymore. He lowered his head to check on Fang and Lei. Even though his methods were useless, he did not stop trying. Fang Yuan's eyes shined brightly, he thought. Fang Yuan and Fang Lung are worried. Fang Huasheng is an old sly fox. Fang Chen is not simple either. As an in-law of Fang clan, he is likely not overcome by emotions. He just had to play his part and act like that because his wife was heavily injured. But it is a pity, I do not fear them. Fang Yuan was fearless because of that alliance agreement. Fang and Lei had made that alliance agreement on behalf of Fang clan. She had interacted the most with Fang Yuan. If Fang clan went back on their words, Fang and Lei would face the backlash of the information path down marks. In her current condition, how could she take that? Any bit of backlash would kill her on the spot. This was what Fang Yuan wanted to see. Of course, there were methods to break alliance agreements. But those methods carried risks. They were not completely safe. And even if Fang clan had such methods, in Fang and Lei's current condition, they would be apprehensive to use them. It could be said that the fainted Fang and Lei was Fang Yuan's greatest protection. Fang Yuan was fearless, he sneered. Friend Fang Huasheng, your Fang clan needs to give me a good answer. Otherwise, I will not let this go. Fang Yuan and Fang Lung looked at each other. What was Senior Xuanbu Jin doing by questioning Fang clan now? Even Fang Chen, who was lowering his head, turned to look at Fang Yuan. His gaze had the meaning of how could this person be so overbearing? Even though I did not provoke you further, you are actually going overboard to find trouble with us. Fang Huasheng also had an appropriate display of confusion and coldness on his face. What do you mean, friend? Does my Fang clan owe you anything? Fang Yuan snorted coldly. He looked at Fang Huasheng without fear. His gaze was cold and his attitude was unyielding. Under everyone's gazes, he spoke. I, Xuanbu Jin, am a wisdom path Gu Immortal. Would I really be so easily deceived? Why did your Fang clan's Gu Immortals fall into Old Ghost by Jun's hands? In this battle, Fang clan's reinforcements came at such a timing. You could casually bring out 2 rank 7 Immortal Gu houses and multiple Gu Immortals. Since when did Fang clan have so many Gu Immortals to mobilize at will? Fallen Flower Hall turned silent. Fang Yuan had all sorts of wisdom path methods. Earlier, he did not have enough information, but now, he could deduce many things from just the fragmented information he had gathered. Fang Chen's expression changed. His gaze turned dark. Fang Yuan and Fang Lung looked at each other with awkward expressions. Fang Huasheng laughed loudly, worthy of a sly old fox. He laughed heartily. Friend Xuanbu Jin, you are absolutely right. I am not going to beat about the bush, I'll tell you. This is Fang clan's tactic. For generations, we have plotted to obtain this rank 8 Immortal Gu house. We must have it. Friend, if you lend us a hand, we will express our deepest gratitude. See this. Saying so, he took out an information path Immortal Gu and handed it to Fang Yuan. Fang Yuan took a look. It was another alliance agreement. The rules were, as long as Fang Yuan helped Fang Clan to take the rank 8 Immortal Gu House Divine Bean Palace, Fang Clan would compensate him with a rank 7 Immortal Gu. He would be allowed to choose one from their treasury. There would also be a lot of rank 6 and 7 immortal materials given to him. Of course, confidentiality was the most important point. The information path Gu Worm emphasized this. Even if Fang Yuan did not undergo the agreement and gave up, Fang Clan would not stop him. But he would have to go somewhere and cultivate in seclusion for some time, and follow another confidentiality agreement as well. Oh, Divine Bean Palace. Is that the Immortal Gu House created by Genesis Lotus Immortal Venerable? Information about this Immortal Gu House is very rare. Even within Shadow Sect's true inheritance, there is little said about it. Fang Clan has been plotting for so long. They are actually after Divine Bean Palace. Rank 8 Immortal Gu House Divine Bean Palace created by Genesis Lotus Immortal Venerable. Fang Clan has put in so much time, resources, and manpower. Of course they need the confidentiality. Fang Yuan pondered. The confidentiality agreement was not too much to ask. Even Fang Yuan would do so. Fang Clan was already very polite. Of course, the reason was that Fang Yuan had great strength and was a rare wisdom path Gu Immortal. Fang Clan wanted to recruit him. At the same time, because Divine Bean Palace was involved, Fang Clan had to be very careful. During this period, any of their decisions had to be carefully thought out. They did not want to provoke Fang Yuan. If this person had any special methods and ruined Fang Clan's plans, what would they do? Right now, Fang Yuan's problem was not about keeping confidentiality, but what could he gain from this entire event? The biggest gain was the Immortal Gu House Divine Bean Palace, of course. Fang Yuan could fight rank 8. Thus, even if he was inside Fallen Flower Hall and was surrounded by Fang Clan Gu Immortals, it was easy to fight his way out. But to ruin his relationship with Fang Clan for the Divine Bean Palace that had yet to be obtained, it was too big of a loss. Let alone whether Fang Yuan could defeat the amply prepared Fang Clan. Even regarding Divine Bean Palace itself, it was hard for Fang Yuan to suppress it. And Fang Yuan also needed a vast number of soul cores in Green Ghost Desert to cultivate. After thinking about it thoroughly, Fang Yuan decided to play around with them for now. It was too early to go against them. And alliance agreements were not unresolvable. Even if he could not resolve them, Fang Yuan had methods to restrict, delay, and use Immortal Killer move self-cleansing later. Even if it did not work, Fang Yuan could go to Northern Plains and borrow Immortal Gu No and care to create Immortal Killer move, do not care. Thus, Fang Yuan spoke. If your clan obtains the rank 8 Immortal Gu House Divine Bean Palace, your strength will rise to the top of Western Desert. Your conquest is in sight, but you are only offering peanuts to me. Isn't it too little? Saying so, Fang Yuan paused and destroyed the information path Immortal Gu. He placed his arms behind his back as he said, actually, I can be bought over, but this amount is simply too little. Fang Huasheng saw Fang Yuan's look of arrogance as he thought. The intel is right. This person is truly full of himself. He smiled and said to Fang Yuan, oh, friend, this means you want to participate in this and help our Fang clan? This is naturally better. After all, Divine Bean Palace originates from Genesis Lotus Immortal Venerable. It is legendary. How can I not participate in such an event? Moreover, if I do not join, would your Fang clan feel assured with me? Fang Yuan's gaze flickered. Fang Huasheng praised. Ha ha ha. You are very understanding. We are not misers. We can negotiate over what conditions you have. However, the compensation must match the amount of contribution. I am sure you agree with that? Fang Yuan smiled. Of course, let's settle the scores first. Firstly, even if I do nothing and watch, keeping confidential is already a form of contribution to Fang clan. You need to compensate me for that. Secondly, I saved Fang Yun and Fang Long. Even though I did that on a whim, I undoubtedly helped you in this plan to get Divine Bean Palace. Earlier, I did not want any rewards, but now, I do. Furthermore, I was attacked and helped to defend Fallen Flower Hall. Fighting against such strong enemies in a dangerous fight. I need compensation for that too. And finally, even after my efforts, a member of your Fang clan accused me and slandered my goodwill. My mood has been ruined. I also need to be compensated for that. Fang Yun and Fang Lung heard Fang Yuan's chain of words as they went into a daze. Why did he involve me? Fang Chun was stunned. And bad mood also needs to be compensated? Fang Huasheng's old face was twitching. He noticed that negotiating with this wisdom path Gu Immortal would be a troublesome affair. Fang Yuan listed endless demands, while Fang Huasheng tried to lower them. But how could he be Fang Yuan's match? Fang Yuan purposely made all of his claims complex and unreasonable. After Fang Huasheng negotiated with him and changed a term, Fang Yuan would go back to a previous term and edit that in retrospect. Using this method, Fang Huasheng was soon confused by Fang Yuan's constant changes. He could not continue in this negotiation. But Fang Yuan did not let him go. He continued to advance in his claims. Eventually, their negotiations ended up exceeding Fang Huasheng's bottom line. I cannot accept this condition. Friend Swan Bujin, you can consider it. I will be inside the Immortal Gu house chicken dog coop. After you think about it, you can find me for the alliance agreement. He left with a dark expression, waving his sleeves and leaving. After leaving Fallen Flower Hall, Fang Huasheng entered Chicken Dog Co-op. The negotiation failed. Fang Chun took a peek at Fang Yuan. In his eyes, gratification could be discerned. Fang Yun and Fang Lung had complex emotions. Fang Yuan was their savior, but their clan's benefits were involved. They decided to stay silent and did not speak. Fang Yuan smiled lightly. Fang Huasheng said that he could not accept it, but that did not mean Fang clan could not accept it. This matter was too important. Fang Huasheng left because he could not outmatch Fang Yuan in words. He purposely left. It was a tactic. Fang clan is after Divine Bean Palace. Regardless of success or failure, I need to set an alliance agreement that benefits me. Firstly, it would show my sincerity. Secondly, if I fail to get Divine Bean Palace, this would be my backup compensation. Fang clan sent their third Supreme Elder. It gave him some leeway. The current Fang clan was governed by the first Supreme Elder, while the second Supreme Elder was the strategist. These were the two people in power. Fang Yuan had to set the agreement with them. Fang clan's first Supreme Elder has rank 8 cultivation level, while second Supreme Elder Fang Dichong is a Wisdom Path Great Grandmaster, but has rank 7 cultivation level. He will likely be coming. As expected, a moment later, an Immortal Gu house appeared. It was Inquiry Dock. While the Immortal Gu house was still in the sky, Fang Huasheng came out of Chicken Dog Coop and flew over. Soon, Fang Huasheng entered Inquiry Dock. Second Supreme Elder, how did it go? Fang Dichong said, Divine Bean Palace got faster and faster. We could not catch up, but we have already used a tracking method. It cannot run from us. Now, we need to repair Fallen Flower Hall and combine all 3 houses to create the Battlefield Killer, move Peach Blossom Maze, and trap Divine Bean Palace to ensure our victory. Fang Huasheng reported. That Swan Bujin is a tough person to handle. He has gone overboard. Our negotiation failed. Not yet. Fang Dichong smiled, bright light flashing in his eyes. Fang Huasheng smiled bitterly. He has a glib tongue. His words are filled with traps. I am not his match. But he has been staying inside Fallen Flower Hall. That place is isolated from the outside world. He is purposely dispelling the suspicion that would come of leaving. Even though his conditions are absurd, he wants to make the alliance agreement with us. It shows his sincerity. Fang Dichong pondered. This might not be sincerity. He might be fearless. Fang Enlei was injured. He is quite suspicious. But for our clan's plan, we can tolerate him for now. After all, a little impatience will spoil great plans. After the negotiation failed, this person remained in Fallen Flower Hall. He is likely waiting for me to negotiate with him. Fine, I will meet him. Inquiry Dock landed as Fang Dichong came outside, going to meet with Fang Yuan inside Fallen Flower Hall. This was the first time they met. Fang Dichong observed Fang Yuan, mentally nodding as he evaluated. Arrogant and prideful, he must have his superior aspect. Just the act of escaping from the attack of Divine Bean Palace shows his strength. Moreover, he cultivates Wisdom Path. He is not to be underestimated. Fang Yuan assessed Fang Dichong. Seeing that he had a plain face and ordinary appearance, he was internally shocked. This person is Fang Dichong? His immortal aura is utterly concealed. Even I cannot sense anything from him. He is deeply hidden, as worthy of a Wisdom Path Great Grandmaster. Chapter 1521. Peach Blossom Maze. Fang clan had a long history. As a super force in Western Desert, Fang clan was famous in the world for the Gu house business. It had its own unique Wisdom Path inheritance. Because both Mortal and Immortal Gu houses were essentially immortal killer moves, they were made from countless Gu worms, being comprehensive in both offense and defense. Fang clan researched Gu houses and designed new Gu houses. They were deducing new immortal killer moves. They could not do that without deep Wisdom Path attainment. One could say that Fang clan's Wisdom Path inheritance was incredible. After generations of research, even Fang Yuan, who obtained Spectral Soul's true inheritance, could learn much from it. Of course, even though the Wisdom Path inheritance was superb, the inheritor needed to be of a certain caliber. In the current generation, not only was Fang Dichong compatible with it, he even made Fang clan's Wisdom Path inheritance prosper, becoming a great Grandmaster. He did not use any dream realms to become great Grandmaster after all. He had reached it through hard work and research, step by step. Fang clan had Wisdom Path inheritors through each generation. But for the last 1,000 years, Fang Dichang was the only great grandmaster that emerged. To reach this attainment level, immense talent was needed. Resources alone could not produce such a genius. Fang Dichang and Fang Yuan negotiated. The two fought with words. It was like two sword experts fighting in an enclosed space. Fang Yuan was suppressed gradually. It was a troublesome opponent. As expected of a wisdom path great grandmaster, impressive. Fang Yuan could make Fang Huasheng completely helpless in a contest of words, but Fang Dichang resolved them without any problem. Nothing that Fang Yuan said had any effect. Fang Dichang had a clear head and memory. His logic was smooth and reasonable. Fang Yuan could not confuse him. When people spoke, it was like a game of chess, thinking 3 moves ahead. Some things did not need to be said, while some were crucial to the conversation to prevent twisting of one's words. When Wisdom Path Gu Immortals talked, they were not 3 steps ahead. They were hundreds or even 1,000 steps ahead. Fang Yuan negotiated with Fang Dichang, not just regarding his own benefits. They even did analysis of the situation, discussing the matters of Divine Bean Palace, Fang Clan's current state, and even the entire trend of Western Desert. It was simply a debate. These things could not be understood by the human brain. They needed to use wisdom path methods and create countless thoughts to deduce while debating. Fang Yuan and Fang Lung were completely dazed while listening to them. Thinking that these two were monsters with incredible cognition speed, they could speak without any thinking time. Their words were sharp like swords. Listening to them made one feel extremely stupid. My wisdom path Dao marks are insufficient. Even though I have Immortal Gu, they were obtained recently. And they are not a complete set either. Compared to the other party, my foundation is too weak. In the future, if I fight against Fang Clan, I need to find a way and kill this person first. In terms of wisdom path methods, Fang Dichang surpassed Fang Yuan. But Fang Yuan had rank 8 battle strength, far superior to Fang Dichang. Fang Dichang thought, this person's wisdom path cultivation is truly amazing. If he could be recruited into Fang Clan, it would be their blessing. He felt an urge to recruit this talented individual. If he knew Fang Yuan's true identity and the fact that Fang Yuan was planning to kill him, how would he feel? Ha ha. While debating, Fang Yuan suddenly laughed. Fang Clan's Gu Immortals were confused. Why was he laughing for no reason? Fang Yuan bowed to Fang Dichang. I have heard of Senior's name long ago. It seems you truly live up to your reputation. I have learned a lot. Fang Yuan's sudden change of attitude made everyone feel surprised. They could not understand why Fang Yuan took the initiative to lower his requests. Earlier, I was merely finding trouble with your clan. Now that you have greater skills, how could I continue acting like so? Fang Yuan had a cold expression. Even when he apologized, he had an arrogant look. Oh, I understand now. This person is prideful. I have finally gained his admiration. Earlier, he was just trying to retaliate. But now that he saw my strength, he has been impressed. Fang Dichang's gaze flickered. He felt a deep emotion. With this personality and ability, he is not blindly arrogant. There is great benefit in getting him to join Fang Clan. But now, Divine Bean Palace is most important. His matter can wait first. Since Fang Yuan took a step back, both sides did not need to argue further. They quickly set a new agreement. This alliance agreement was very strict. There were no loopholes in it. Even Fang Yuan frowned secretly. All of the conditions were clearly listed. Even the use of self-cleansing could violate it. It would not be easy to get free from this restriction. He would need to prepare in advance and expend a lot of manpower and resources. Of course, Fang Clan was equally bound by this agreement. Since the alliance agreement was made, both sides became closer. Fang Yuan, Fang Lung, and the rest looked at Fang Yuan in a warmer light. The matter of obtaining Divine Bean Palace is of paramount importance. Getting friend Xuanbu Jin's help is our blessing. I hope you will come to Inquiry Dock with me. We need your help. Fang Dichang invited. Fang Yuan rolled his eyes in his mind. This Fang Dichang was not trusting of him after the alliance agreement. He wanted to keep Fang Yuan by his side. A wisdom path great grandmaster is truly a troublesome person. But Fang Yuan's confidence was in his battle strength. He was not afraid of Fang Clan. In fact, he wanted Fang Clan to attack him. That way he could execute the clause in the alliance agreement. If any side plots against the other party would be able to retaliate without breaking the alliance agreement. After settling Fang Yuan's matter, Fang Dichang went on to repair Immortal Gu House Fallen Flower Hall, while getting more reinforcements. Half a day later, Fang Clan's Gu Immortals worked together and repaired Fallen Flower Hall completely. If the Immortal Gu House was damaged, repairing would be hard. Fang Clan had such efficiency. They were truly the #1 superforce in expertise of Gu houses within Western Desert, and perhaps even the world. Not long after, Fang Clan's reinforcements came, 2 rank 7 and 1 rank 6. After stabilizing Fang and Lei's injuries, she was sent back to Fang Clan's headquarters by Fang Chun in an unconscious state. One of the two rank 7 reinforcements replaced Fang and Lei to control Fallen Flower Hall. This way, Fang clan had more than 10 Gu Immortals in Green Ghost Desert, with half of them being rank 7. Among them, there was Fang clan's second Supreme Elder Fang Dichang and third Supreme Elder Fang Huashang. They were both strong experts famous in Western Desert. There were also rank 6 elites like Fang Yuan and Fang Lung. This was a huge lineup. One could say that Fang clan had mobilized most of their Gu Immortals in this expedition. They were truly adamant on getting Divine Bean Palace. After all, super forces had a lot of territory. They needed Gu Immortals to guard their resource points. Like Wu clan, even as the #1 southern border super force, it could not easily relocate Gu Immortals. Wu Yong was kept busy because of this matter. Fang clan brought out so many Gu Immortals now. They must have been planning this for so long. They should already be guarding their territories by appearing to make their forces deployed elsewhere, or making secret alliances. This was very risky for Fang clan. If anything went wrong and they fell for the other super forces' schemes, Fang clan would be severely weakened. They would suffer huge losses. They might even face extermination. But for the sake of getting rank 8 Immortal Gu House Divine Bean Palace, this risk is worth it. Fang Yuan nodded in his mind. He approved of this action. After resting for a while, Fang clan's Gu Immortals moved out. The 3 Immortal Gu houses flew together. Within Inquiry Dock, Fang Yuan was standing beside Fang Dichang. Unexpectedly, Fang Dichang actually let him participate in controlling Inquiry Dock. The control of the Immortal Gu house was led by Fang Dichang and several other Fang clan Gu Immortals. Letting an outsider like Fang Yuan take part in it was the same as exposing Inquiry Dock secrets to him. If Fang Yuan could learn the profundities of Inquiry Dock now, it would be much easier to deal with it in the future. Sensing Fang Yuan's expression, Fang Dichang smiled. Friend, you wonder why I trust you so much? Actually, it is not a problem for us even if you learn about Inquiry Dock's profundities. Firstly, we have an alliance agreement, and secondly, some things are easier said in theory, and thirdly, the design of our Inquiry Dock does not stay stagnant over time. The truth is, our Immortal Gu houses develop as our clan progresses. They continuously get stronger. Fang Yuan was moved. I have learned about Fang clan's style of doing things today. Fang Dichang laughed loudly. Come to speak of it, I am not sure about your situation. Have you been cultivating in Green Ghost Desert all this time? Fang Yuan did not panic when he was asked. He had prepared for this long ago. He answered appropriately, and even Fang Dichang could not sense anything weird. The two continued to talk while the other Gu Immortals in Inquiry Dock focused on controlling the Immortal Gu house. It seems that this Fang Dichang wants to recruit me. Fang Yuan could sense it from the other party's tone and expression, feeling a little amused internally. But he did not expose this. He pacified Fang Dichang as much as he could. We have arrived, this is it. After another while of flying, Fang Dichang suddenly fixed his gaze as he ordered the 3 Immortal Gu houses to stop. This was still in Green Ghost Desert, but below the 3 Immortal Gu houses, there was an ordinary desert with no outstanding features. Fang Dichang squinted his eyes. This Divine Bean Palace is indeed deeply concealed. Set up the formation now. Immortal Battlefield Killer Move, Peach Blossom Maze. At once, the surrounding 1,000 li turned into a peach forest. The trees were extremely tall and the branches were extremely dense. There were no leaves or flowers, not to mention fruits. They were completely bare. Amazing. Fang Yuan's heart couldn't help but shake. This Immortal Battlefield Killer Move could trap even rank 8 Gu Immortals. It was very impressive. After all, this could only be created by combining the effects of 3 rank 7 Immortal Gu houses. Oh, they are here. Deep underground. Chen Yi's heart also jumped. At this moment, he had actually infiltrated Divine Bean Palace. Central Continent's Heavenly Lotus sect was created by Genesis Lotus Immortal Venerable. During his era, this sect was the #1 sect in Central Continent without doubt. But now, it was reduced to mid-tier among the 10 great ancient sections. Times changed, be it organizations or people. They would not remain constant. There were no force that stayed strong forever, nor would they stay weak constantly. As the first Supreme Elder of Heavenly Lotus Sect, Chun Yi had Genesis Lotus True Inheritance. He had the ability to greatly interfere with Divine Bean Palace and influence it. Fairy Ziwei was adept at deploying people efficiently. She did not send anyone else to help Chun Yi. He could single-handedly take over Divine Bean Palace and eliminate the legendary immemorial soul beast Qing Zhou. It was highly likely that he could succeed. But something happened along the way. Because of Spectral Soul Demon Venerable, this Qing Zhou was formed in Divine Bean Palace. It has some of the powers of Karma Divine Tree. Thus, it can sense anyone closely related to Spectral Soul Demon Venerable. If I can capture it, I will be able to research and increase my own understanding of Karma Divine Tree. I can even use it to find the remaining Shadow Sect members. Chun-Yi was moved. It was not hard to take over Divine Being Palace and kill Qing Cho. It was originally quite troublesome, but now that Qing Cho was weakened, it was completely suppressed by Divine Being Palace. Chun-Yi was a rank 8 Gu Immortal, the first Supreme Elder of Heavenly Lotus Sect. He had incredible strength. Using Divine Being Palace, he could easily get rid of Qing Cho. However, Chun-Yi had deeper considerations. He was the first Supreme Elder of Heavenly Lotus Sect. He had the highest status there. Once this matter was settled, he would go to Heavenly Court. By then, he would no longer be the first Supreme Elder of Heavenly Lotus Sect. His status would fall greatly. Heavenly Court was the strongest organization in the world. After Chun-Yi joins, he would be a newcomer. He would have the lowest status. Chun-Yi had been the first Supreme Elder for so long. He had been used to the benefits of authority at the top. He would not feel comfortable with this fallen status. He would want to change this and elevate his status if possible. And to raise one's status in Heavenly Court, it could be hard or easy depending on the situation. The method was always the same. One had to make contributions. If I can control Qing Cho, it would help in hunting down Shadow Sect. I would be very important in Heavenly Court. I would be able to make contributions and raise my status and strength rapidly. I would no longer be in this awkward spot of being a newcomer. Ancestor Genesis Lotus had Karma Divine Tree, but this move was with path after all. He might not have predicted today's situation. If he knew about the situation now, he would surely understand and acknowledge why I am doing this. Chun-Yi made up his mind. After infiltrating Divine Being Palace, he cooperated with it in suppressing Qing Cho while trying to subdue this legendary immemorial soul beast. But just as he was still in the process of doing so, Fang Clan's Gu Immortals arrived and set up the Immortal Battlefield Killer move Peach Blossom Maze. Once it was set up, Chun-Yi immediately sensed it. They came after all. Chun-Yi had a calm expression. He was not flustered. He had already expected Fang Clan's arrival. Go! Chun-Yi stood within the palace, facing Qing Cho. He waved his sleeves and ordered Old Ghost by June and Eagle Concubine. In such a short time, he had already subdued them. Old Ghost by June and Eagle Concubine wanted to resist, but after knowing Chun-Yi's cultivation level and identity, along with Chun-Yi's control over Divine Being Palace that suppressed their master, these two immediately defected and became Chun-Yi's lackeys. How? The entrance of Divine Being Palace opened. A large number of soul beasts charged out. Over at the other end, at Fang Clan's side, as a Wisdom Path Great Grandmaster and the second Supreme Elder, Fang Dichong was the leader of this expedition without doubt. He ordered as several Gu Immortals flew out of the 3 Immortal Gu houses, converging towards the Divine Being Palace at the center. This Peach Blossom Maze is truly profound. In reality, this Divine Being Palace should be hidden deep down below the desert, but after the Peach Blossom Maze was set up, it became exposed here in entirety. Fang Yuan was still inside Inquiry Dock. His eyes were shining as he praised Peach Blossom Maze in his mind. Immortal Battlefield Killer moves could create an environment that benefited the user. The Peach Blossom Maze Killer move was extremely amazing. It directly changed the terrain of the desert, forcing the hidden Divine Being Palace to be exposed. Fang Yuan could not understand the mechanics behind this. He could only make some guesses. Fang Clan's 3 Immortal Gu houses were concealed now. They were the cores that sustained the Battlefield Killer move Peach Blossom Maze. The Gu Immortals inside them were constantly expending immortal essence. This huge battlefield was filled with peach trees. At the center of this peach tree forest, there was a majestic Immortal Gu house, Divine Being Palace. At this moment, Divine Being Palace's entrance opened. A larger number of soul beasts emerged. Countless desolate level and ancient desolate level soul beasts, along with 3 immemorial soul beasts. These 3 immemorial soul beasts were naturally the ones that Fang and Lei and Fang Yuan had fought before, the winged black python, bull-body leopard tail, and single-eyed giant. Meanwhile, Fang Clan had 6 Gu Immortals, 2 rank 6, for rank 7. Fang Long, Fang Yun, and Fang Chun were included, while 3rd Supreme Elder Fang Huashang was the person in charge. When the soul beasts came out of Divine Being Palace, they did not charge at Fang Clan. Instead, they surrounded Divine Being Palace and stood quietly in a circular formation, encircling it. Boom, boom, boom. When both sides fought, Fang Clan's Gu Immortals were deeply shocked. The attacks that they unleashed on the Soul Beast army had great power, but when the commotion ended, these Soul Beasts suffered little injuries, and their injuries were even healing rapidly. What is happening? These Soul Beasts seem to be in a peculiar formation. Their locations are specially arranged. While feeling suspicion, Chun-Yi suddenly shouted in Divine Being Palace. The entire place shined in green light, while also emerging from the deepest part of these soul beasts. Crack, crack. With a series of crisp sounds, these green lights formed into wooden armor that attached to these soul beasts, shielding them from head to toe. Fang Yuan did not understand. But within Inquiry Doc, Fang Dichang's expression changed as he exclaimed, "This is Divine Bean Palace's immortal killer move. Green armor, vegetable garden." Green armor, vegetable garden? Fang Yuan asked. Fang Dichang looked at him and smiled bitterly. This is all the information Fang Clan has. We merely know the name and appearance. We do not know its exact effect. Fang Yuan showed deep interest in his eyes. He looked at the battlefield. This move has to do with Genesis Lotus Immortal Venerable. It must not be simple. Let's probe it first. Fang Dichang nodded. Indeed. Fang Clan continued to send out immortal killer moves that landed on the Soul Beast army. The scene was like a field of colorful fireworks. Light shined on the Fang Clan Gu immortals' faces, but they had ugly expressions. Even though there are some Soul Beasts killed, there is little effect overall. Their green armor can actually be linked together and split the damage evenly. That is amazing. The 6 Gu immortals from Fang Clan could not make an impact. At this time, a purple-clothed female immortal flew out of Immortal Gu House Chicken Dog Co-op. "Let me try," she shouted as she used the immortal killer move that she had already prepared. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. At once, poisonous clouds appeared in the sky. The huge poisonous clouds casted their shadows downwards and shrouded Divine Bean Palace, as well as the soul beasts. Within the clouds, countless sparrows flew out like arrows, moving rapidly and agilely. They were formed from the immortal killer move. Tens of millions of sparrows flew into the soul beast army. It was a chaotic mess. But soon, Fang Clan's Gu immortals developed grim expressions. The killer move had quite a grand entrance, but its effect was low. Even Fang Ji's poisonous cloud arrow sparrow is useless. Poison Path does not have an effect. It seems this green armor vegetable garden has no weaknesses. Within Inquiry Doc, Fang Dichang frowned tightly. He turned his head towards Fang Yuan. "I wonder if Friend Swan Bujin has any ideas?" Fang Yuan shook his head. "I cannot find any weaknesses either. But in my humble opinion, this Divine Bean Palace is acting differently from before. It is much more reactive now. Green armor vegetable garden is one aspect. But these soul beasts are also moving in sync and cooperating. They are defending Divine Bean Palace perfectly. The difference is too great now." Fang Dichang nodded. He knew that Fang Enlei and Fang Yuan had fought against Divine Bean Palace earlier. It could only charge around earlier and could not use killer moves, like a brute. But now, this Divine Bean Palace was unmoving like a mountain. It was like a general in the battlefield, defending its formation and making Fang Clan unable to advance. The difference in performance was huge. The reason behind it was worrying Fang Dichang. "I set up Peach Blossom Maze, but Divine Bean Palace has not reacted to it. It is merely defending. Is it unable to move? Or is it stalling for time?" Fang Dichang was worried about the final possibility. If they were stalling, there had to be a reason. Because of this, Fang Dichang made up his mind and told the Fang Clan Gu immortals who were fighting, "Come back. We will use Peach Blossom Maze to attack." Peach Blossom Maze was an immortal battlefield killer move. It could trap rank 8 Gu immortals. It was not simple at all. Fang Clan's Gu immortals returned to the Immortal Gu houses as Peach Blossom Maze started to grow. The empty branches started to bud as green color spread. In the blink of an eye, a lush forest had appeared. An intense wind started to blow. There was rustling among the trees. Jade light waves started to develop. These waves crashed towards Divine Bean Palace. The Soul Beast army was forced to retreat. The desolate and ancient desolate level Soul Beasts at the periphery were all sent flying by the Jade light waves. Peach Blossom Maze suddenly changed as it became extremely offensive. The Soul Beast army could not resist it. These Soul Beasts were roaring, but the Jade light waves could not resisted by these individual beasts. Chun-Yi frowned within Divine Bean Palace. This Peach Blossom Maze is quite something. At this moment, he was still suppressing Qing Cho. He could not free himself to control Divine Bean Palace personally. Divine Bean Palace burst out with profound light, enveloping all of the remaining soul beasts. These lights enveloped most of the soul beasts and gathered them into the bodies of the 3 immemorial soul beasts. The 3 immemorial soul beasts seemed to have gotten a huge boost. Their bodies expanded. They became gigantic monsters. The 3 monsters were like mountains that blocked the Jade light waves entirely. Peach Blossom Maze transformed again. The Jade light waves faded as the greenery condensed into a red halo. Next, countless red halos emerged like stars in the night sky. They were blooming peach blossoms. The peach blossoms were extremely vibrant. Due to the intense winds, countless petals were flying around. The petals slowly gathered as they formed into human figures in the sky. This killer move is called Flowery Wind Warriors. "Friend, I would like to trouble you to control a part of them," Fang Dichang said to Fang Yuan. Fang Yuan nodded. After getting the authorization, he could also control the human-shaped flowers. As for the quantity, at Fang Yuan's first attempt, He controlled 12 flowery wind warriors. Oh, Fang Yuan's eyes shined with surprise. Every flowery wind warrior can be instilled with a killer move that would be unleashed upon self-detonating them when ready. You are very perceptive. This is the use of flowery wind warriors. Fang Dichang smiled as he said. Fang Yuan tried to use Immortal killer move ignited thought flying rock. Immediately, he controlled a flowery wind warrior as it flew towards the top of Divine Bean Palace, self-detonating by itself. After detonating, waves of thought rocks crashed towards the ground. Divine Bean Palace did not move, but the three immemorial soul beasts were ignited with the flames of thoughts as their bodies shook. Fang Yuan's eyes shined. He praised in amazement. The killer moves are unleashed almost as quickly as by ourselves. It not only fixes an Immortal Gu house's weakness, it allows us to use the advantage of numbers without fear of expenditure. Many tactics need to be done carefully, but this move allows us to act rashly without consequences. While he said that, Fang Yuan moved a flowery wind warrior and rushed down, arriving at an immemorial soul beast. Immortal killer move, 180 slaves. Once he used this move, the immemorial soul beast's body froze. It was attacked by a formless force. At the same time, another 3 flowery wind warriors descended, self-detonating into 3 immortal killer moves that blasted it into oblivion. But at the next moment, Divine Bean Palace flashed with green light. The immemorial soul beast that was injured rapidly healed as its injuries were not heavy to begin with. Difficult fight. Even with a unique move like Flowery Wind Warriors, Divine Bean Palace was too sturdy and firm in defense. The 3 immemorial soul beasts were like tough shields. Regardless of their attacks, the fortress was unmovable and did not shake. Fang Yuan had a lot of methods and used. He did not use his true trump cards, but Fang Clan's Gu Immortals did not do anything significant either. The situation went into another deadlock. Fang Dichang's brows were furrowed. Peach Blossom Maze only had 3 variations. They had already used the second move, but there was no change in the situation. Divine Bean Palace's defense was too strong. Right when Fang Dichang was about to use the third move, Fang Yuan made his move. 180 slaves. 180 slaves. 180 slaves. 3 flowery wind warriors exploded. Fang Yuan had instilled enslavement path, killer, move 180 slaves into all of them. All 3 moves exploded and landed on the winged black python immemorial soul beast. This immemorial soul beast was stiff like a statue. After a while, Fang Yuan shouted, and it broke free from the enemy's control. It had been enslaved by Fang Yuan. The second immemorial soul beast was obtained. At once, both the enemy leader Chun Yi as well as Fang Dichang were shocked. Divine Bean Palace was supporting these immemorial soul beasts with green armor. They had strong defenses and could heal instantly. It was hard for Fang Clan to advance. But Fang Yuan ignored all these and directly took away the immemorial soul. Beast control. Friend, you have an amazing method, so enslavement path is the weakness of green armor vegetable garden. I hope you can continue to use the move. Fang Dichang changed his tone after pausing. We will definitely compensate you heavily. Chun Yi snorted coldly. He actually made use of this weakness. It is a pity that they are not the Divine Bean soldiers produced in Divine Bean Palace. We can only use the Soul Beast Army for now. If I was using the Divine Bean soldiers, how could they enslave it so easily? Inside Inquiry Dock, Fang Yuan smiled bitterly. I was just lucky. Earlier, I already used it to suppress 1 immemorial soul beast. This is the second one. I have reached my limits. To use it again, there will be a huge price to pay. I wonder, what compensation is Second Supreme Elder referring to? Fang Dichang's eyes drooped. He tried to conceal the sharp light in his eyes as he became furious. This Swan Bujin dares to extort me the moment he gets a chance. Pay a huge price? He means that he can use it again, but that will depend on the compensation that we give him. We have an alliance agreement. He cannot lie on this matter. But to think that we would be extorted by an outsider because our Fang clan lacks a strong enslavement path expert. Chapter 1524. Great Thief Immortal Gu. Even though Fang Dichang was furious, Divine Bean Palace was right in front of them. This was their goal for generations. They could not fail. And Fang Yuan's enslavement method was the best way to break the stalemate after all. Fang Dichang smiled. What compensation do you want, friend? As long as you tell me, we will do our best to fulfill it. Fang Yuan asked for what compensation he would get, but Fang Dichang flipped the question back at him. Fang Yuan laughed. Lord Fang is very straightforward. I am not greedy. I only want 1 rank 7 Immortal Gu. Fang Yuan said this as he slowed down. His gaze flickered like he was embarrassed. Rank 7 Immortal Gu. Fang Dichang's heart jumped. He got more angry, but his expression became sincere looking as he smiled. With your ability to suppress all the immemorial soul beasts, the contribution is enough for a rank 7 Immortal Gu. If my clan can obtain Divine Bean Palace in the end, we will promise you another rank 7 Immortal Gu. Fang Dichang not only agreed to Fang Yuan's request, he even added in more temptation. I am ashamed. Fang Yuan sighed deeply. I need to get this rank 7 Immortal Gu now. Otherwise, I cannot make up my mind to pay that huge price and subdue the remaining immemorial soul beast. How can you be so impatient? You don't trust my Fang clan. A Fang clan Gu immortal could not control himself, he shouted loudly. Fang Yuan cupped his fists. Everyone, the price that I have to pay is too huge. My foundation will be heavily damaged. I can only make up my mind after getting the rank 7 Immortal Gu. Fine, my inquiry doc has a method to communicate with the outside world. I will send over a rank 7 Immortal Gu from our headquarters. This is our rank 7 treasury, pick one. Fang Dichang said as an information path, Gu worm flew out of his sleeve. It was a rank 7 information path, Immortal Gu. It was rare to see such Immortal Gu, Fang Yuan thought. It is hard for me to acquire information. An information path, Immortal Gu, can help me gather information and find out many secrets. During rebirth, my past life's memories were tampered by Heaven's will. There are traps in them. I cannot rely on these memories. During this period, I have been using Shadow Sex inheritance for information, but these things would become obsolete over time. This rank 7 information path, Immortal Gu, is quite useful for me. Fang Yuan received the information path, Immortal Gu, and inspected it. There were 6 rank 7 Immortal Gu listed in it. Fang clan has such deep foundations. They definitely have more than 6 rank 7 Immortal Gu. Fang Dichang just hid those that he did not want me to take. Just these 6 Immortal Gu made Fang Yuan feel dazzled. He was interested in each of these Immortal Gu, because he had Shadow Sect's true inheritance. Any Immortal Gu could be put to good use in his hands. But soon, when Fang Yuan saw one of the Immortal Gu, his heart shook. He made up his mind and chose it. Rank 7 Great Thief Gu. Fang Dichang heard Fang Yuan's choice and was quite surprised. This was a Theft Path Immortal Gu, but Swan Bujin was a Wisdom Path Gu Immortal. Fang Yuan did not explain. He did not need to. Fang Dichang displayed these rank 7 Immortal Gu. It meant that they were disposable to him. In the current situation, Fang clan was in a rush for time, not Fang Yuan. If they wanted to stall for time and not give him the Gu, Fang Yuan would just do nothing. Or, is he afraid I will use this chance to stall him? So he purposely gave me a random answer? When I reject him, he will give it up immediately. Fang Dichang guessed. Wisdom Path Gu immortals simply had too many thoughts in their minds. Friend, you really want this Immortal Gu? Fang Dichang confirmed again. Fang Yuan hesitated before answering. Yes, this Gu. Fang Dichang nodded. All right, I will accept this request. Saying so, he used a killer move and retrieved this rank 7 Immortal Gu from Fang clan's headquarters, transporting it into Inquiry Dock. The process was very fast. Fang Yuan soon obtained this Great Thief Gu. With Fang Dichang's help, he easily refined it. This Great Thief Immortal Gu was like a beetle with a flat head and long horn. It was the size of an adult. Its black exoskeleton had a metallic luster, giving off a tough feeling. Fang Yuan obtained this Immortal Gu and felt secretly excited. My gains are simply too great. I am a Theft Path Great Grandmaster now. I lack Theft Path Immortal Gu. To think that it would come to me now, this Great Thief Immortal Gu came at such great timing. Not only can it display my superiority in Theft Path, I can even start making use of Ghostly Concealment now. Fang Yuan had the Theft Path attainment level. It was very easy to create Theft Path Immortal Killer moves. And the most important one was Ghostly Concealment. This Immortal Killer move was created by Thieving Heaven Demon Venerable himself. It was a rank 9 killer move with incredible power. But all along, it had been relatively useless to Fang Yuan. Why? Even though it could protect Fang Yuan from the detection of ghosts and soul beasts, whenever he tried to use an Immortal Killer move, he would be exposed. Nobody could see a firecracker buried underground, but when it is ignited and explodes, people would sense it. Furthermore, Ghostly Concealment had been interfering with Ghost Soldier Garment, weakening it and limiting its effect. Ghostly Concealment did not expend immortal essence. It operated on its own. That was the ability of a Theft Path Supreme Grandmaster. Only Supreme Grandmasters could surpass the limits and restrictions of this world to a certain extent. Fang Yuan was a Theft Path Great Grandmaster, but he could not activate Ghostly Concealment himself. Even though he had a deeper understanding of it now, he still had many questions. But these questions could not stop him from making use of the active Ghostly Concealment. As for the way to use Ghostly Concealment, this rank 7 Great Thief Immortal Gu was the key to solving the problem. As long as I add in some Mortal Gu and spend some time, I will be able to draw out and use a portion of Ghostly Concealment's power. Bright light flashed across Fang Yuan's eyes. But now, I need to get rid of the immemorial soul beasts. Fang clan's patience is dwindling. Fang Yuan wanted to establish a relationship with Fang clan in order to develop in Green Ghost Desert. He did not want to become enemies with them. Thus, within the sovereign immortal aperture, he killed the 2 immemorial soul beasts that he had just subdued. These 2 immemorial soul beasts were hard to kill, but Fang Yuan had control over them. Not only would they not resist him, they would cooperate with him in their suicide. After dying, Fang Yuan obtained 2 huge soul cores. Rank 8 immortal materials, immemorial soul cores. This was very rare. If he was not in this situation, Fang Yuan would not have killed the 2 immemorial soul beasts. But there was no choice. 180 slaves relied on a huge number of soul beasts to work. Fang Yuan had a vast number of soul beasts, including desolate beasts and ancient desolate beasts, but they could only help Fang Yuan control 2 immemorial desolate beasts. That was the limit. Now that Fang Yuan wanted to control more immemorial soul beasts, it was impossible. He had no choice but to kill these 2 immemorial soul beasts. This was the huge price that Fang Yuan had mentioned to Fang Dichang. He was not lying. It was the truth. Killing 2 rank 8 battle strength existences, was it not a huge price? However, after doing this, Fang Yuan used Attitude Gu and made himself shake as his face turned pale. Blood started flowing out of his mouth and nose. It seems that Xuanbu Jin was not lying. The method has a huge price to pay. At once, the Fang Clan Gu immortals who saw this felt better psychologically. Even though this is not good, the situation is very urgent. Friend, I hope you can do your best. Fang Dichang urged. Of course I will do my best. Fang Yuan shouted, seemingly gathering his focus as he used 180 slaves on the flowery wind warriors again. After 3 tries, Fang Yuan succeeded in subduing the bull-body leopard-tail immemorial soul beast like what he did before. Guh. Fang Yuan opened his mouth and spit out a mouthful of blood. His body could not stand firm. His face was pale as paper, devoid of any color. He almost fainted on the spot. Xuanbu Jin, be careful. Mind your health. We still need your help for the final immemorial soul beast. How are your injuries? I can heal you. Fang Clan's immortals spoke one after another. Don't worry, don't worry. Fang Yuan waved his hand. There was nothing to be worried about. He was acting. Fang Clan's Gu immortals heard his words as their anger dissipated. Next, Fang Yuan tried again and subdued the final immemorial soul beast. The truth was, he needed to thank Flowery Wind Warriors. If not for its ability to store killer moves and use multiple of them at once, how could Fang Yuan obtain the immemorial soul beasts? Thanks to Fang Yuan's skillful actions, the 2 final immemorial soul beasts guarding Divine Bean Palace were taken away and enslaved. The sovereign immortal aperture lost 2 immemorial soul beasts, but 2 more came in. One had a bull body and leopard tail, while the other was a one-eyed giant. This Xuanbu Jin is truly a wisdom path Gu immortal. Our Fang clan has been plotting for generations, but now, this outsider has gained huge benefits while we have yet to obtain Divine Bean Palace. Not only did he get a rank 7 immortal Gu from us, he even subdued 2 immemorial soul beasts, obtaining rank 8 battle strength. Fang Clan's Gu immortals had varying expressions. Fang Yuan's gains were too huge. Even the 3rd Supreme Elder Fang Huasheng felt a little envious, not to mention the rest of the Gu immortals. But this was normal mentality. Fang Clan put in the most effort, but now, Fang Yuan the outsider had the biggest gains, while Fang Clan continued to invest in this. It was no wonder that Fang Clan's Gu immortals felt envious towards him. This Xuanbu Jin is very capable. He had a method to subdue immemorial soul beasts. But it is not a surprise. He was able to roam Green Ghost Desert and gather a soul beast army after all. But why does he want Great Thief Immortal Gu? Does he have a theft path inheritance? This Great Thief Immortal Gu is one of the core Immortal Gu of Theft Path. It was created by Thieving Heaven Demon Venerable personally. An ancestor of Fang Clan had obtained it from a lone immortal by chance. Humph. How can our Fang Clan's Immortal Gu be so easy to obtain? How can we stop until we work this Xuanbu Jin to the bones? Fang Clan's 2nd Supreme Elder Fang Dichang thought. He was about to speak, but saw that after subduing the 2 immemorial soul beasts, Fang Yuan shut his eyes and sat down, pretending that he was gravely injured and needed to attend to his injuries. Friend Xuanbu Jin, Fang Dichang called out. Fang Yuan was silent. Friend Xuanbu Jin, how are your injuries? Fang Dichang's eyes shined with cold light. Fang Yuan was silent. It seems that you are gravely injured. Why don't I help to heal you? Fang Dichang continued to pursue. Fang Yuan opened his eyes at this point, speaking in a hoarse and fatigued voice. No need to worry, friend. I am fine. I can suppress these 2 immemorial soul beasts. The important thing now is to take down Divine Bean Palace. This Divine Bean Palace has transformed drastically. It is stalling for time now. There must be a good reason. If you allow time to be wasted, something might happen. Since it is trapped in our peach blossom maze, what could possibly happen? A Fang Gu Immortal snorted in disdain. Fang Dichang's eyes shone with cold light as he gazed at Fang Yuan. But Fang Yuan gradually closed his eyes. This Xuanbu Jin is so shameless. I wanted to get him to attack Divine Bean Palace and probe for danger, but he actually acted like this. It is a pity that the alliance agreement did not give me the right to command him. The big picture is more important now. This Divine Bean Palace has been our goal for generations. We cannot lose it. Even as a wisdom path great Grandmaster, Fang Dichang had to ignore him for now. He continued to give orders as the 3 Immortal Gu houses expended a huge amount of immortal essence. Countless flower petals flew out like a storm. Within the rain of flowers, a large number of flowery wind warriors formed, controlled by Fang Gu Immortals as they attacked Divine Bean Palace. Go and prove your loyalty now. Within Divine Bean Palace, Chun-Yi had a cold expression as he commanded Eagle Concubine and Old Ghost by June. The two looked at each other with great worry and difficulty. Eagle Concubine said grimly, "With our strength, going out to fight will kill us. Please reconsider it, Lord Chun-Yi." Chun-Yi chuckled with a cold gaze. "If you defy my orders, you will die now. If you go out, I will reinforce you. There is a hope of survival. As long as I subdue this legendary immemorial soul beast in time, I will reward you. You know who I am. I will not lie. Make your decision in 3 breaths of time." Chun-Yi was very forceful. Old Ghost by June and Eagle Concubine had to obey his orders and go out of Divine Bean Palace, facing the flowery wind warriors. Boom, boom, boom. Both sides fought near Divine Bean Palace heatedly. Old Ghost by June and Eagle Concubine were rank 7 Gu Immortals. They were smarter than immemorial soul beasts. Especially when they were experienced demonic cultivators, they had been pursued by righteous path members before and were very skilled at preserving their lives. Old Ghost by June and Eagle Concubine were suppressed, but they were very resilient. They managed to restrain these flowery wind warriors. However, as time passed, Old Ghost by June and Eagle Concubine got more injured as the situation became dangerous. Chun-Yi was multitasking, reinforcing Divine Bean Palace while suppressing Qing Chou, and also observing the battle. He praised internally. "This move is amazing. It can store multiple immortal killer moves, allowing the Immortal Gu house to utilize countless methods, becoming as flexible as an ancient battle formation. It is not simple." Thinking of this, he stretched out his hand as Divine Bean Palace shook. 2 rays of profound light landed on Old Ghost by June and Eagle Concubine. The profound lights moved quickly and entered both of their bodies. The 2 of them were shocked. They inspected their bodies but did not find anything peculiar. At this time, Fang Clan attacked again. They had no time to check. They had to fight again. But during the fight, something different happened. Whenever they got injured, profound light would shine on their bodies. The damage would be shifted away from them. This is Divine Bean Palace's method. Immortal Killer Move Graft Wood. It allows all of the attacks you receive to be taken by Divine Bean Palace instead. At this time, Chun-Yi's voice resounded in their heads. Old Ghost by June and Eagle Concubine were joyful and surprised. Joyful that they still had value and were not cannon fodder for Chun-Yi. Now that he helped them, they could last much longer. Surprised that Chun-Yi had already gained control of Divine Bean Palace to use a second move after arriving here for such a short time. It seemed like Divine Bean Palace was already falling into his hands. Fang Dichang soon sensed this change. Old Ghost by June and Eagle Concubine were safe and sound regardless of any killer moves that hit them. Profound light would flash on their bodies. What move is this? It is so mysterious. Not just attacks, even Time Path and Space Path supplementary killer moves cannot affect them. Fang Dichang gradually developed a heavy mood. He ordered Fang Gu Immortals, "Go use a killer move to heal them." Fang Gu Immortals were stunned. How could they help their enemies? But Fang Dichang had high reputation. Nobody questioned him. They quickly got to work. Healing methods landed on Old Ghost by June and Eagle Concubine, but had no effect. Oh, it seems that there is a capable person in charge of Fang Clan. Chun-Yi's eyes flashed brightly. He could tell that Fang Dichang was probing the effect of graft wood. Even healing killer moves are useless. Fang Dichang soon used his method to make deductions before ordering. Ignore them. Target Divine Bean Palace instead. The Immortals acted as commanded. Flowery Wind Warriors self-detonated as a large number of killer moves with varying effects, either in power or specialty, landed on Divine Bean Palace. Divine Bean Palace was shaking from the impact, but its core was untouched. Only a large number of mortal goo were destroyed. Chun-Yi nodded to himself. Fang Dichang's tactic was very wise. He had deduced the relationship of Old Ghost by June, Eagle Concubine, and Divine Bean Palace. The 2 Gu Immortals might dodge or defend against any attacks on them, but Divine Bean Palace could not. It was only passively receiving hits. and Fang Clan's killer moves were unleashed via Flowery Wind Warriors. The effect was amplified by Peach Blossom Maze itself. If that was not the case, Divine Bean Palace would not have been affected. Chun Yi frowned slightly. He could only influence Divine Bean Palace now. He did not have control yet. In some ways, he could not even compare to Qing Chou. Qing Chou could influence Divine Bean Palace and manipulate this Immortal Gu house to fly around. But this authority was currently in Qing Chou's hands. Chun Yi could not make it move. Therefore, it remained stationary. Chun Yi could kill Qing Chou and take away this authority. He would be able to make Divine Bean Palace fly in that case. But this way, Qing Chou would die. Chun Yi's own plans would be greatly disrupted. Therefore, Chun Yi was trying to get Qing Chou to surrender now. If he succeeded, not only would he gain Qing Chou's help, he could also make Divine Bean Palace fly away. He would not be in a passive state. Fang Clan changed its tactic and gained the upper hand. Old Ghost by June and Eagle Concubine became ignored. These two had their own objectives too. They were forced out by Chun Yi to begin with. Now that Fang Clan ignored them, they were happy with that. They reserved strength and did not go all out to interfere with their actions. Divine Bean Palace took the attacks of Fang Clan for several minutes, before Chun Yi's brows suddenly relaxed. After some time, he gained deeper control of Divine Bean Palace. He could use another method now. Too bad it isn't a defensive method, but if I use this, it can change the situation too. Chun Yi thought. Immortal killer move, Myriad Life Spring Lightning. At the next moment, Divine Bean Palace shook intensely. Countless sparks that resembled dragons or snakes coiled around the palace. Lightning gathered into beads of jade-green lightning balls as they exploded around the palace. Rumble. After a series of explosions, only a few Flowery Wind Warriors escaped. The rest were destroyed. This killer move, Fang Di Chang's gaze concentrated as his expression turned grim for the first time. This spring lightning did not just destroy the Flowery Wind Warriors. It also landed on the ground and destroyed countless peach trees. These peach trees were formed from Immortal Battlefield Killer Move Peach Blossom Maze. Normally speaking, they could regenerate rapidly. But the places where these spring lightning balls exploded turned into jade-green grasslands. Pine trees grew and took the place of the peach trees, becoming deeply rooted. Every spring lightning ball created one pine tree. Gradually, a sparse forest was created. Even though this tiny forest could not compare to Peach Blossom Maze, it was like a rocky reef by the sea, adamantly resisting the regeneration of the Peach Blossom Maze.